the Triforce and it feels right. Like Bowser, you can listen all night, singing peaches until the sunlight. Summer shoots her beam so bright. Master Hand always brings a fight. Catch 'em all and use that fire blast. Put the soul back to visit your past. Welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast.
All right, how you doing, everyone? Welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast, episode 8. A special show today because we had a Nintendo Direct, the first general Nintendo Direct of 2024, which is absolutely insane that we had to wait 9 months. People were impregnated, babies were born.
Mm-hmm.
We are here.
Damn.
And it was one hell of a Direct. So you can take a good guess at what basically every topic's about today, but we still kind of split things up into 4, and we will do our roulette here in a moment. First, let's just go around and introduce everyone. We'll start with some of our guests here. What about Nick Eminell is back with no K?
That's me. Briefly, I was at work watching the Direct, and I had my headphones in, and I was talking to one of my coworkers, and I saw Mario and Luigi come out, and I was like, one moment. And I stepped outside and I started screaming my lungs off because I thought we were never going to get a Mario and Luigi game again.
True.
That was my Metroid Prime 4.
It was awesome.
And I'm so excited.
We got Mike Odyssey Indie Mania.
These are 2 fingers I'm holding up.
Those are 2 fingers.
Mm-hmm.
We have Favlam.
What I do? Hi, everybody.
Coming back, the burger himself, Cap Bergerson.
Hi, friends. How you doing?
Hi.
Thanks
Look,
for
you're
having me.
being so quiet over there.
I know.
Did you lose your
I'm
voice
sorry.
from
Just-
Zelda and
Your
Metroid?
voice blown out.
No. Well, a little, but no, I wasn't yelling, but I'm feeling a little throaty, so we're gonna be a little bit lower energy today. You know.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay.
It's all
So
good.
when he
It's all
talks,
good.
everyone shut up.
Yes.
Shut up.
Listen.
Eric Moore is here in spirit. How's it going, buddy?
It is what it is.
Just angle your camera.
Supposedly updating. I don't know. We'll see what happens if it ever works. Andres Restart is here. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
He's not here.
Okay.
He's in the cloud. He's in the cloud.
Finally, Samus behind you must be very happy.
Yeah, he's in the cloud.
Well, she's got a new threat to deal with, or rather, an old threat that we've known about since 2007, but no one wanted to believe that.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't. It was so obvious right at the end. That was whatever.
Kensuke Tanabe literally told us in 3 interviews, but all right.
Hey, no, not real. All the Metroids have been destroyed. No, what are you talking about? Thunder Steve 85 Gaming.
What's up, everybody? A lot of fun stuff to talk about today. Hope you're ready.
Nice.
Hell yeah. And then you guys know who I am, so no introduction needed. My username's on screen. If you listen to the audio version, it's just Nintendo Prime. Look me up. All right, let's go ahead and get into our topic roulette. I'm going to let Mr. No Cam over here go first. Does he even have the topics open? He does. Okay, what topic you're going to pick, buddy? Which one are you going with?
Oh, okay. Whoever takes this one, that one's gonna be the final topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it doesn't make any sense
I mean-
to talk about it now until we talk about the other stuff.
I mean, it is one word for your nose, so
Yep.
I will do that one. Just it is going to be, did Nintendo just solidify they will be the best-selling console ever?
All right.
He
Good.
did. Okay, topic over.
Good choice.
Yeah, right. Topic's done.
Topic done.
Topic's
Yep.
done.
It's over.
Good night, everybody.
Andres, what are you gonna
Hey.
pick, buddy?
So
Gee,
I
I
don't
wonder.
know where the notes are. But
Same
Metroid
Google
Prime
Doc.
4 Beyond.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, that happens to be,
I'm assuming that's a topic.
that is a topic. Yes.
All right, I got it.
Would that suck if I just didn't make it a topic?
not-
That'd be really funny.
I mean, if you wanted to get me annoyed. By the way, you should check that off your bingo card. I don't know if you saw my stream, but I was definitely annoyed during the direct, even though it's a really good direct, because my stream kept lagging.
Yeah.
Oh!
Oh,
The worst.
Wait,
Yeah.
I don't think that gives
So
me
my Zelda reaction got spoiled because the people I was watching with were like, "Oh my god, it's Zelda that goes to Wizard." I'm like,
Oh, baby.
Yeah,
I'll have to check my card, see if they got me the
Yeah.
bingo I needed.
They
but I was
missed-
still happy.
They missed a big opportunity by calling it Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. They could have said Metroid Prime 4 Bed Bath and Beyond.
I saw that.
I saw that meme.
I saw that on X. That was good.
Well, some games can get nicknames, so
Right?
Yeah,
Like Metroid Sleeping. Like the bed.
Thunder Steve, what are you picking, bud?
I'll go with I'll take the overall Nintendo Direct reaction.
All right. Sounds good. I guess that leaves me with the Zelda game. What?
Oh,
Damn. How do I
Man,
the worst game in the direct? No, I'm just kidding.
You're
you
right.
get to talk about what's actually the most popular game in the direct.
It is
I
the
know,
trailer
that's-
with the most views. That is for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah.
Although I'd argue because it's longer, the algorithm probably pushes it more. But whatever.
Oh, here we go. And you're just
All right.
Is ready.
I don't know about all that, but okay.
This is the
We can
best
argue
looking
about that
trailer is Metroid one. That's the best looking one.
later. Mhm.
I don't know. Jamboree.
The most popular one is that one. Yeah.
I'm saying Jamboree.
Jamboree is the biggest Mario Party ever
Dude,
made.
I
love it,
will.
though.
If there was a fifth topic, I will take Jamboree. I am
love
the
it.
Mario
There is
Party
not.
guy.
There is not. But
I am
we-
the
It's
Mario
origin
Party
to the
guy.
overall.
we have a general topic where we can talk about it. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, since Eric's topic is actually the last topic by default, I don't know. Maybe his camera will be working by then.
Maybe.
I guess we'll skip to Andres restart. What are we talking about for our first
We
topic?
can just open with Mitch. You're just gonna let me have it. Wow.
I'm gonna let you have it.
Yo,
Dude,
listen,
you got videos ready for this and everything, man.
bro, I already have like 9 videos in my head. But for just Metroid, Zelda's there's like 7. So like this is great. But yeah, man. I don't know where we start. Metro Prime 4. We already got extra footage. That's crazy.
Yeah. And we'll
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
that too. Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I guess I'll do like a little opener. Like, yeah, so the game that we've been waiting 7 years for, that obviously has a very expensive budget because they've literally been paying people. They've been on payroll for 7 years, one development team, then another. They've been hiring AAA talent all this time. We're not sure what's going on. We're nearing the end of the generation. People are unsure of this title. And then bam, they finally show it. And what many people think might be the last direct before they actually reveal Switch 2. And it's Metro Prime 4 Beyond. Many people didn't even think that Nintendo would showcase this game as the last game to close a direct. Like, so many people sleep on Metroid, by the way. Many people didn't think Nintendo would use it as a closer, but they use it as a closer in a direct where they had Zelda in the middle. So I feel like that tells you a lot, in my opinion. But anyways,
Man, look
people
at it.
have seen the trailer. It looks incredible. Many people are debating if this is a Switch 2 game. It's not. I mean, I
Look at
think
the
it's
texture.
cross-gen, but this is Switch 1 footage for sure. We'll go into that. But it's an incredible game. It looks like it's clearly following in the line of, it seems like a sequel to Metroid Prime 3.
That
but
transition right there. Jeez.
yeah, it's beautiful.
I mean,
Look at the fog. Look at the sky, man. It's
the
insane.
gameplay looks insane
I'm
for
telling you,
how
look at that.
like for like this is on a Switch. I'm baffled. I'm genuinely like Retro Studios. They need like a raise, a promotion, something. Because like Metroid Prime 1 was like it was stunning and genuinely beautiful, but like I don't know, man. This is just it looks like it's on modern hardware or something.
Yeah.
And maybe they are giving us a trailer from Switch 2 and we don't know
It's
it
not.
yet. I don't know.
No, it's
but
definitely not. I can tell
but
you.
regardless-
I bet my soul on it.
yeah, but regardless,
Yeah.
it looks fantastic. Like it looks so good.
It does.
It's crazy you bring up the Retro Studios as a reward because, like, all of a sudden, Retro Studios has had actually a pretty active generation because they ported Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze with Funky Kong mode, right? And then we got Metro Prime Remastered, which many say is the most pretty game on Switch until maybe now.
Until
And now we have this coming, but then also during the same direct, Donkey Kong Country Returns, which is also developed by Retro Studios,
Yeah.
is getting
Oh,
an
it is.
HD remaster. It's being developed by a different studio, but still, it's made initially by Retro Studios. So all of a sudden, there are a handful of games made by Retro Studios on the Nintendo Switch, which is just kind of wild.
Is it not a port, Donkey Kong? I thought it was a
Um,
port, not a HD port.
It's not a straight
It's
port.
a
yeah,
Not a
it's
straight
an-
port.
yeah,
Okay, that's
it's
fine.
a-
I just was clarifying as well.
Well, I mean, it's
It's a port, but
being enhanced.
okay,
Yeah.
So
They're
All
adding
right,
the
fair enough. No, yeah, fair enough.
the Donkey Kong model is not the same model. It's
Okay.
been reworked. The textures are at least been cleaned up.
Yeah.
They literally have a different studio working on it, right? Like there's work being done.
it's like
Eh,
Forever Entertainment.
Yeah, and actually, it includes all the new content from the 3DS version.
I didn't
so,
see this
so
footage.
that's being brought up to the
Yeah.
standard as well. So, yeah, I would call it a
Yeah.
remaster, but
Uh,
it's a simple one, but still.
Mhm.
Audio
Guys,
listeners, love you to death. We're seeing amazing additional footage. I
This
don't
is
know where to
this is the
find this.
extra footage,
Where
right?
can they find this footage at?
Right here on the Nintendo Prime.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Yeah.
It's footage from the Nintendo Japanese Metroid Prime 4
Yeah.
website.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
20 seconds.
It is stunning.
It
But-
looks like a
yeah.
Halo game. Like it looks
This
so
look-
good.
Yeah, and this
So
like what they
gorgeous.
described. Remember how they described Metro Prime footage during the Gamescom? People like, man,
Yeah.
these open fields and these open worlds. This looks exactly what they were describing.
yeah, I'm not sure how open it is yet. Like I think when they show the giant tree and the bridge, and actually that extra footage shows more of the bridge, right? You can see it's a broken off bridge, right?
Yeah.
So there's clearly a lot to be seen. Like it definitely evokes, in my opinion, like Xenoblade vibes in the sense where you see these giant structures in the background, you can't go to them, but
Yeah.
it's not necessarily open world, right? Like
Yeah.
so you see that environment, and it is large for Metroid standards, but it's not like Breath of the Wild, right? Like
No.
I think that much is clear. Well, or maybe it's not clear. Maybe they're kind of fooling around with us.
Or it's just the
But-
intro area.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like when I make
Yeah,
this,
it's
this,
tough.
this comparison, but I see it more like Destiny. Destiny is not an open world, but it has open areas, open zones
Sure.
Yeah.
they're vast enough that you can actually go around. So I think that maybe this is
I think that's the best fit for Metroid. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say from the footage without having to, I'm probably going to do more of a deeper analysis later, but I do feel like that open area, especially with the extra footage, it looks like that path. There's actually multiple paths there. And so where the waterfalls are going down, it looks like there's a path that kind of breaks off to the left. It's a little bit less obvious. So maybe we can go to lower elevations from there as opposed to just going through that hole under the smaller tree.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, it looks beautiful. It's vast. I know, Nate, you and I were already kind of like starting to get into a little bit of a. I mean, you should just tell me. Just say it. Say what you think, and let's see what happens.
Let me say what I think. I think it looks incredible. What are we talking about?
I know.
You talking about the other thing?
The other thing.
The other thing?
The other thing.
I've already said it on my stream before. Like, Metroid Prime 4 looks incredible. It's exactly what I wanted it to be, at least so far. Like, I love Metroid. So the way Metroid's always been is the way that this game looks like it is. It looks like it's more Metroid Prime, which is awesome. I've been waiting, 2007? Is that when Corruption came out? Yeah. So a hell of a long time for a real Metroid Prime game, not Federation Force, anything like that. Samus Returns is nice. I loved Dread, but more Prime. Been waiting, a long time.
Doesn't it feel like a follow up directly from Metroid Prime 3? Like yeah, they use the visuals from Prime 1 Remastered, but it just feels like hey, look, this looks like it almost seems like they didn't take a break. And they're just like, all right, time to make Metroid Prime 4 after 3. Like that's how it kind of feels.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the thing that he's referenced that he wanted me to bring up is for I don't know, the better part of the last year on different podcasts and stuff. Andres and I have had this conversation about how to expand Metroid to appeal to more people and reach a bigger audience, kind of break out from what it normally does. Like right now, Dread's the best-selling Metroid game of all time. Metroid's been around a hell of a long time, just over 3 million copies sold. That's actually on the lower end for Nintendo franchises out there. I mean, that's not even up there with Mario Party.
It's still high though, right? Like we think about other companies, like to sell
Sure.
3 million, that's incredible, right? But relative to other Nintendo franchises, yeah, it's on the lower end.
And to be fair, other companies that give AAA budgets, if a game only sells 3 million, they usually don't make any more of them.
If it took 7 years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was
was
a
Dread.
different conversation, and Nintendo usually doesn't use those kind of crazy budgets, so they don't have to sell as many. But we had this conversation about it kind of trying to break. How do we get Metroid to stop being? I don't know if niche is the right word, but because the genre thing is kind of niche. But like as an example, going into this direct, a lot of people thought that if they would have showed Silk Song, that would be a bigger deal because it's actually a more popular Metroidvania than Metroid. Now, part of that's because it's on all platforms, so it has a much bigger audience to reach. But even on Hollow Knight on Switch itself has almost matched the sales of Metroid Dread just on Switch. So I was looking at this because we talked a lot like how can they make this game appeal? How can they make this reach a bigger audience? So one of the things, maybe drop the number. They didn't drop the number.
No, but it was smaller.
It was
It
smaller.
is smaller.
It's smaller. It's still dead center in the logo. It's just let's just not pretend it's not there. So, anyways, they didn't get rid of the number, and then honestly, nothing I saw in there to me, and this is just I'm a big Metroid fan, so I'm trying to think of this from like the outside perspective. And this is where Eric could come in, who doesn't really play Metroid.
Sucks.
No. I didn't see anything in what they showed in the gameplay or in the world that makes me go, yeah, people who don't like Metroid are going to like this game.
I don't think they've shown enough though.
That was my caveat, and I told Andres this. It could just be the intro area. Intro areas are typically very straightforward, very basic, very just teaching you the ropes, and that's probably what this is: a story setup / tutorial. They had that. We just saw Metroid Prime Remaster. For those who just played that for the first time, the very beginning, very structural tutorial, like
best beginnings to a game ever.
Yeah, it's a great beginning.
Yeah.
But again, that beginning didn't make people want to play Metroid Prime. So
I'd argue 2.8 million for the GameCube install base is actually insane. That's more than 10% of all owners.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's really good.
But you just want to keep going back in time?
No. All right. So I'm trying. I got counter arguments, but I should be respectful and let you finish.
It's almost like it didn't really, did it not just release on a system with 141 million units and not even get to its old sales?
Yeah, it's a remaster. It's a little different.
So did Dread and Prime, do they both sell 3 million respectively?
Dread did.
Dread is the best-selling Metroid ever.
Yeah, and Nintendo also marketed the hell out of it.
Yeah,
they did market
sell more than 2 million.
Nintendo didn't market remaster really at all.
Yeah, that was a shadow drop. So
it was a shadow drop. Like there was not much fanfare or celebrations. Like, hey, here it is.
I can tell you a way they can make Metroid a 10 million plus seller. They could basically take advantage of the Federation, make it add the campaign with Samus, and then a multiplayer with the maps and the rest of the Federation.
And then it stops being Metroid.
It's just
that's when it stops being.
I mean, you still have the
Metroid
campaign. You have also multiplayer, so you can actually play. Back and forth.
I mean, the thing I love about Metroid is it's a very lonely series.
Listen, Cap.
Not gonna let you.
I want to hear Cap talk.
I say one sentence, and Mike goes, "Listen,
how dare you say anything?"
Listen, Cap. Listen.
You shut up.
Listen, Cap.
Enough of your shit.
What I'm saying is, you want to keep Metroid under 3 million. Leave it the same way it is. It's like the definition of anxiety is insanity. Insanity is like doing the same exact thing, expecting a different result. So what you have to do with Metroid is Breath of the Wild that thing. Literally break the shell, do a new concept, keep some of the good stuff that you like as a Metroid fan, but expand it for other people who like other types of games that this could be adapted into, because right now there's so much potential for Metroid. It's a first-person shooter. Why not add multiplayer to it? Why not add maps in order for you can shoot at aliens or whatever, or other creatures or whatever, right?
Yeah, I would love to see multiplayer.
There's so much that could be added to this franchise so that it goes into the atmosphere and into the main market. Although I do think that when they do the movie or the TV show, that's going to help as well. But while that comes, for now, I think that's a solution for it.
But let's let Cap talk.
Yeah, let's say what was Cap
about that multiplayer?
I think that for spin-offs like Federation Force, you can play around with it a bit. The difference is like with Zelda, there's a core essence that's a little bit intangible that stayed intact when they Breath of the Wilded it, if we want to use that as a verb.
Sure.
With Metroid, it has this is like a genre defining series, right? What you're saying is to make a Metroid game that's not a Metroidvania, basically.
But what do you define as a Metroidvania?
But there's an item gating lock and key progression system that Metroid games are winding, twisting, claustrophobic, isolating corridor games.
Okay.
Right.
And so basically
like your Hollow Knights or your, what's it called? I can't remember the name of another game that I was thinking of, but the
Castlevania.
Ori games. Sorry,
Love Ori.
Okay.
Ori's so
fantastic
good.
games. Prime 3 towed the line by having like some segments where you kind of like join in the fight, but even those tended to be short-lived and just more cinematic things to lead into some story event before they let you loose, right? But ultimately, the Metroid gameplay is here's 10 forks in the road, poke around, 9 of them are dead ends. Find the one, pick the knot apart. That's Metroid.
And I know that's Metroid.
I like that analogy. That's a really good metaphor.
But that's the thing.
Take the knot apart. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's Metroid. How has it's been since the beginning of time.
But I think it's okay for games to fit certain niches.
But what you have to understand that if that's not working to break it out of the shell in order for the general audience, because there's something about that game that the general audience can't get into. I can't really pinpoint.
But is it that?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
I just don't think saying make it Halo.
All right, let me kind of
no, not make it Halo.
let me make something clear first, right? I brought up the 2.8 on GameCube for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Metroid Prime on Nintendo GameCube did incredibly well, right? Like I'll get to the other stuff, right? But for its time, for its install base, Metroid Prime was really good, right? A lot of people wanted that. And then Metroid Prime 2 dropped off actually a decent amount, but it was still a solid seller considering everything, right? Metroid Prime 3 only sold about 1 million copies on the Wii. It had sold like 100 million one systems. But I think there's a key difference there. The audience of the Nintendo Wii wasn't really predominantly core gamers. It was mostly casuals. So I think like a lot of Nintendo franchises that were core centric didn't sell that much better because they were on the Wii. Now you look at the Switch is an audience that's predominantly core gamers. Maybe it's a more mainstream core gamer, but it is core gamers, right? They buy Nintendo games. Most Nintendo franchises have seen record highs during this generation. And so, if they, first off, I'm not saying what it is. I'm just saying hypothetically, if Metroid Prime 4 is just more of the same, but just like a subtle evolution, right? Which is what maybe Nate's somewhat afraid of, but also is excited for because we fell in love with that, right?
Yeah.
So I still think if it's just that, it will still probably be a record seller for the series, just because the conditions for Metroid are better than ever. Metroid Dread's a 2D game. Yes, sometimes 2D games perform better than 3D, but there is a correlation with 3D games, bigger, more ambitious games performing better. I think if Metroid Prime 4 just follows the same formula, it will likely still be a record for the series. That said, I still believe that they will be evolving the series.
Yeah.
And, you could say they Breath of the Wild it, but I could also say they Pikmin 4'd it, right? Like you look at Pikmin 4, they recognize that the series hadn't performed as well as they would have liked. And so they took a look at its foundations and they sort of tried to figure out what would be the best way to still make a Dandori game, right? But find ways to make it more inviting and evolve the series. And so they did. They changed the camera around. They brought in Ochi. And now Pikmin 4 is the best-selling game in the series and growing. What were you going to say, Nate?
So the reason why I think this conversation matters and why Metroid Prime, I think, is at the center of this, because I don't think that Metroid's going away. Dread did too well. There's going to be another side-scrolling Metroid game. It's going to happen. There's no way that there won't be. But we say that, let's say that this is like the best-selling Metroid ever, and it sells, I don't know, 4 million.
Sure, let's lowball it.
Yeah, sure. Just to give a figure that's higher than it's ever been. But hey, because we don't know what it's going to sell. The reason I bring that up is, unlike Dread, we presume this has a AAA budget. So yes, Nintendo has plenty of series that don't sell 5, 6, 7, 10 million plus, but their AAA ones do. This is the one AAA series they have that has never been able to live up to the sales expectations their other AAA games have. So the reason I bring this up is this game could be incredible, but if it say it doesn't beat Dread, we might not get another one. Because one thing to remember, why I think this might actually be one of their most expensive games they've ever made, this is made with a Western studio. This isn't their permanent staff in Japan. This is with that turnstile contract, temporary employee type of thing that's happening over here. And they've hired a lot of big name developers. We know those developers cost big bucks if you want to have the best of the best. So like this is probably a pretty expensive game for Nintendo.
Yeah.
And they actually did this last time. Other M was another game they put a lot of money in. Didn't meet sales expectations, and they threatened to shelve the game forever. They ended up not shelving it forever, and they brought it back. But the point is, I think the budget's even bigger on this one, and I don't think this one's going to flop as hard. Relative flop as hard as
Right.
other M
But
did.
is it massively profitable?
Yeah, is it going to hit a point where Nintendo thinks it's worth continuing to invest in that, or are they just going to go, "Hey, look, we make so much more money off these side-scrolling ones. Let's just keep going in that direction with Metroid and just forget about doing this style."
Yeah. So
Yeah.
a couple
I
things.
would argue though
You go
that
first.
the trailer they showed and when they showed it implies to me I legit am predicting it's going to be the best selling Metroid game ever.
Sure.
And
By far.
I think
Okay.
word of mouth has been so strong about it.
Yeah.
Word of mouth, do not underestimate word of mouth. Hollow Knight only took off because word of mouth. It was a fully word of mouth marketed game, which is why Silk Song is in such high demand, right? To the point where it's basically a meme now before any direct to wish for Silk Song.
For every event.
But with this trailer, if you compare it to every other trailer in basically any direct, but especially in this one, it is the most AAA Western studio game trailer.
Yeah.
You could slide it in with an Xbox showcase and it wouldn't look out of place. So I think the concerns of like breaking it out of its shell, I think that this is the most like widespread Western appeal title that Nintendo showed here when it comes to just like core gamers. I really think that everything else, like Zelda, is going to sell because it's Zelda. It's not going to have an issue, but even Zelda fans are raising eyebrows at it and being like, that seems a little weird. It's a little different. It's a little cutesy aesthetic, which is fine. I think it's going to be great. But this is like, wow, this again, like if you could put this in an Xbox showcase and it wouldn't look out of place.
The only thing that looks out of place is maybe the second half where they show like the
Morph
forest.
Ball. Or the forest, maybe.
The forest.
But
The
I don't
morph
know.
ball too, yeah, but that
But I
kind of gets
think
lost in everything else.
Here's where I think the trailer is brilliant because it has this AAA, huge, big budget blockbuster game appeal in its visuals, but the trailer was all gameplay, and everything the trailer said to me is, "Don't worry, this is the prime gameplay you know and love, and everything's gonna be okay." You got your scan, you've got again like corridors, epic space
Do you
battles.
feel like the
everything.
scan visor's quicker? Because it doesn't. What
It's
I noticed from the
snappier for
UI,
sure.
there's no visor option, and I think that might be smart. I think get rid of things like X-ray and thermal. They're kind of like not really needed.
Mhm.
Combat and scan visor, but by doing that, the scan visor doesn't have to be set to this entire UI like mechanic. It can just be, hey,
Yeah, you
a
don't
quick
need, like,
button
a
press.
menu for it.
Good question.
essentially.
Has everybody played the campaign mode for this other game that I mentioned that I kind of compared to, not really
Which one?
directly?
Destiny?
Destiny?
campaign mode.
I haven't played it, but one of my coworkers has like 3,000 hours in it.
Destiny campaign mode has a lot of gotchas, like a lot of scare factors. You open a door and something comes up and then you have to shoot it right away and this and that. So what I mean by breaking the shell is keep everything that makes Metroid, just like they kept everything that makes Zelda, but just put it in a bigger bowl so that other people can join in and actually find something they like within it, because if they keep it the same exact way as the other ones, I guarantee you this is not going to sell 3 million copies. I don't care how good it looks. If it's the same thing that they've been doing for the past 3 years, 10 years, 20 years.
Well, they haven't been doing it for the last 10
I'm
years.
saying if it's the same, if there's nothing new about it, if there's nothing that will say, okay, this is very different, or this is Metroid, but this is they went outside of the box with this one, so that trying to see, experimenting. You know what I mean? Because I think that if you don't take risk and experiment, you're never going to know how far you're going to take a franchise.
Yeah.
And so this is realistically speaking, from a person who was coming in not being a Metroid fan, trying to like it.
Are you interested in it?
I am. I'm so excited about Metroid.
Nick, you're not much of a Metroid fan either, right?
Okay, I was really hoping I would get a chance to bring
Let's
that up.
go.
So
Jump in.
I'm not a big Metroid fan at all. I played Dread. I liked it. I thought it was a good game, but it wasn't like my personal favorite.
You're not a Metroid fan from playing it.
Right. So I watched that Metroid Prime 4 trailer, and I kind of want to get it.
Okay.
There was just something about that trailer where I watched it, and to Cap's point, it looks very Western, but
Yeah.
it's still like I was hooked immediately because like she comes out of the ship and it immediately goes into gameplay, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, that's cool. And then you see like
Yeah.
the giant cannon get exploded off the thing, and it's still all of the Metroid stuff, but there was just something about the way it was packaged that made it a lot more enticing to me.
Yeah.
And now like I want to go back and buy Metroid Prime Remastered and try
You
that
should
before
do it.
Metroid Prime 4 comes out, which is
Do it,
so funny
Nick.
because I never thought I would buy Metroid. But also what I think helps is the word of mouth of like all these people saying, hey, Metroid is really good, you should try it. And I'm like, I feel like if this many people say it's good, then it can't be bad, because there's a difference between a game being bad and a game not being for your personal taste, which is why I'm like Metroid Dread was good, just not for me. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I hope they do something a little bit different,
Yeah.
just to kind of like expand it a little bit, but also not go too far away from the core stuff. Like adding a multiplayer. I think a 4-person multiplayer at minimum would be really cool. Where it's like, all right, pick 3 of your other friends and you guys are gonna fight each other on this map, and that's all it is. But something simple like that, because that is one thing. I know Mike brought up Destiny. That is one thing that has like kept Destiny going for so long, is they have a really solid campaign, but they also have that overarching multiplayer.
Yeah.
And even the multiplayer campaign, like there's one that's online that you can do with friends. So even if they had that, it's like you have your main campaign and then there's a separate one that you can play online with your friends, and you all can do that together. So I don't know, just something different or something a little different might be nice, but it's Metroid Prime 4 is more on my radar than it was 2 days ago.
That's
I
awesome.
want to hear the
Good.
updates of if you do pick up Prime Remastered.
Yeah.
Like legit. But I think something that a lot of people make the mistake of is people think that Metroid Prime is a shooter game with exploration tacked on, and it's very much the opposite. It is an exploration game, and it being first person, it just happens to be the camera angle. And that's something important to always like bear in mind going in with. And that's why I think something important with Metroid, and just how influential and important it is that almost every freaking indie developer is like, will cite Metroid as an inspiration.
Yeah.
Full stop. Just saying. In the same way that almost every AAA developer will cite Zelda as an inspiration in some facet.
I mean, and I agree with you. I think the exploration factor for Metroid is the biggest part of the game. But wouldn't you want to take advantage of the shooter part, right? Right. You have that at hand there, so why not take advantage of it and add some other elements to that?
I will point something that I found interesting out, like during the footage. Right, there's this one part where they they basically what this 2-minute trailer was. It was like, hey, look, this is Metroid Prime as you remember it. Right. And so I think like you look like you consider what Nate is saying, right? He already made the point that it's a short trailer. We may not know, but if you actually look at the history of like Nintendo kind of revealing some of their bigger games, that first trailer isn't really that indicative of what the game is, right? Like, I mean, like literally, let's look at the first Breath of the Wild trailer. We knew it was open world, but that was it, right? Like, we didn't truly learn the core of what Breath of the Wild was until we had that big sort of like E3 2016 demonstration, right? Or take a more recent example, maybe slightly smaller scale, but still, I think, relevant, Pikmin 4. That first teaser trailer didn't tell us much. We didn't know that it was going to be an evolution for the series quite yet, right? So you look at this first like little bit of footage for Metroid Prime 4, and I actually talked about this like a few weeks ago in a video, like because my perspective has always been, or at least for a while, that this is probably going to be cross-gen. And now I think that more than ever. Like the more I learn about this game, the more I'm like, this is cross-gen. And we'll get more into that, right? But my point is that because I think this is probably cross-gen, let's operate on that assumption for a little bit, right? I feel like, yeah, we can do that. One, this game's expensive, right? So putting it on 2 consoles gives them more opportunity to succeed in that way financially, right? But also, 2, if there's going to be an improved version, then you don't want to show that much of the game for its first demonstration anyways, but you want to show enough so people feel satisfied, right? And so they kind of have to, like, it's kind of a tug of war there, because I know there are people that are like, oh, only 2 minutes, come on. But at the same time, they showed us gameplay, they showed us some story stuff, they gave us enough so we know that it's Metroid. And I think they did the best of both worlds, right? Because I'm assuming there's gonna be a Switch 2 version. When they show that off, we're going to see an even better looking version, right? So I'm gonna kind of take this to piggyback into that little like part of the conversation, because a lot of people think this is like Switch 2 footage. First off, it says Nintendo Switch, and second, Nintendo said they wouldn't show anything Switch 2 related, right? But sometimes trailers has some like, there are some weird things about trailers. Sometimes they're not truly representative of the game, but there's no watermark suggesting otherwise, which oftentimes they do. But if you pay attention close to the trailer, there's some impressive stuff. You look at the rocks, you look at the geometry, the debris. There's so many impressive things. But if you look carefully, there are a lot of textures that look low in detail. The fire is low in frame rate, right? So the game is 60 FPS, but there are certain areas that are lower in FPS. And so they do different things like this so the game can look and run the way it does, right? Also, the water in the forest scene apparently is also running at a lower FPS. And there are some lighting things that definitely could be better. There is like occlusion, for example, that's missing. Like if you look at like the cylinder that just rolled down, it has no shadow. So there are things that it looks like they just like turned off or lowered the frame rate of selectively, so this game can run as well as it is right now. But on a Switch 2 version, fire runs at 60 FPS, water runs at 60 FPS, right? The textures go to higher detail. The lighting effects are a little bit more pronounced. Maybe the fire effects are a little bit more realistic looking, because I think they kind of look a little bit too cartoony actually for the overall scene. But my point is that the game looks amazing for Switch, and I think they did such a good job with this that for those who play it on Switch, they're not going to be feeling like they're playing like a gimped version. But the Switch 2 version, I do think that they've also kind of developed it with in mind. Obviously, that's just my speculation. I do not know that. But I kind of figure that when they show off that version, it's going to look pretty impressive.
Yes, everything you said.
I like that you shoot the birds. I like that you shoot the birds.
Yeah. Well, my favorite part actually about this trailer, and almost everyone cuts it off, right? A lot of people have noted like the music and the forest part looks amazing, sounds amazing, but everyone cuts it off when they show the numbers, and that's my favorite part when we really hear the chorus pick up once it's already black and you see like it sounds so good.
That's the most Metroid Prime song I've ever heard. It sounds more like Metroid Prime than the Metroid Prime soundtrack. I don't know how else to explain it.
But you're right.
It does. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, that hit hard when I heard it. Oh man, this is good.
Yes, listen, let's give it a good listen here. Rewind it just a bit here. Here we go.
There.
Yeah.
See, that's the part people cut off, but that's like the best part to me.
Good.
Beautiful.
Of course.
It's so good. And so that's another interesting thing. Like, that I already feel better about this game than Metroid Dread, which I love, by the way. That's my favorite game for its respective year.
Yeah.
They've already demonstrated with this trailer from a music perspective that they're kind of leaning towards iconic, already from just the 2 minutes we saw.
No, the track is very cinematic. I can picture that live in the Game Awards of next year.
Oh,
Oh my god, an orchestral version or something.
And then the game loses to 3D Mario, but whatever. Better get best soundtrack though.
Yeah.
I think this game, I think if it has the proper marketing campaign, which I think this was like hey, it's back. We are acknowledging it, and this exists. I think that's what this trailer was.
Yeah.
And I think over the coming months, and maybe in another Nintendo Direct, if there is another one later this year, we'll probably get more like marketing campaign and working through it, and them bringing it to the forefront, because I know that is going to be a really big part of it, is like marketing it. And like Nate was saying, if they've dumped this many resources into it, I can't imagine that they wouldn't. It's been they cared enough about it to reset development instead of just cut the game in general. Like, so I think they obviously care about the game. They want it to succeed. I think they will do its due diligence and justice and try to get it, out there to people who may not be as into it, off rip. So
I still think we're gonna get, and let me hear what you guys think, but I still think Metroid Prime 2 and 3 are gonna be coming. And that's part of the marketing campaign. because you have to
Sure.
reintroduce
God, I
this
hope
to
so.
everyone who hasn't played it.
I
Like
was gonna ask that. What do you think
Right.
with that? Yeah, because
you just mentioned earlier that corruption, and it was hard for me to believe. I was like, geez, it's been that long. But it came out in 2007, right?
Mhm.
By the time Prime 4 comes out, it's going to be 18 years since the last Metroid Prime, the new one. So just think about all the people playing games now, how old they are based on like when Metroid Prime came out. So you
sure.
you have to reintroduce all three of them back to definitely the Switch user base. And obviously it's going to be the Switch too, but that's going to help Metroid Prime 4 sell.
yeah, no,
That is totally part of the marketing campaign.
a lot of people that were younger back then that were not into the Metroid type of games that are older now and can appreciate it more. Like I am. I can admit that before when it came out, I wasn't a fan, but now I was more of an adult and more into gaming that I appreciate it more. So I agree. I hope they do release Metroid 2 and 3. I will be getting them to play them before I get into 4.
My
Yeah,
only
I
worry
was
is,
17 when it came out.
Oh yeah, I was in high school as well, and
Almost 40. It's insane when the first Metroid Prime came out.
I was but a boy.
I was in high school when 3 came out. But
Wow.
my only concern is, would there be, because this game's coming out next year,
Yeah.
would there be a possibility of like fatigue, like Metroid Prime fatigue, if you have all 3 games, or I guess, well, one's already out, but 2 and 3 come out within that year?
I think we got to look at Pikmin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
'cause
okay,
they did
that's
the
a good
same
point.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
You'd
Pikmin.
think you'd get burnt
was-
on Pikmin faster than
I'll
on, like,
never get
Metroid
burnt
Prime.
on Pikmin.
No.
You know what? I'm not either. But if I'm speaking, I guess, in the shoes of like the general gaming community, I would presume that maybe they would get more burnt out on Pikmin first before Metroid.
That's a good point.
But I love
Good point.
I love Pikmin. But
I was
that's a
thinking
game
Pikmin's
that's
a little
not
bit more
for
concise,
everybody.
actually. Like I don't know, Pikmin's a little bit shorter. So I don't know.
That's true. I was
Yeah.
just thinking, like, was it the Crash trilogy that came out, and then that was like trying to be like their push for Crash, for like a new Crash game,
Yeah.
and then the new Crash
Oh.
game sold quite poorly compared to the trilogy, which sold okay.
Nostalgia.
And yeah, nostalgia is powerful. But I just wouldn't want the same thing to happen to beloved Metroid, I guess.
Yeah.
But no,
Is-
Pikmin,
yeah.
like, you're totally right. Like they
Yeah.
totally did that with Pikmin and it worked.
So-
So,
the way it would work, right? Assuming that, let's say what you're saying is true, and there'll be a little bit of like too much, right? Like if they put them out as a shadow drop like 2 weeks before, that's not going to kill Prime 4 sales, right? That's only going to help it, right?
Yeah.
But if they do it maybe like 3 months before, then maybe
Yeah.
there's something to what
You know
you're
what?
saying, right?
I would argue if they put it out 2 months before, it would kill the sales of 2 and 3 remastered, because people would be like, no, I'm just going to wait for Prime 4.
Yeah.
And then people would like buy those later down the road.
What if
But-
what if there's a direct mini in September and then they drop them out there? And then
Sure. Let's do it.
February and March.
I want to play it, man.
I think it makes sense for
Guys-
them to come out this year just because,
Yeah.
you know.
Question: Is
Yes.
Metroid Prime Trilogy available on the Wii U or was? Available?
Well, the
Yes.
eShops
Or no, it
are-
was.
so if I
eShop's
can I get a
down.
physical copy of the Wii U? Metroid
if you get
Prime
you can
today?
find a physical copy of Metroid Prime Trilogy for Wii, and you can
Yeah.
play it on your
Off
Wii
of
U.
Wii U,
You
okay.
can
Yeah,
do
you
that.
play with backwards compatibility.
Yeah, you can't download it anymore because those
Yeah.
servers are down.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is like Nintendo has to make these games accessible to everybody, because there's a lot of people out there that will not play 4 until they played 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who are going to say, well, I'm not going to track down a GameCube or a Wii. And obviously you could just track down a Wii because it's backwards compatible with GameCube. But
yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who are like, you know what? Do I want to buy the Metroid Prime trilogy? Because it's not cheap.
It's not.
If they don't,
Yeah.
if they're trying to see if they like it, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
That's
You're so
not a
right.
cheap way to go. So they got to get them all on the same console, and obviously, Nintendo's been very good at doing this this generation. Like Andres, you mentioned a while back about Luigi's Mansion Part 1 coming out.
Hope.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. I actually
Yeah,
thought
same.
we would have got that in the direct, because it makes sense to have all 3, and we still might get it later. Would not be surprised.
August shadow drop.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, or October, because
Halloween. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halloween.
No, they got Mario Party. They're not gonna put anything else out in October.
Maybe they'll shadow drop a Jamboree.
What in the world? So I looked up Metro Prime Trilogy for the Wii, and it's $300. Like,
Yeah, it's not cheap, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
easy.
wow.
Very expensive.
Super afford. You get 3 games.
I'm glad I have all 3 of those
But-
physical. Yeah.
Before Wii U eShop went down, I think it was like $30, and that was such a steal for the.
I want to say it
trilogy.
was 20.
Wow.
I think I
no,
bought it
30.
for
Sorry,
20.
30 Canadian dollars.
Yeah, the
So
physical
20.
the physical
20
edition's
USD,
always been
yeah.
expensive.
man,
It's wild.
I'll
I
wait.
got Tropical Freeze and Prime Trilogy for $20.
Oh,
That's a steal. That's a good
Yeah.
deal.
Total.
Meanwhile, now people have to get them for a lot more.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep getting the question. Oh, is Mario Odyssey 2 keep getting? I'm like, right now Wii U's are very, very cheap. Get a Wii U, get Mario Odyssey 2 for the Wii.
Galaxy 2?
Galaxy, yeah. That's what you mean.
Galaxy, Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still wondering about that. Like, I still think because we all talked about it when 3D All Stars was
Mhm.
released. We're like, well, where's Galaxy 2? You know, it was
Yeah.
like, why would you omit that?
Right?
It's a great game.
Yeah.
And again, it's debatable, but a lot of people
Yeah.
think it's better than Galaxy 1 or just as good. So it's like, why did we not include that? And you got to believe that there's a reason why. They're probably going to release it.
Mario movie comes out April 2026. They're still gonna need some games coming out on Switch, even when Switch 2 is out.
Yeah, and it is a Mario movie, not Donkey Kong, by the way, for
Yeah.
2026. And that Donkey Kong game coming in 2025, the HD version, and aligns well with the Donkey Kong Park opening in 2025 too. So
It
I
does.
think it serves the case that they do want to build up the Donkey Kong brand, right? Like, so we got, what Mario versus Donkey Kong, which is not really a Donkey Kong game, but now we have a Donkey Kong game. We have the Donkey Kong Park.
Mhm.
I think there is a new Donkey Kong game in the works, but they're
Yeah.
clearly saving it for Switch.
I do too.
Yeah,
It's for
yeah,
Switch
yeah.
too. And
Yep.
and this also came out, in my opinion, to celebrate 30 years of Donkey Kong Country.
Mhm.
It's the 30th anniversary. It makes sense. I'm actually surprised we're not getting it this year. But I guess they,
Yeah.
like I figured we get it maybe
next year.
August, right, Mike? You just
Yeah.
had a video talking about the no games in August and
Oh,
how
yeah,
that could mean
yeah.
something.
Yeah,
And
there's nothing in August for
Switch 2 reveal.
Yeah,
it could, yeah, it could.
Yeah, that's what
Maybe.
That was
They-
your video, and I was like, oh, he's got a good point. It could be.
They schedule all these games back to back. Wait, and then they skip August and they continue.
So they kind of did something like that last year. Honestly, I think it's just a product of them slowing down a little bit. But they made sure to have 3 months of killer holiday games.
Mhm.
Zelda, Mario Party, and Mario and Luigi. Like, that's going to do so well for them.
Mhm.
But since we are still technically doing the Metroid topic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Let's maybe wrap it up by how about each of us talk about one thing we saw in the trailer that we just thought was really cool.
I like the battle. The first thing, the opening shot, the transition from Samus, which looked amazing, to the actual battle. That transition was seamless and just kind of
Yeah.
got me really hyped. Because it goes from transition to battle. All of a sudden, she's in this middle of this big battlefield and all
Yeah.
the shooting going around. That to me was like cinema. Like, oh my god, that's just
Dude,
Yeah.
It's also a slap in the face of the entire industry of like, hey, here's a CGI trailer. No. This is
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It was gameplay, and then the reveal of the big bad. Like,
Yeah.
is it Dark Samus? Dark Samus?
silence.
Yeah, Silex. Yeah.
Silence.
Silence,
Yeah,
right?
Dark
Samus
Samus is dead.
Yeah,
She
Dark
better
Samus is
stay
still-
dead this time.
Yeah.
Can I just
Um,
point out that not that it really matters,
It matters.
but like Samus and Silex are back in Metroid Prime 4. And who miraculously just popped up out of nowhere yesterday? But Samus Hunter and Silex. I'm not saying it's related. I'm just saying it's a little freaky coincidence.
Well, Silex Hunter, I definitely think was more than a coincidence. He's a leaker, so he's. Listen, I talked about it the night before. I asked my chat, "Hey, is this something or nothing?" And it was like 53-47. We were split, but Prime 4 was showing off, and Silex was a big deal. So I think history suggested it was maybe something.
Yeah.
Could be a coincidence, but I don't think it is because he also leaked F-Zero.
I love seeing a lot of developers from Retro Studios take to Twitter and finally start talking about the game. Like, man, I've been working on this game for so long. Finally, I can add it to my resume.
Yeah.
And I
That
can't
was
wait
cool.
for you guys to see it. And
Yeah, that was
Love to
really
see that.
sick.
I followed
That's
every
great.
one of them.
Yep, same. I was like, wink, wink. Yeah. No, I think it was just really impressive visually, and also just from a standpoint of like, there's so much. Again, I just was really impressed that it looks like I was like, this is a Switch game. I cannot believe this is a Switch game. Like, that was just what it got. In the fact that it was gameplay, that was like, oh, this is what we're getting. This is sick as fuck. So yeah. Anyways, that's. I'll leave the rest of the trailer for everybody else.
I mean,
gonna
I
say
think
mock
my favorite
droids.
thing
That's all.
was, Mike kind of stole my answer, but that opening cutscene of like her jumping out of the ship and then it spinning around and turning into gameplay,
Yeah.
that was just so cool.
Yeah, man.
It was
That I
hype.
was like, yes, this is sci-fi. This is. I need to check my sci-fi box from Nintendo.
How'd
I
you
was-
feel
I
when
was-
that
I-
giant purple blast came in and you saw a purple flash across the
Yeah.
entire screen? Like that was a good lighting effect.
That was crazy.
It looks
Yeah,
good. What can I say?
I was
So
so
cool.
hyped that I would cosplay as Samus, but I just don't have a figure for it, because
Yeah.
Mhm.
you need those. You need those small hips.
Since you guys mentioned that, I'll just mention a random detail that I noticed. Like, so when Samus does her hero landing, right, and if you listen to it with like headphones, you can hear more sound detail.
Mhm.
And there's rain, right, which I love the rain, and also there's rain. You can see rain dripping down her visor and her arm cannon, just like in remaster. Looks even better, I would argue. But when she lands, there's debris from the weight that kind of crashes to the ground, and you can hear the rubble as well. Like, it's just a nice little additional sound detail that there's an attention to detail to this game. Like, Retro Studios games have a lot of attention to detail. It's usually to a fault, but I just loved it.
I think what I liked most was initially it was the music. Like it hit me. Because I see it on screen and your brain's trained to you see something familiar and you start paying attention to the other stuff. And obviously I see something familiar. This is Metroid Prime. Yes, I know it has better graphics and all this other stuff's going on, but the music really hit. And then seeing the weather effects, the particle effects in the sky, I was like, dude, that looks good. Like that looks really nice. So the lighting and the particle effects were awesome. And of course, how it closed with that classic Metroid theme. I was like, dude, that's so good.
Yeah.
So very excited. And I think it's gonna sell well.
This is the first Nintendo Switch version for Metroid, right? We had a remaster, and so this is the first Metroid they build for the Switch and beyond.
Well, Dread.
So,
First ground up.
First Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Prime, yes.
oh yeah. I'm talking about the 3D version one.
I mean, you can tell that like a fun fact, right? The engine that they use for remaster is referred to as the root engine, which is the same engine they used to make the original Metroid Prime on GameCube back in 2002. And basically, Retro Studios has just been fine-tuning and enhancing and modernizing this engine for the last 2 decades plus, and they're still probably using it here for Prime 4.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Don't fix it.
No, they've just been it's basically like a bodybuilder that's just been getting stronger and stronger every day for 20 plus years.
Yeah. This scene too, right here.
Yeah, right here. Like,
that was really cool.
There's an energy tank here though, so I kind of suggest that we can go back and explore this area.
Yeah,
like there are collectibles,
which is good.
I thought the camera kind of just like the scene cuts right before she grabs it, probably to not interrupt with like the, you got an energy tank box.
Yep.
But it seemed like there was a bit of a cut there.
You mentioned mock droids earlier though, Cap.
Yeah, because the 2 Metroids flanking Silex when he walks in, they're mock droids, not Metroids. So mock droids were in Super Metroid, and they're basically like failed genetically inferior Metroid clones, and the visual tell is that they have 1 nucleus or nuclei instead of 3, like the red circles as people call them inside the Metroid. There's just 1. So I think that there's some weird stuff going on with the story, but that's you wanted to wrap it up instead of getting into it. So
well, no. Well, I mean,
you said we should wrap this up, and then I'll just open this.
I'm gonna run the risk here of going down this path. We want to know something crazy. You may already know, but like I think this is the year's like 20X9, and even though technically like we treat the Metroid Prime series separate from the main line for the 2D games, I think the year suggested it's after Dread. And so what's
Right.
fascinating about that is that outside of Samus, all Metroids are dead. So mock droids would actually make sense.
It would.
in
It
this
would be the
case.
best way to do it, and it would
Yeah.
be something I've noticed and that I appreciate is that they're not doing like this the comic book thing of just like reviving characters who have died or whatever. We see no Phazon, we see no Dark Samus, no Ravenbeak or Chozo or anything. It's all either characters who we know lived like Silex or new stuff.
I think Ridley's coming back. Ridley can't die.
Rid-
You
see,
find
that's
a way.
the
Ridley's
thing with
all
Dread.
he
No
always
Ridley.
finds a way back.
Ridley's
Ridley will
classic.
find a way. You don't think they're gonna have Ridley?
I mean, it will be like maybe like a Ridley clone or like a Ridley robot again or something like that.
I
But,
thought
but
it might be
I
a
really
clone.
liked that Ridley was not in Dread because I was like, yeah, he's dead. Let him
Oh, we
be
had
dead.
Kraid. Kraid's like been in jail for years.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yes.
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't be opposed to a Ridley battle again.
I mean,
wouldn't be
however they
opposed.
choose to do it, listen, if he just came back from the dead, maybe they'll have lore for that. Maybe they'll say he's like a necromancer Ridley or something. I don't know. Like,
Well, even Prime 1 like gave an explanation for like Ridley survived because the space pirates freaking tortured him into existence
Yeah.
again by cybernetically enhancing him after he died in the first game. So
he's an
I mean,
android.
they'll work it in a way that makes canonical sense.
He's like a super android in 3. It's crazy. It's like he
Yes.
keeps getting his ass kicked. He's like, all right, well, time to add more metal parts.
Yeah,
yeah.
just put more stuff on him. Yeah.
The other story thing that's neat to me, right, is that so we know Silex steals a Metroid at the end of Federation Force, right? Although now I want to go back and see if it's a mock droid or not, because I mean, if he has a Metroid, what happened to it? Did he kill it accidentally or not? I'm not sure. But what makes things perhaps even more interesting to me, right, is that if they are starting to maybe tie in some of the 2D lore, right, like if this is taking place after Dread, then it also kind of brings into question the sort of parental bonds of Metroids to their, parents, right? So Samus at one point was the mother to the Super Metroid, right, because she was there when it hatched in Metroid 2. So there's some history there. But then Silex is also a daddy to that Metroid at the end of Federation Force, and here he comes in with 2 mock droids, I guess. I'm not sure. Maybe they're just gonna I don't know. Maybe they're still Metroids and they just retconned the nucleus thing. I don't know, but
So
I
you're
think there's gonna be some
saying
sort of
Daddy
parental.
Silex.
He's Daddy Silex, like for sure.
Perfect.
Daddy
Yeah.
Silex, Mommy Samus. All right,
Yeah,
You heard it here
Yeah.
first.
I'll take it.
yeah.
A mommy Metroid and a
I
daddy
think it's gonna
Metroid.
be a plot point. Maybe it's a plot point only in like subtle lore through scans, but there will be some reference to their parental Metroid bonds. I bet.
It makes sense.
Maybe.
Nate, I don't. Eric, I feel like Eric's not even here, so I don't even know.
He's here.
I'm here.
He's here.
He's the
so we were
disembodied
just
voice.
we were just going through mentioning like a cool thing from the trailer, and then at that point we'll move on.
Is there any? Do you have a cool point, Eric?
I don't know.
Hated it.
Yeah, no, god awful.
Absolutely
Worst thing they ever
trash.
shown in the damn direct ever. No,
You offended Steve. He
He just booked it.
left. He
Yeah,
took
he
the
really
glorious
did.
stash with him.
Glorious Dash.
no. I mean, I'm not much of a Metroid player at all.
For now.
I would see just a little bit more, but it is piquing my interest. So there's at least that.
That's a
I'd
W.
like to see just a little bit more of it. But yeah,
What,
I mean,
what do you need to see?
I don't know. I honestly
Ridley.
don't know until I see it.
Daddy Silex with Uncle Ridley.
No, there you go. I mean, I guess I just
Fucking
don't
birds
know
and the
what-
bees.
how it's lore, so I guess I don't know what I'm missing or what I'm not. But
And
yeah.
second cousin Kraid.
But yeah, no, I thought it looked good. I just need just a tiny bit more to I guess understand it. I guess I won't understand it because I've never played any of them. But
That's fair. I think they're gonna at some point do something to kind of get people who don't quite understand the series. Like they did that with Dread. They had a lot of explanations for it. I think when we get closer to release, they'll do things like that. I still don't think we haven't had the Breath of the Wild explosion moment, right? Like this was just a teaser. We'll get there in a few months or longer.
Yeah, we'll get Samus waking up, and all of a sudden jumping to the field, and all of a sudden they show the mountain over here. They show the volcano on this side, and then
I know this isn't until later, but I love that they gave a Breath of the Wild shot to the Zelda part.
Oh yeah, that was
So
great.
funny. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Is that a segue?
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be a
Feels
good
like a
segue.
segue.
You segue to the Zelda. It's fine.
Yeah. Segue to
Yeah.
Zelda.
So, new Zelda game announced. Kind of took some people by surprise. Some people may be expecting it. Some people technically, quote unquote, leaking it. Papa Gino's being one of the first people to really bring it up, and then somebody did it over on Reset Era as well. That nobody paid any attention to, so there was that. We got a brand new Zelda game. Let's go ahead and just pop the trailer up for some people who, I don't know if you're living under a rock, maybe you haven't seen it. I don't really know how you can't just not see it. It's awesome. But they dropped a new Zelda game. Echoes of Wisdom. It's called something a little bit different in Japan, but same game. Stars Zelda. We have a game starring Zelda, a game called The Legend of Zelda that actually stars Zelda. Some people think it's a little unfair. Maybe it should be called The Legend of Link. Yeah. Why can't Link be a legend? He's been the hero all this time. It's time for him to have a legend, but it's all about Zelda and copy abilities. It's actually kind of funny. I didn't realize it till today after watching the trailer like 70,000 times. Zelda's a necromancer.
Hell yeah.
She's straight up a necromancer. That's just what she is.
Hell yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Is necromancy, does that count as summoning the dead or summoning copies of the dead?
It can be copies.
Yeah,
It
copies.
can be copies of the dead. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, if she killed them and then summons them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I took out
Exactly.
the full goblin. Now I own it. Now I make copies of it. I go,
Uh-huh.
cool.
Yeah.
Right there, Breath of the Wild.
Quite interesting, you know. 'Cause it's I was always wondering, like, if they ever made a game starring Zelda, how would they make the gameplay different? Because I don't think she could really play like Link. I don't think that would just be a little bit disingenuous at that point. Just use Link.
And tone deaf.
Yeah, a little tone deaf. So all the conversations always revolve around, well, that's maybe a Sheik game or, you know, something like that. And Nintendo's like, no, we got this. She's going to be a magic user because she's already been using magic all throughout the series anyways.
Yeah. Mhm.
And her magic ability is going to be the ability to make echoes / copies of anything, as many as you want. I'm sure there's a limit to how many you can make at once.
Yeah.
And then use it to make this unique, really, like, for all the people out there that have been waiting for like dungeon crawling, puzzle solving Zelda, this is like that to the extreme based on what they showed.
Yep.
And so it's like, it's kind of crazy because, and one part of me says they went in the polar opposite direction of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but at the same time, they kind of used a similar mechanic in like using your imagination to play the game how you want,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
while making it much more puzzle and potentially dungeon focused. Obviously, we can't confirm that anything we saw was actually a dungeon. There's segments to me that I think definitely feel like they're dungeons, but
Mm-hmm.
I think the rifts are like shrines.
maybe there's definitely stuff in the rifts.
Yeah.
They're dungeon-esque, which basically are shrines. Like my theory is that when you get into a rift, it's kind of like a mini dungeon or a shrine, and once you clear it, it clears up, and you open up that part of the map.
Sure.
I don't have anything to substantiate the theory. I just think it makes sense.
You can see a dungeon like towards the right top corner.
Well, you
Oh.
guys have seen the pictures, right, of A Link to the Past,
Yeah.
the comparisons.
Yeah. I shared it on.
We all seen that.
But,
Yeah, I made a video about that.
Nah, Cap doesn't
Yes.
know what we're talking about at all. Nope.
What?
Well, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it
yeah. I think it's
when we get to that point.
I think the game takes place between A Link in the Past, and the other one,
Link's
A Link-
Awakening
between
or Oracle of Age?
between Worlds and A Link to the Past. Like the map is very similar.
Mhm.
And I think what they did with this one is just basically reorganize a couple of things just so that kind of makes more sense in the how it is, like a 2D, 3D type of top down environment. I saw somebody fighting on Twitter about it, saying that no, this is not the map. This is not Hyrule and blah 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 because this mountain is over here and this is over there. It's not supposed to be here. Yeah.
Either way, it's very similar. Like you
And
can
there's
see the
snow here.
similarities, and that's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's snow on top of this mountain. Like, just the snow, relax, man. Probably melt.
I mean, the geography in the series has been wildly inconsistent. So I mean,
Yeah.
like that's such a
Yeah.
strange stance to like weird hill to die on.
You guys
Um,
notice in the trailer too the great Deku trees there,
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ocarina of Time design, basically.
especially with the Lego,
Yeah.
the Lego set coming
coming
out.
out the same
Yeah,
month.
exactly.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
I
agree.
I'm gonna do that. Just stack beds on top of beds,
That's
It
so
feels like
funny too. I love that.
I feel like there's a lot of like Ocarina Majora Mask love in this trailer because
Yeah.
they brought back the business sprout, right? That was the first time they were introduced,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and then they
Oh,
also
they were in
showed
Ocarina,
Zelda.
yeah.
The Switch Lite, man. We all gotta get it.
And you have the pink
Mhm.
jewel thing, which like that reminded me of literally the scene of Zelda from
Mhm.
Ocarina of Time.
Mhm.
I thought it was
Mhm.
cool.
And then there's like things in this game that look straight out of Breath of the Wild and Tears.
Oh
of the
yeah. Faron is now tropical, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just that Faron is just a tropical forest area.
Apparently,
Yeah.
that's not the way it's always been, but I guess that's
Yeah.
what we're going with now.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome. I think it's a good idea because there's more variety. It adds more variety to the environment. It's not just standard forest now. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, there's actually some different kinds of forest in this game now.
Mhm.
Dude,
Mhm.
speedrunners are gonna have a field day with this game. Like,
Yeah.
it looks so
Totally.
open to the point, and like, I feel like there's gonna be so many unintended ways people are gonna go about things. I'm so excited to see people absolutely destroy and break this game. It's gonna be so
I
sick.
could see that. I'm not into speed running, but I appreciate the art or the skill that's involved
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
But you do bring a good point, because something I had in my notes here that Anonuma said, he said, how you solve puzzles and battle enemies
Mhm.
will change depending on the echoes used. And in short, we've created a game where each player's experience will be different. And
Mhm.
obviously, that's one thing that I was really excited about, because
Yeah.
that's Tears of the Kingdom. That's what
Mhm.
made that game really fun, is that
Mhm.
we could both be given the same problem and come up with different answers that are both correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what this is, except 2D top down. Like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be cool, man.
I have a
The
theory.
puzzles.
I have a theory I want to run by the Zelda experts, Nate, Cap, Eric, of Lamb.
Yeah.
And
I'm
you know,
insulted you didn't mention me.
Yeah,
no,
I'm
me
leaving
too.
now. I
Dang.
quit.
Yeah,
I'm
the
done.
original Zelda was the first game I bought on NES, man.
Thunder.
It's been there from the beginning.
So you know that the previous game they made with this kind of engine and look was the Link to the Link's Awakening, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What if Link's Awakening and this game are kind of tied together, where he falls in right there and falls into this kind of dream that falls into Link's Awakening, while Zelda's in the real world trying to defeat, save everything while it's happening.
Yeah. So I think this game, I
Interesting.
mean, this is my theory, right? But I kind of feel like this game is like Fid follows like directly after Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
So, and the reason I think that, one, it's literally the same art style.
Yeah.
Right? So, and typically you only use the
That's the
same art
biggest-
style unless it's a direct sequel.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, but also Link leaves in Link's Awakening. That like the premise is that he goes out after he saves Hyrule on a trip of improvement, right?
Mhm.
And then so he runs into the Windfish and all of that stuff and the events of that, and then he presumably goes back to Hyrule a stronger hero. And the hero we see here, I mean, this Link has more abilities than we've ever seen. These jumping slashes and spin attacks. He has his new special sword and hood and bow. So I feel like this is an experienced Link. So I don't know. I kind of think it's a follow-up to Link's Awakening. Also, one last thing. Based off the code name of Link's Awakening, which is Richard, the code name for this game supposedly was Edward, right? And what's interesting about that is that there's a historical tale of the Princes of the Tower, which were Edward and Richard, two brothers who disappeared. And so it suggests a deep connection between the two. And looking at the art styles here,
Yeah.
there's obviously at least an aesthetic connection.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would say that I think, I don't know, at the very least, I don't think Ganon, or what is it in the 2D? It's just Ganon, right? Like
It's
the
just
pig
Ganon,
version.
yeah.
Ganon.
Yeah. So I don't think he's the bad guy, because Link literally vanquishes him from the rip and then falls. And it's like, so like, I think it's something greater or some new villain that we haven't. Maybe it's a return of like, what's the guy called in Oracle and what's the pot with an eye? You know what I'm talking about? I forget what the bad guy in those games are called. Maybe it's Four Swords. Anyway,
I haven't played Oracles, but
Oh,
there's
are we talking
Vati
about
and Yuga.
Vati?
yeah, maybe it's that, or maybe it's a whole new villain like they did in Link to Between Worlds. But I don't think Ganon will be the bad guy here, at least from what I
I
can
think it's gonna be a
The
dark
only reason
horse.
I don't agree with that is that Ganon's on the box art.
Ganon. Oh yeah, well they're both.
he's
It looks
like-
like they're both trapped.
But what I do think is that Ganon had some kind of, my guess is he had like some kind of failsafe or whatever, and then
I
he's
die,
somehow
I'm
corrupted
taking them
Link
all
as
with.
well.
Yeah,
Because on the
like-
box art, Link is like he's got that haze, like a dark haze around
True.
him.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a great point.
I think Link's gonna be a boss fight.
I
Straight up.
agree.
Oh,
I
that would
agree,
be wild.
and he's gonna become an Echo. He's gonna
Wait,
cost a lot of triangles.
Oh,
You
He's
said
gonna cost a lot of
crazy.
triangles, but you'll be able to
Zelda
use them
fighting
after the
Link?
boss fight.
Huh.
yeah,
That'll be crazy,
Yeah.
man.
that's
that
very
would
cool.
be wild.
I love all the memes that have come from this, like the
Yes.
copy ability of like I saw a really good one today that was Zelda copying Samus's arm shooter, and then she was just holding two of them and blasting all
yeah.
the enemies, and I was like, all right, I'm down for the
Yeah.
memes. I'll take it.
There's
Now
a lot
that's
of memes
crazy.
going around
This
that
is-
are funny.
I love what's happening because, like, right now, I feel like we're getting important updates to characters that are totally irrelevant to Smash Brothers. Like, you have to update Zelda's moveset now with an Echo copy ability.
Yeah,
You have to add Silex now to Smash Brothers. Like,
Yeah,
Dude,
Yeah.
if they keep Steve in the next Smash game and they update Zelda's moveset to this, it's going to be
Oh my
such a
God.
toxic combo.
it's gonna be
do
nuts.
you,
Oh,
do you
man.
think
What-
this game's gonna have a light and dark world?
I think the rifts are
That's
the
what I think.
equivalent.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think the
Maybe.
rifts are
Yeah,
gonna
maybe.
act as something like a dark world or some sort of portal to another world or
I think it
a
does,
completely underground world like we had with Tears of the Kingdom.
You can see them around the world because if you look at the artwork they put over on the press website, they have different images on different areas of the world, and they have the little rips in the like underground with the same exact thing where Link was swallowed. So I think they're just everywhere.
But do you think it's underground or do you think it's like an actual light and dark world like we had in the Link to the Past?
Yeah, I think it's a dark world. I'm just guessing.
I mean, I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
Oh, if you look at the actual rip when it opens, it has the little mist that you see in Tears of the Kingdom, like towards the bottom, like that little kind of. But maybe that's just there because to represent transition to another world.
Transition.
Yeah.
So you see right there.
yeah.
Like they're everywhere. And some people
I'm
get,
just so excited for this game.
yeah, some
I
people
don't
get-
even.
hmm
I don't think you guys understand. I'm blaming my lack of sleep because I'm getting ready to go on vacation, but in reality,
yeah.
it's because I've been watching this trailer on repeat. I think I've watched. This is the only trailer I've watched more than the Metroid Prime trailer, and I watched the Metroid Prime trailer now literally over 50 times. But I've watched this one even more because look, Zelda's my jam, right? It's my favorite franchise of all
Mhm.
time, and we haven't had a new. You guys, how much I love new
Yeah.
top-down Zelda game since Triforce Heroes, and if you want to, you go back to a more traditional one, A Link Between Worlds,
Yeah.
over a decade ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're right. Yeah.
It's been a hell of a long time since we've had, and even then, is this traditional? Like I see some people.
Oh.
My biggest thing is like when people call this game mid, and it's not a real mainline game.
or a
I'm like,
spin-off.
you don't even know what you're talking about when you're
Yeah,
saying
well,
this isn't a mainline game. It's,
Breath and Tears aren't real Zelda games either. So
yeah, let's just stop talking. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
How dare you?
Yeah, there are people that say that too. It's like no one can agree. Except here's the thing: they said it's a mainline game. They said it's the next adventure in the Legend of Zelda series, and they're using the Legend of Zelda name with it, which has always been the big indicator that it's a mainline game. None of the spin-offs use the Legend of Zelda in the name.
Mhm.
That being said, Nintendo is doing this inventive thing with it, right? They're trying this new experimental thing with Zelda being the lead and doing this new magic copy ability kind of thing. And guys, they've been doing this with Zelda forever. There's so many experimental things. I mean, look, Zelda 2 was a massive departure from Zelda 1.
Mhm.
Really experimental. You can look at, Four Swords Adventures or even the original Four Swords. They tied that in with A Link to the Past. You can look at, again, Triforce Heroes, which I know made Andres cringe a little bit over there. I love the game, but some people don't. But the point
What?
is, they
why
tried-
would I cringe at Triforce Heroes?
you just do.
No, I don't.
This happens, man.
I mean, I don't think of it as a replacement for a proper new Zelda game. I think of it as a side thing, but you know,
but it's
I'm
not
not.
it's a mainline
Oh,
game.
I'm not saying it's not canon. I think it's part. It's obvious. It's literally a part of the timeline. But you know, it's also it's a different thing. Like, you know,
I feel like this game now is
That's
proof.
why I remind you that Federation Force is also.
yeah, it's a part of the story. It's important for story reasons, but it's also not traditional Metroid Prime gameplay.
But my point is that my whole argument was that Nintendo keeps making non-traditional Zelda gameplay in Zelda games. Like that was my entire point I was making, that this is non-traditional, and they've been doing stuff like this since literally the second Zelda game.
Yeah, we're in full agreement. I don't know why you think I was cringing. I wasn't.
Anyways, I mean, at this point, now I feel like I'm going to get an argument over Triforce Heroes because it is as much of a traditional.
I feel like you're just trying to start a fight with me. Listen, you
want to
I was listen. I was annoyed during the direct because of my internet. You got your W.
argument over Metroid Prime. Let me hit. I'm just kidding.
Fight.
No, but no, seriously, I'm really excited for this game, guys. This is look. People keep asking me, you know, hey, what's your game of the year so far? What's the game of the year so far? I'm watching it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I'm that big of a Zelda nut, and nothing else has like blown me away this year.
It's for this year. So yeah, I mean, I'm between this one and which one is in November? This one is November, right?
No,
November
this
is
is
Mario and
September.
Luigi. Mario and
Yeah.
Luigi's
Mario and
November.
Luigi is a tough one too. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's me.
a massive Zelda fan. I don't know if you can tell.
No,
Nope.
I really
you are.
love
Zero indication.
Zelda.
no, we don't believe it. I don't believe
I
it.
think this game looks great. I'll be there day one. Got to lock in my pre-order. I'll
Mhm.
pick it up. I'm gonna play it.
here
Right.
comes fake fan.
But
Oh, there it is.
I am more excited for Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
I'm
To
just
be
saying.
fair, Mario and Luigi, we thought if it ever came back, it'd just be like a remake or a remaster.
And it's a
And
brand
it's
new
brand
game.
new. It's a brand new game.
Brothership.
Wild.
Yeah, they're brothers and they're on a
Oh,
ship.
I
does
love
look
the
good.
name.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that game in
Yeah.
the next topic. But that game looks great.
Yeah.
You know, I was
it
gonna
is,
say about this top-down Zelda. Like, this gives me faith that we're gonna receive
Yes.
new Zeldas
Yes.
that use the top-down formula versus only
Mhm.
remakes that
Mhm.
use the top-down. And like Echoes of Wisdom officially puts us in a world where we have new 3D Zeldas and new 2D Zeldas that aren't a remake. And
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to mention this too in the last segment with Metroid, is that I think we're in a world now where we're going to have new 3D Metroids and they're going to continue to make new 2D Metroids.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
both worlds are going to coexist,
Same thing with
which
Mario.
is amazing because
Good job,
there's
Grenzo.
fans for both.
Yeah.
Now become the new handheld Zelda team.
And listen,
Yeah.
listen.
Mercury Steam, the handheld
let's-
Metroid team. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what Thunder's saying is right now this is the second game based on the engine and look of a Link's Awakening, just like Breath of the Wild was with Tears of the Kingdom. They use this kind of the same engine, same look and feel. So maybe this is the second game, but we're also gonna get maybe this is Echoes of Wisdom, you know, the Triforce of Wisdom with Zelda, and then maybe like a
Oh,
something.
here he goes.
Mhm.
maybe like a, like,
Roars of
We're-
power,
We're gonna get
fires of courage.
Echoes of Courage.
a Triforce of games. Let's go.
I think,
No,
I
Power,
that'd be
courage, and
wild.
wisdom.
No, that would
I
be
think at
wild.
that point we're putting the horse before the cart. Like this game's
It
not
would,
even out
it
yet.
would be wild though. Echoes of Wisdom. Then you have a
The
game
cart
where you
before
get
the horse,
to play as
sorry.
Ganondorf. Then you get a game where you play as Link, and it just all connects with
What
one.
a game you
combo
play as
ending.
Link? I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
Yeah, game where you
But-
play as
but
Link is wild.
we-
I don't know what we're doing.
It
Yeah.
is incredible because for the first time in years, in many, many years, we get a new Zelda game 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I can't even remember when the last
year
time
and a
that
half
happened was.
divide, if even.
Yeah.
Dude, there was a time from like 2000 to 2004. It was like every year.
Yeah.
Well,
those were
I was
good
going to
days.
say,
I'll mention Metroid used to be regular like series as well.
Those
like,
were good.
between-
Also, the
Those
early
were great
2000s.
days. You had like Oracle games. You had Majora's Mask, Wind Waker.
Those were good days.
opposite to that, guys. Like when
we
I
were
was
spoiled
growing
back
up,
then.
A Link to the Past came out in 91, and we had to wait till November 1998 for the next like console Zelda game. That was like the longest wait
That was
ever. And I was looking at that and thinking, man, we've been eating like so good
When did
as
Link's
Zelda
Awakening
fans
come
on
out?
Switch.
Link's Awakening was
Yeah.
93.
What?
93.
So
Yeah.
I mean that helped to tide you over a little bit.
Well, let's put it this way though, man.
5 years, but he still was on the black and white Game Boy.
Right.
We're in the 8th year
Yeah.
of Switch, and this will be the 3rd Zelda game. Like brand
Third,
new.
third brand new
Zelda
Zelda
game.
game.
Third
We also have
brand
Skyward
new
Sword HD and
in
Link's
one
Awakening
generation.
as well. Yeah.
3rd brand new Zelda game. That's
I'm
unheard of.
assuming you're just talking about like mainline Legend of Zelda games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've
Okay.
had
Yeah.
obviously Age of Calamity. You could, if you want to toss that in there.
They're
There's
ignoring all the other
Cadence of
stuff.
Hyrule. Yeah.
Yeah, Age of Calamity is actually a pretty good spin-off because they do add some Breath of the Wild mechanics, which are neat.
Yeah.
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 Well, there's ways. I don't know if Nintendo's going to. Nintendo apparently has an updated official timeline coming in. That new books is coming out eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
I
gonna
wonder if
include this,
I
we'll
wonder
get
if we're
another
going to see
book
them
in.
sneak Age of Calamity as
Wow.
part of the timeline because it technically doesn't contradict it if they consider it a timeline split.
I mean, it's just like, why bother?
I love how
Well, here's the thing. You say why bother? The reason why I say they might count it is because the team who writes the Zelda story wrote the story for that game.
I get it, but also if they do that, then people are like, well, what about Hyrule Warriors original?
No, because they weren't
Well-
involved in writing that one. So.
Counterpoint is that what they said is that it'll have a Masterworks for Tears of the Kingdom will have a new History of Hyrule section, which is a section of the book that Creating a Champion also had, which was not the full 3 branches timeline. It was just the history in relation to Breath of the Wild. So I think it's really just going to update that from what was in Creating a Champion, not necessarily a new updated full series canonical
But if
timeline.
that update includes Age of Calamity,
It
If
could,
it does,
I guess.
cool. But I'm just
Didn't
saying,
the
like,
Zelda
let's
team
not get
also
ahead of
say
ourselves.
they don't
Yeah.
care about the timeline?
I mean,
I was pretty
I
sure.
like-
I remember hearing that in an interview when Tears of the Kingdom
I
came
don't
out.
think that's
Yeah.
true.
That's not exactly.
it's not
It's more
the
like,
exact-
that's an exaggeration of what the statement was.
They're not gonna break their arm to
That
make
would
the
be something I
timeline
would say.
fit, but they'll make like they take into consideration, but it's not the be all end all. Is what is how I interpret it.
Yeah.
Gameplay first, really, and then
Yeah.
that comes after. And Fujibayashi even said in the same interview that he's like, we don't design things in a way to break the timeline, and people just ignored that part. And they're like, they don't care about the timeline. Anyways, I have thoughts about that.
I feel like it's the same energy as like when we get a new version of Hyrule and the layout's completely different. It's not because they're trying to ruin like the historical past. It's just because listen, they designed a world for the purpose of the game, and there are some little details that you just kind of have to, suspension disbelief. Like that.
Right.
That's my perspective.
Yeah, I just want to play.
It's all abstraction.
I want to play, man.
Actually, let me ask you guys a question about this game. Right, I have my own theory on it, but why do you think Princess Zelda's in a jail cell?
Yeah, something happens. She goes to jail. She maybe
Okay,
Brainwashed guards.
so I've been watching this trailer, and I think the brainwashed guards is the solution, because there's the part where she like talks to that old guy, and then he does like this ninjutsu around them, like to knock them out, almost as like, all right, I'm breaking you out of here. We're getting you out. And that's why she's also wearing the hood, because she's got to run out. And they would think, oh, maybe that's Link. Like maybe the people don't know Link is missing. So if she wears the hood, they're like, oh, there
maybe
goes
she
Link.
He wears a
He's
hood,
on his way.
to cover her.
Just another blonde kid.
Yeah, let's ignore every other feature, just the hood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Link
But
has
The thing
a
is,
fairy
in
and a wand.
games and stories, hoods make you they're it's
I
a way
know,
to
I
hide
know, it's
everyone.
overhyped.
Yeah.
They're like eyeglasses.
Yeah, they're like
and,
Superman's glasses. I'm
Or it's
Clark.
like putting on a hat in a Marvel movie.
But Nick, I have a counterpoint to your theory.
Okay.
So because they show that scene where the two knights approach her and they don't trap her, they don't stab her with spears, they kneel or bow to her,
They do, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So how do you explain that?
Different
Maybe-
parts of the game.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
They're not
throughout the
brainwashed
story,
yet.
They
Yep.
get corrupted.
But obviously, like she gets the tri-rod inside the jail cell, and that's
Ooh, wait,
the beginning of
wait.
the game.
I want to go
Well,
back to
the
where
scene with the 2 guards is on the
Oh,
cliff
what?
side. I think that's the beginning of the game. She
Right.
just escapes from wherever Ganon had her, and then the guards come. They go back to the castle, and then chaos ensues.
Something.
Plot twist happens.
You guys know that's
so-
how Link to the
But what
Past
is the
started.
plot twist? Is my thing, right? So like my
Brainwashed
point is
guards.
that
That's
when the knights.
exactly what Steve was about to say.
Yeah.
All right,
so-
all right, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. That's how Link to the Past starts. Like Link gets the sword from his uncle. Obviously, he goes into Hyrule Castle, rescues Princess. She's in a jail cell. You got to get the big key to get Princess out.
yeah.
And there's a knight right there, the guy who has the what is it, the Morning Star? Is that the weapon? thing you whip around,
Ball and chain.
the
thing.
spiky ball. It's called a Morning Star, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I had to look that up in a Castlevania game one time back in the day. Old knowledge I still have. But at any rate, it reminded me of that, which is just another connection to A Link to the Past. Or it's another link to the past.
Yeah.
But how does that answer So like, okay, all right. I have my own, like I said, I have my own theory, right? So we have the prologue, right? And then after the prologue, the jail cell thing happens, right? I agree with that. But the knights that greet her at the end of the prologue bow to her. They don't steal her away, right? They don't like grab her from behind and chain her up and say, "Oh, you're going to jail." So what happens between the end of that prologue and what we presume is the beginning of the gameplay where she gets to try ride in jail? Like what transitions there? Because they're not brainwashed seemingly when they bow to her. Is my
There's a couple theories.
I have a theory. So,
All
so I think it was Cap who mentioned that that Link at the end, because he's sucked into that thing. At the end, she ends up fighting Link, but in evil form. Maybe those are people. Those who capture her also are corrupted ones who Ganon brings back from wherever they were in corrupt form, and then trap her there.
You got me
Also,
thinking.
A couple like someone could, like some villain could emerge out of nowhere once they get back to the castle or sometime later and just be like, "Ha, whoosh, brainwash everyone now."
I feel like that's the most likely option.
Yeah. Or maybe they are already brainwashed and they figure we'll like pretend and it'll be easier to get her back to the castle if we're just, normal guards, because that's where she lives anyways. We'll backstab her when we get there. Who knows, right? but I don't know. Like, I think that point is not a stretch to say that.
I mean, we do have that one
could happen
scene
between then and later.
Yeah. We do have that one scene where the lady falls into the rift, right? So maybe there's a second rift wave, right? Like the initial prologue, right? And then as they're approaching, or when she gets to the castle, then there's a big rift attack, right? And perhaps maybe there is a possession of the king, and that's when they're brainwashed. That could be. I'll throw out my theory, right? Tentative theory. I think that they put her in jail because she's like, "No, I have to save Link," and they're like, "No. You can't do that. You're the princess." So they're not evil. They're just like, you should not be going out there right now. Her? So she sneaks out.
Yeah, to protect. Yeah,
it's very plausible. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
I do think it makes more sense that they get possessed, but I like mine because it's more funny.
Yeah. And one other thing I just noticed that those rips are dimensional because they actually, when I saw just one open, it actually took over the wall to the wall part, and it's kind of opened up like that. So it looks like more dimensional than just kind of ripping the. So if you walk through it, you probably go to wherever it goes.
Yeah, and there's a part where she's using the water blocks. It looks like she's inside one of the rifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Fascinating. So, you guys all getting this game day one, or what's up?
Yes.
Oh, 1,000. I'm getting like every game from this day one.
I was just gonna say, I love how so like in Link's Awakening, we have that one art that shows like the land of was it Koholint, right? Like from behind, like that perspective where you can see the visuals. But like in this game, like we're seeing a lot of different angles of where we get to see more of the world, not just from the top-down perspective. So we're like, hey, look, we made a pretty world, and we're gonna show you it a lot. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah.
Is it day one for you?
No. It's pre-order. So it's before day one.
Negative.
I'll play it day one.
Yeah. I'm waiting for those to open.
I'm on double day.
It won't take you as long to beat as Tears of the Kingdom. I promise you that.
No, probably not. But still, I will be playing it day one.
Anybody double dipping?
For what? Switch?
I mean, I'll probably double dip on Metro Prime 4. I'll buy the Switch 1 and Switch 2 version.
Physical and digital?
Oh, heck no. I don't got that kind of money.
Look, if they release a collector's version, then maybe.
Well,
yeah.
Have the light.
Otherwise, I'll be good just buying one or the other.
I agree. If there's a collector's version, then maybe. But right now, I'm kind of looking at the whole double dip aspect is getting that Switch Lite.
Yeah, I'm getting
which I'll be buying to keep sealed.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's a shame I don't need a Switch Lite because it looks really good, but I can't justify spending the money.
The thing is, there's so many other games in this damn direct that I want to buy as well.
Yeah.
I think it's
Nintendo over the last like 2-3 weeks, because they announced the Zelda set like 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
They are just attacking my wallet relentlessly. Like $300 for the Zelda set, and then there's like
Yeah.
3 games this year for me, plus Metroid Prime 4 next year. Like, my wallet needs a break.
Don't even get started with
Oh
that.
my god.
food drop.
Next year is insane.
Next
Like for me
Yeah.
already, I know I'm
True.
getting Monster Hunter Wilds, right? I
Wilds.
know I'm getting Pokemon Legends ZA. I know I'm getting Metroid Prime 4 maybe twice.
Switch 2.
And then there's probably the Switch 2, and God knows what else they're putting out.
And the
with
launch
that.
lineup. Who knows?
Can
Yeah.
I throw like a really crackpot theory out there just for a second? Not to sound
Yes.
like a broken record, right? So Echoes of Wisdom really tells me that we are not getting Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on Switch.
Yeah.
At all. It's not happening. This was the last opportunity. But theoretically, we don't have a Zelda game next year. And I'm assuming a new one's not going to be ready yet. So what if they just did like Twilight Princess 4K for Switch 2, and then that's the game next year. And then after that, we're like, okay, let's go back to...
Unless it looks like that tech demo on steroids from
Right.
2011.
Oh, what if it?
Hell no.
But
Dude,
maybe
They're gonna
that's
need to
why
add
it's
some
not
more
out yet.
polygons to
I
that
need to go look
business.
at that tech demo because I haven't seen it.
I don't know.
Imagine if that was a launch title.
That would be hype. That's
Because,
so-
but
yeah.
for the Wii and for now the Switch 2, that would be funny.
See,
I mean, I'd be there day one, but that'd be cool.
yeah.
I've been looking at what Nintendo's been doing lately. You know, you see like what they did with the Metroid Prime remaster. Look what they did with obviously Link's Awakening with a complete remake. I have a feeling that if Twilight Princess is coming back at this point, it just HD and it isn't what Nintendo cares about. I think they have some third-party studio like just making it look completely refreshed compared to what it used to be. And that is this Wind Waker is one thing. I think that can still come anytime and just be whatever. That game's always going to look gorgeous forever.
Yeah.
But Twilight Princess is that game that, like, if they do it right, I mean, that might be a 10 million plus seller for them on the next system.
Yeah. I'll wait.
So,
Yeah.
are we in the overall subject yet?
Yeah, I was trying to transition, but I guess you want to talk Zelda.
I mean, they're still part of the direct, right? But we're kind of tangenting a little, right? So I just want to say that with Donkey Kong Returns HD, I feel like that is very interesting because they already remastered that game for 3DS, but now they're remastering it again. And so for the people who are like, oh, what if we get Samus Returns HD, right? Or like a link, but like all of a sudden I feel like anything's possible.
It is. Yeah.
Anything's possible. You want a remaster for remaster? Well, Nintendo's done it before. They can do it again. So, you know.
But
sure.
I think I'm on board more with Switch 2 just because they did it for Wii. And so they're skipping a
Yeah.
console and then
Yeah,
providing the
there
next
needs to be a generational gap at least. I
Yeah.
agree with that. Yeah. Listen, my theory still. I'm still believe my theory more than ever. Nintendo's gonna have an ambitious Zelda remake within the first couple years of Switch 2. If it's not Ocarina of Time, sure, Twilight Princess, one or the other. That's what I think. I'll
I'm
put money on it.
unrealistically excited for Donkey Kong just because I didn't play it on the Wii, didn't play it on the 3DS, and now I can play it on Switch. And it's funny, I had a really interesting conversation about it yesterday with my coworkers because we all kind of watched the direct and talked about it after, and they're like, you're remastering this Donkey Kong game again? Like, this is the third time you're releasing it and you're charging $60, which branched into a whole different conversation. But my point was, it's putting Donkey Kong on the Switch again to kind of be like, hey, you remember Donkey Kong? Like, also kind of pulling off of that Mario movie hype because he was in the Mario movie. But I also think it's a precursor for a new Donkey Kong game later down the line. But they're kind of like, well,
Silver Star.
that one's not ready quite yet. So take this remaster in January and
Or
we'll hit you with a new Donkey Kong later.
they decided to move it to Switch 2 because we're so close.
That's
Yeah.
what I think.
I agree.
And so they said, you know what? Let's give you returns in the meantime.
Yep.
And prepare for that drop closer to the next Mario movie.
And
Let
so-
me just say something here. So this is in line with what you guys are saying, I think. But this direct proved to me that the greatest leaker of all time, who is now dead, but the greatest leaker of all time is Midori.
Who's now? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Oh,
they
yeah.
deleted their account and they're a really weird person and not metaphorically, right?
Yes.
Like I don't think
Like
they're
what?
leaking. I think their leaking days are over, right?
Yeah.
At least
It's-
as
it's
Midori.
over. Yeah.
But what they showed to me, right? The codename leaks, 100% valid, right? And the speculation on them was spot on. So from those codename leaks, we were able to predict a new sequel to Super Mario Party, right?
Yeah.
That's what we got, right? Not Superstars, but a sequel to Super Mario Party, which is what we got. Also, a follow-up to something like Link's Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we got. And also, before the direct, there were DMs that were leaked from him. He said the direct would be on the 18th. Before the other leaks of the 18th came out, that there would be a new 2D Zelda game reveal. All that, and then also the Dragon Quest 1 through 3 HD 2D games. Like, all of that's been proven, right? So, like, the Nintendo codename leaks, what it implies is the other codename leaks, regardless of what you may think of him as a person, they were valid, right? However he got them, they are valid. And so there are a whole bunch of other games out there they have codenames for. And now people will say, oh, but they're obvious, so whatever, right? But based off the codename leaks, we were able to interpret that we're probably getting a new 2D Zelda and we're getting a follow-up to Super Mario Party, right? It's not just, oh, it's just that, right? So, like, for example, the Silver Star one, I think it's Donkey Kong. That's my own theory. We don't know what it is, but there's a project there that was somehow related to Odyssey, and it wasn't named Red, which is for Mario. So, if we hadn't seen it yet, and they just announced a Donkey Kong Country, HD remaster, I think 3D Donkey Kong is coming. I think it's coming to Switch too.
You think Red would have been referred to the Mario and Luigi game?
What?
The codename Red?
No.
So the interesting thing, if you look at it, so there's a place. God, what's that site called that has all the code names?
I gotta check my sources.
Cutting room floor.
Yeah. Cutting room floor. Yeah. So they have a list of all the code names of all of Nintendo's games, at least all the known code names. And what you'll notice with Red is always mainline Mario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always 100%. It's never been used for any of the other series.
Okay.
So that's why it's like it's pretty sure that's the next big Mario game.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's SP Red.
So
Yeah.
I want to add something to just piggyback on Nick's point when it comes to the sales for Nintendo Switch games. I see Nintendo. Some people might not like this. I see Nintendo like I see Apple. Games don't devalue that easy. They're very valuable. They're very well made, and a lot of attention to details put into it, and they're very replayable, right? So if a game comes out later on in HD, some people buy it again and replay it again. You go back to it years later and replay it again like it was new. And so you can't say that too much about every other franchise. Nintendo has the most IPs that you can actually go and back and replay and experience it again. So I feel like, when it comes to Nintendo releasing a game that was HD, $59, Nintendo games are valuable. I mean, look at Mario Odyssey. How long did it take Mario Odyssey to go down in price?
I mean, listen, supply versus demand, right? Like if it sells, it's worth it.
Yeah.
And if you don't think it's worth it, don't buy it.
Exactly.
It always bothers me, and people are like, "Oh, this game's too expensive." Then don't buy it.
But then
Nintendo's not holding a gun to your head saying you have to buy it.
But
They're just putting it out there.
Nintendo will tell you, hey, you can save $10 or $20 if you buy 2 ones with the voucher. So
Yeah, that is a good deal.
Something.
So
Yeah.
the game on a budget, Nintendo's games hold value for longer because they don't drop the prices. So for resale,
They're better.
Yeah, it's funny that people complain about Nintendo game prices, but the thing is, Nintendo games sell better than other companies' games. So
maybe they made the mistake by doing all the price drops. Maybe they should have never devalued their own games a month.
I agree. There is something to
Literally,
that,
there's
right?
like Ubisoft will be like 50% off a month. A game just came out a month ago. It's 50%.
Hey
off.
man, when I'm in the grocery
Always.
store and
Like
I
clockwork.
see when I'm in the grocery store and I see 2 different items that are the same thing, like I don't know, 2 different peanut butters or 2 different butters or whatever, I'm like, okay, so how do I know what the difference is? Well, one's $1 more expensive. Does that mean it's a higher quality brand? And so like sometimes I go for the cheaper, but sometimes like, well, I'm kind of want quality here. Maybe the higher price is, a better quality thing.
And
Like,
there are
it's
times when
psychological.
I mean, you have to say it's the simple fact: bigger number equal better. But like, obviously, it's not true for everything in life. But
Yeah.
It's not.
how our monkey brains.
it's
hey,
not
also rip
If
work.
that's your only
But-
point of reference, like that's the only piece of evidence,
No, like bigger number equals better. I think what happens is we're kind of trained that way because there's a lot of things in life where it is a little bit true. You get the more expensive phone. It is better, faster, easier to use than the cheaper phones.
Yeah.
If you get a higher grade cut of meat, a higher grade cut of steak, it does taste better than the cheaper ones. So there's a lot of things in life.
It was not worth it.
Well, there's some things that aren't worth it, but the point of saying is like if you there's just a lot of things in life where if you buy the more expensive thing, it tends to be a better proposition, but it's not true in all cases. Like if you don't care about playing on your TV, a Switch Lite might be a way better proposition than a $350 Switch OLED, even though you can argue about the OLED screen, but now you got a more pocketable version that's more portable. So there's a lot of different facets in it, but a lot of things in life, bigger is better. And because of that, when you look at game pricing, the game never drops in price, must be a high quality game. Must be a high quality game. Whereas you see like, Ubisoft, you just dropped the new Assassin's Creed, $70. That's $25 45 days later.
Mm-hmm.
Was it worth $70 in the first place if 45 days later? It's less than 50% off. Is that?
Yeah.
Does that mean it was really worth 70?
There's like this cycle where
Right.
this is one of the things I buy often Nintendo games at launch, and I never buy a PlayStation game on launch because I'm like, I'll just wait, however long it's going to go on
prices are gonna
sale. I'll
stink
get a
crazy.
super good deal on it. Like I got Horizon for like $20 with all the DLC included, and but there's like a cycle where it's like they've trained, like these other companies have trained their client base to just wait it out.
I was about
And
to bring
then
that up.
and then no one buys it at launch, and then they're like, well shit, no one's buying it, we got to do something, put it on sale.
Vicious cycle.
I mean,
it's a vicious cycle.
You kind of have to bite the bullet for a little bit in order
Yeah.
to. But the problem is in this,
now we
this
gotta
industry,
talk more
right? Like you
That
kind of
could be
can't afford to kind of not have money coming in with how expensive their projects are.
Mm.
So they're in
Oh,
a
totally.
they're in a bind.
Again,
Meanwhile,
that's where
Nintendo's like,
I'm
Nintendo's doing just fine.
about that. They're in a bind.
Yeah.
All the companies that are doing this are typically multi-billion-dollar companies making hand over fist profits.
Yes.
They actually aren't really in that big of a bind. They're just trying to please investors. They could literally get out of that vicious cycle and just not drop the price of their game. And maybe
Oh,
it
for
hurts in the short term, but in the long term, it could lead to the evergreen status that Nintendo games end up having. And then they
Or
might
better
not
yet, cut the CEO's pay.
out the way that they do.
I
'Cause
think
they-
that's their plan.
But-
Though, like I think that's their business plan is to release it at full price. We're gonna get all the day one adopters.
Sure, the whales.
Then we're
Yep.
going to lower the price when it's time to release the DLC, which with Ubisoft games, that's 3 months later.
Mhm.
Like they hit you with
These
so
they're
much
not doing like
DLC.
the what is it, Star Citizen? That is like a $48,000 piece of optional content you can buy.
Yeah.
Star Citizen's
Yeah.
insane. They don't discount shit.
yeah, I want to
It's
extend this
one more.
conversation to hardware, right? Because we're currently in the 8th year of Switch, right?
Mhm.
It hasn't been 8 years, but we're working on getting through this 8th year, right?
Yeah.
And the Switch has yet to see a price drop. The Switch 2 is looming, and I mean that says something, right? There is value to the Switch. They're still selling well at this stage without a price drop. And you also look at this Nintendo Direct, right? Like it's the 8th year, and yet we're still having pretty good support. Is it a little bit worse than other years? Yeah, it is. But there's still this Direct was still really good. It's arguably one of the better directs when you account for everything, right? Like the hype with Prime 4, and then still giving us like a pretty solid lineup for this year.
The second half of this year is
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
dang
I
great.
really think this direct
Yeah.
had a little something for everyone. Like
You guys
I-
want to
yeah,
get
we-
into that?
They did.
Duh.
Yeah. Let's talk about that little something for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So
What's what's your topic after all?
Little something,
this is
something, something,
grade
yeah.
A.
Something.
All right. So we're going to talk about all the games announced
Let's
at the
go.
Direct. And like you said,
Mhm.
yeah, there is something there for everybody. It's pretty exciting. And we will start it off with a game that I'm very excited for.
Mm.
It's a game that has a lot of people saying it wrong. And I understand why. Because it does sound like it should be or could be Mario and Luigi Brotherhood, but it's the Mario and Luigi Brothership. And you guys all know why, right? It's a ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on a boat.
We're on a boat. Yeah,
they're
it
going to
makes
different
sense.
islands.
They're
Yeah.
taking
It's
the
like
Wind
One Piece.
Waker approach.
So this is
Yeah.
the first new Mario and Luigi in 9 years. When I say new, a new, brand new entry, not a remake. 9 years. So the last one was Paper Jam, 2015 for the 3DS. And
yeah,
I will just say, in my own experience with Mario and Luigi, I've played them all, beat them all. I picked up Superstar Saga on the Game Boy Advance the day it came out, which was, I'm looking at it now, 21 years ago. Actually came out November 17th.
wow.
Is that when this game's coming out, or is it the 7th?
This one's the 7th, I think.
7th. So obviously this is the flagship game outside of Zelda. It's got that November release date.
Mhm.
I'm hyped, guys. Like, it's pretty crazy to me to think that we got Paper Mario. We got 2 Paper Marios. We got Super Mario RPG, which I never thought was going to happen, a remake of that game, one of my all-time favorites. And now we have Mario and Luigi. So we have literally the trifecta. We have all 3 Mario RPG universes coming together on one console. Insane. What do you guys think about this?
I mean,
That's
we
nice.
got 3 in a year.
Yeah,
Really?
I'm about to
what?
say
Back-to-back holiday seasons.
Like, I feel bad because people were asking me, so do you think Mario and Luigi is going to come back soon? I'm like, yeah, I think it's going to come back, especially with the surveys, but I never thought that they would do it this soon.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought if it came back, it'd just be like a remake or like a 3DS, upres or something.
But no,
Yeah.
they're like, no, new game.
That's
Baby.
what I thought too.
Completely brand new. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Have we
it's
figured out who the
incredible.
developer is yet?
Yeah,
It's not Alpha Dream. That's for sure.
Yeah, we know that.
But I heard that a lot of the senior staff is working with Nintendo now.
no,
I saw that on Twitter.
I thought the developer was revealed.
I looked it up. I haven't seen it yet. I mean,
haven't seen who.
Camelot's worked on the Mario RPG
No, never mind.
universe.
That was Donkey Kong.
You're thinking of the Forever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Forever
Forever
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Donkey Returns
Yeah.
HD,
I heard a rumor / saw a tweet that said it was Monolith Soft, but I don't know how true.
what
that was.
Mario and Luigi Brothership?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
hell
like,
no.
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 The reason some people think that is because all those former Alpha Dream employees that people talk about Nintendo hired, it was Monolith Soft who hired them. That's why people are thinking.
Oh,
Good, because
but
I
are
don't
they
want it to
working
be
had their-
Monolith,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
had
I
their
want
hands
them to
full.
be working on Switch too.
So the point is that they retain the quality talent, but
Yeah, that's why people are thinking it's them, but obviously we don't know. They haven't revealed it, so
I mean,
don't
Monolith
know.
might have helped, but I don't think they
Monolith
did
seems
the
to
whole
help with
thing.
everything. If it was made
mean-
internally, Monolith probably helped.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a studio where they could do it without taking away from their main projects, it is them. Yeah,
That's my thought too.
I love the art style. It looks amazing.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was what I was
I
gonna
agree.
say.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would enjoy like an actual series from them, like an actual series, Mario and Luigi series, like a cartoon series in this art style.
Oh,
They're doing
I-
things,
I could see
That's
that.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a baby.
I think the art style is beautiful. I think I think that like RPG fans, Mario RPG fans are eating good this
The
year.
best
They're
we ever
eating
have.
So
I'm
so
becoming a huge
Yeah.
Mario RPG fan right
Like,
now.
I'm more thinking that the new fans that this is going to bring in, like how many kids are going to get this for Christmas? And again, like you said, what's
Me.
9 years since the last one?
yeah,
And
Nine
right.
so,
years,
th-
yeah.
like, I think this is the entry point for a lot of new fans, and I think that's going
Is
to be
this
awesome.
gonna be co-op?
I don't think any of the other
No.
ones were.
No.
were they?
I don't know.
It's
The
not
whole-
It could
the
be
whole
cool to have an
gimmick-
option. though.
Yeah, the whole gimmick of these games is it's like you if you haven't Anders, have you played them before?
I have not played Mario and Luigi.
Oh,
So
you're gonna love it.
the whole gimmick is that like usually the A button is an action with Mario and the B button is an action with Luigi. And then when they had in fact Partners in Time, I think it's Partners in Time or something with the future. They had Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, and they split it on because it was on the DS, and they split it amongst X, Y, A, B. So and it looks like just based on the trailer that they're continuing that theme of like your controls are split between Mario and Luigi,
Mhm.
which I wonder if they'll have like
So it'd be a
each
bad
stick,
co-op game
you know?
because it'd be really simple.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Yeah.
takes active time battle system to
Yeah.
like a different level. So what we
does.
saw in Super Mario RPG and Paper Mario, it takes it to a whole kind of
It's
another
two.
level. It's really
Double.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I get that. I see that from the gameplay. I mean, I know what Mario and Luigi is, right? Like I've seen
Yeah.
the games before, but like that makes sense. I only ask because like, I have a brother, right? So like it's like, oh, brothership. Oh, like I kind of like I just kind of dig the motif of camaraderie between
that's
brothers,
adorable.
right? So it's me being a cringe, cutesy little dork, and I was like, oh, this would be fun to
Yeah.
play with my
Aw.
brother.
You love your
Aw.
brother.
It's not
But-
cringe at all.
Well, it is because the game would suck if we did that. So yeah, that's fine. I'll just tell him, hey, look, this is game. Reminds me of you. Go screw yourself.
That's adorable, man. That's not cringe. It's just, you love your brother.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited for this
exactly.
game because Dream Team on 3DS, that is like my top 2 3DS games. And
Ooh, hold up.
I never thought we were gonna get another Mario and Luigi game. Like when I heard Alpha Dream was gone, I was like, well, most we'll get is a remaster, I guess. Maybe they'll bring
Yeah.
Dream Team to the Switch, but to open the direct with this, which maybe I shouldn't have fed too much into it, but when Piora was like, all right, you might want to like manage your expectations. We're really going light on the third or first party. I was like, oh, all right, it's going to be kind of a mid direct, I guess then. And then they open with this, and I was like,
Mid? Who's mid?
No, I was upset when that happened. Like, I know some people really like to harp on like managing your expectations, but I honestly think we just have to have realistic expectations. But realistic expectation doesn't mean expecting something bad. This is a company that's trying to get us to buy things, so obviously they should show things we like. Now, also obviously don't expect 3D Mario, 3D Zelda, and Mother 4, right? But reasonable expectations doesn't mean this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
So when Pure went out and said that, considering that they have this history of leaking, and they did not say it as speculation, they said that this will be first party light. I would argue this is one of the best first party centric directs in a long time.
It is.
Pioro lost his mojo.
Yeah, and I had a point with something Nick was saying, but I've lost it. I apologize. No, continue, Nick. Though with your, what you were saying.
This is definitely a day one buy. I love the RPG, and like this made me immediately want to go pick up Super Mario RPG because I have it. I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna play that so it's done and out of the way. So as soon as this comes out, I'm ready for another Mario RPG. And I don't know, it's just like one of my favorite series, and I never thought we were gonna get another one.
I didn't.
So
think
this
we were
gives me
either.
hope. I need it
thought
to sell well so they
Yeah.
make even more.
I thought at best we were gonna get like the first one on NSO Game Boy.
I mean, we got
Advance.
Superstar
You know what I
Saga
mean?
on NSO. So
We
that
do?
was something.
Wait, am I crazy? I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's
that.
on
Okay.
there. Nick,
Well,
have you-
I will be playing that.
Nick, have you
soon. I
played
did not
Super
know
Mario RPG, the original?
No.
Oh man, you're gonna love the remake. I'm excited for you. You have to let us know
Good.
what you think of it when you play it, man.
Yeah, I'm still working on 1,000 Year Door. Like, it's just wild.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's a masterpiece.
I really enjoyed it, man.
I think it's
Soundtrack's
interesting
great.
though that this game is the November game. Like it's a new game. It's a November game. Like people like it's kind of crazy to put that into perspective, right? Like the Alpha Dream is gone. People are like, oh, we're ever gonna see this again, right? Like, people are not even sure we're gonna get a remaster, and now all of a sudden we're getting a new game, and it's the November game.
Yeah, flagship.
That's crazy. I'm pretty sure it's gonna sell a few million. Like it's
Oh yeah.
actually the trailer has about as many views as the Metro Prime 4 trailer. It might even be passing it.
Well, this is Mario and Luigi's first time on a console. So we're gonna see what it can do on an actual home console. It was always
That's actually
on
why I
Game Boy
haven't
and
played
DS.
it
Especially
before.
a console as big as Switch.
exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
With this install base.
It's going to be crazy.
I mean, to be fair, it was also on DS, and that was a pretty big install base as well.
Yeah.
So.
So
To be
Nick,
fair.
because of you, I just bought Mario and Luigi on 3DS.
Which one?
The
Dream
the
Team?
one- yeah, the
Dream
one
Team?
Dream Team. yeah.
I
gotta
do
be-
want to say one quick thing, right? Because Flammy brought up DS. I think
Yeah, go ahead.
so. It's just a weird thing when we talk about like Wii and DS. We're like, oh, those consoles sold so much. Why didn't certain games sell better? I'll go back to what I said about Wii. It was very casual centric. A lot of people bought that for Nintendogs or
true.
Wii Sports.
That's
so
true.
it's misleading in terms of the core fan base that would buy hardcore games. That's all.
Or Electroplankton. A lot of people bought it for that.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know
I'm
that
totally
game sold
joking.
well.
Yeah,
We're like,
Okay.
what?
I thought it was
What's
interesting, but
you should have saw the E3.
hey, that
Dude,
stage in Smash Brothers is
we
cool.
take it serious.
that E3 presentation for it was riveting. You should have saw it back in the day. I'm like, what is
I mean,
going
back in
on?
the day, I thought all those games were so fascinating. Though it was as a kid, I was very interested in like all
So-
those games.
It's right up there with Seaman on Dreamcast.
I just want to point out we've made it about a couple hours into the show. We still haven't even mentioned the game that's probably going to sell the most copies on Switch this year.
Yeah.
What? Yes, we have.
There's still a lot of games to talk about.
Mario Super
Brief
Mario Party. I'm just kidding.
Is that the one you're talking about, Jamboree?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm so excited for
It's like a
Jam.
10
mentioned
million
it.
seller.
It's they say it's the biggest Mario Party ever, and
Yeah.
that has me excited. Like I kind of like that it's a little bit of a hybrid. Like it is a follow-up to Super Mario Party, which had me a little concerned, but
Yup.
they are remaking a couple Mario Party maps. It's 7 maps, so they're kind of like the main criticism for Super Mario Party was the content, right? A lack of content. They're literally promising us that this is the biggest Mario Party yet. So they're addressing the main criticism right off the bat.
Mhm.
I'm a
Andres,
little
I
bit
love you,
concerned.
but I'm gonna
Yeah?
explode if you don't let me, the Mario Party guy, talk about this.
All right, all right. You know what, Flam? You're right. I'll shut up now.
No, you're good. I was just like, all right, this is my time to shine.
That's
Man's
It's
gonna
It's
you
Mario
blow. He's
Party.
gonna
You go.
explode.
So as Andres was saying, yes, it's Mario Party. It's a sequel to Super, unfortunately. Not that Super was bad, but it was also not good. But it seems like they're taking a lot of the criticisms to heart by adding a lot of new modes and giving us stuff from Superstars by adding old maps like the Cloud, the Rainbow Road map, and the Western map. So that's super exciting. And the Goomba Lagoon looks really cool, as you can see in the trailer right here. Audio listeners, love you to death. But I think I have high hopes for this just because I think there will give us a mode or something that we can maybe turn the dice off. Because it seems like when you watch I don't know if we go back to the trailer, if we watch like the mall map again when they're playing through the map, I think I don't see like that typical layout with like the die, because you usually have like a dice and all the other stuff. But regardless, I'm excited for this. It looks like it's a huge thing. And then you also give us a 20-player mode, which that looks really cool. This part reminds me a lot of Wii Party, which was really fun. And so I'm excited that they're bringing back like these kind of really crazy concepts, but they're also optional things on the side and they're not like the main thing. Because that was like the biggest problem with Mario Party 9 and 10 was that they tried these cool, crazy things, but they made it the main thing, and they were things that not a lot of people were jazzed with. They were fun, but they weren't like, okay, but where's my board game that I know and love, and I need to, So I'm excited for this. This should be a fantastic. I'm excited just regardless because I'm a Mario Party person and I love Mario Party. I'm going to force all my friends to play 60 turns of the 20-person meta thing. So
I'm looking
Quick
forward to
question
it.
for you,
Yeah.
Papa. Do you think?
go ahead.
Do you think there's the possibility that they could add more maps to it with maybe with DLC or?
Well, we theorized that for a while with Superstars, and we really wanted that for a while with Superstars. So yeah, if we pause it, so right there, it doesn't look the same as like in Superstars. I'll go back like a couple seconds. It's like
this way.
I'm looking at the dice thing. Well, a little bit more. Go back a little bit more. Yes, there. So that doesn't look like Super Mario Party. Nope. The dice UI at the bottom looks different. So it doesn't look like there's character specific dice, or at least maybe there's an option, or certain maps have it and certain maps don't. And that makes me hopeful and excited because that's what made Super Mario Party super unbalanced and very not fun, because then it's like, oh, you have a tier list now of meta characters and they're not purely cosmetic.
You can actually shop.
boy.
You can shop for stuff in here, right?
Yeah, I want to ask you that too.
Yeah,
since
you
you're the Mario Party expert.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is like, I read about this. This board is a 3-level mall.
Yeah.
And it's gonna have flash sales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What's up with that?
So it seems that they are doing something where it's just like the stars will be cheaper, or like certain aspects of the board will be just cheaper. They actually did sale, like if the UI is correct of what we saw a few seconds ago, it looks like there's items, right? It looks like that items also go on sale, which that was actually a feature of the GameCube era Mario parties where items would go on sale, but it would only happen for characters who were losing. But now it seems that it's like a map wide event where, hey, this thing's on sale, everybody rush to this portion of the map, which I think that's pretty cool. It's a pretty neat take on this map. Is like, it seems like, oh, this thing of value is going to go super on sale. It isn't just a star, or it could be a star. And you got like the Boo Bell right here. You should all rush to this point of the map, or like who is the closest to get to that. So I think that's a very interesting way of going about it. And I think it will be pretty fun. I don't think it'll be. I have high hopes for this game. It looks good. I like the mall map, the vibes of it. I like the Goomba map vibes. It looks like they've taken notes from us, the community, as well. Because like the other problem with Superstars was not only the dice, but the size of the maps are super small and gimmicky. Whereas these look very like Goomba Lagoon here. This looks like a Mario Party map. Like this looks like a traditional ass Mario Party map, and I'm very excited to see all the gimmicks. And like if you pause it here, like look at all those. There was a couple other maps that looked really cool as well.
Yeah,
and then we're getting new old maps as well. So this looks very promising. Is all I have to say. But
that's what I thought too when I saw this.
Yeah,
man.
It has it seems like I haven't seen the Wiggler map yet. But they showed off everything else in the trailer thus far. So yeah, very excited, very cool. I'm also excited for the crap tons of mini games they're claiming that there's going to be of new ones and old. So that'll be cool to see old ones return. And some of the new mini games look really cool, like the Yoshi riding one. I was like, ooh, that looks fun. I want to try that out. Yeah, Mario Party, man, it's going to be a good time. They're always a mediocre time at best. So, and this one looks like it's shaping up to be good, despite it being Super Mario Party.
So they're touting 110 mini games.
Yeah, that's a good amount of mini games, especially compared to like older Mario Parties where I think Mario Superstar has not even. I don't think it cracks like 80 or 75.
I don't think it does either. They're claiming this is the most mini games to date in any Mario Party game.
Yeah,
over 110. So whatever number they need to hit to have them all.
100.
Awesome.
Well, and I think the
So
only one that had more mini games was that like DS spinoff, or was it a DS? There was like a mini game collection game, but it was literally all mini games.
It was like the top 100 or something.
Yeah, so I guess this is more still, even though it's the top 100. So yeah, I mean,
what you said about the dice thing is particularly noteworthy to me because like I am definitely someone who's like, I'm just gonna pick Yoshi. I don't care if he's like a, and then I always get the short stick of what his dice is actually. So that's cool. I actually think that's a really good improvement because you should just be able to pick the character based on the character you like, not
exactly
whatever random arbitrary numbers their block gets assigned. Yeah.
And it'd be one thing, like, so they've done character specific items in the past, and that hasn't, like, it was good, but it wasn't like meta defining, like, and it made it really bad in the past. Like in Mario Party 7, there's the random item you can get changes sometimes from character to character, and sometimes they're a little busted, but overall, for the most part, it wasn't anything like, it wasn't like it affected turn to turn play like it did in Super. Like Super, it was like if you pick like Shy Guy's like the best character. They roll, if you don't know, they have 3 5s, 2 4s, and a 0 on their dice. Like that is how they roll. So it's like they roll the most consistently, like best consistently, but then also they have the chance of whatever. And then there's characters, like, oh, they can roll 10, but then like the rest of their dice is like super low and blah 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 blah. So that's exciting, like to see that. Hopefully, I don't know, at least the way it looks in the trailer, I hope, fingers crossed, that they're not following in Super's footsteps with that mechanic. So, anyways, that's my piece on Mario Party. And Andres, again, sorry to cut you off there, but I was busting at the seams. I was like, I gotta do this. Is my bit. This is my bit.
He just pants in between. Don't worry.
I talk too much. It's good.
20 players though, man. 20 players.
Yeah, 20 players is gonna be
it's awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But
that's great for us. Like
it's gonna make great content.
Stuff.
It'll make a great YouTube video, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The live streams, guys, we're gonna have at Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Me, Alfred, all of them. We're gonna fuck it up. It's gonna be great. I'm seeing it. I can see it now. Anyways.
You guys, anyone else want to comment on this game before we move on to the next one?
Well, I know with this game, the one thing that kind of stuck out to me with the trailer too is that in the one cart thing, they said you could go up to what 40 spaces
Hell
if you
yeah.
roll the dice right. That is
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
It's a raceway, baby. Gotta go
Right.
fast.
Well, and I like that. Again, that's like a side mode. It's not like the main gimmick of like you can fucking zoom around the map, you know. And it's like, okay, that's good that it's there. It's good that they're separating these things. It's giving you options. That's the big thing. It's giving you options. Yeah. The next game we better talk about is Hello Kitty Island Adventure because
Oh,
it's finally
we're going
fucking
to.
coming.
Look,
You
it's
know
about
we're
time
going
for me to
to.
head out.
You know, you guys
I'm
are all hyped.
so
for
excited.
It, so I know the chat is.
Gamer girls across the world rejoiced when we saw Hello Kitty Island Adventure. It was amazing. It was fantastic. Listen, I had to throw some representation.
I will mention Nintendo World Championship that's
Mhm.
coming out soon. Is anyone picking that up?
I am.
I have it pre-ordered. I got
So
the
I'm still on the
Japanese version
fence.
too.
I got
I'm really on the fence, and I
collectible one.
yeah, I'm more interested in the collectible goodies that the special
Yeah.
edition comes with than the
Yeah.
actual software. I don't know what that says about me, but
Nothing. It
That's-
doesn't say anything bad. I mean, I'm
You're a
truly
Nintendo fan.
I'm interested in the collectible too. Like
yeah,
I pre-ordered the Japanese version as well, so I can get those Famicom Switch controllers that it comes with.
What?
Like, yeah, it comes with two
Yeah.
Famicom Switch controllers.
Oh,
I
that's
need
sick as
that.
hell.
They're Joy-Con controllers that
Hold
you
on,
can
yeah.
use with NSO.
I'm
yeah.
shopping right now. I'm shopping 1 second. Well,
Yeah, like they both have really cool collectibles, so I got both. I'm excited for it. I grew up on the NES, so this
Sure.
is fun for me.
Yeah.
Japanese.
Hell yeah. I like that they included like a speedrunner board. Like that, I think that's very cool because I feel like Nintendo doesn't acknowledge speedrunners all that often because they see it as like this borderline like infringement of not playing it the Nintendo way. So it's good to see that they're like acknowledging that on
Mhm.
on their public, forum. I
agree.
Yeah, because they've always been real like arm's length with speedrunning and that kind of stuff. Because again, I feel like they always see it as like a not necessarily hacking the game, but basically a step
It's
away
exploiting
from
it.
Yeah, exploiting it and doing it the way that it's not intended. But anyway, it's good to see. It's good to see that. It's good to see that they're embracing that, at least of that generation of gaming. What game did we not talk about?
Well, there's some more here. One of them
NSO stuff, right?
I'm excited about, and we're gonna touch on one of the big ones that you guys probably know. But I gotta ask you guys about Fantasian Neo Dimension, and there's a couple reasons why. One, I've heard really good things about it from Apple Arcade. That it's been on Apple Arcade. They say it's like stuck in Apple Arcade jail, and it's finally coming out. And right here, Hironi, is that how you say it? Hironobu Sakaguchi? I looked him up. Dude, quite the resume. Worked at Square from 1983 to 2003. He worked on Final Fantasy 1 all the way through 10-2. He worked on Super Mario RPG, Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, and Kingdom Hearts. Just to name, that's not even his whole resume. If I did his whole resume, I'd be talking for another 2 minutes. But he created this game. So someone with that kind of resume, I'm going to take notice, show my respect, and really look at this game and think, okay, well, what's this all about? Because he's created he's been part of or created some of my favorite RPGs of all time. Chrono Trigger, Mario RPG, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, a lot of love for that too. Wow. What do you guys think? Do you know anything about this game?
I saw
That's
the presentation
prolific portfolio.
When it first came out and during an Apple presentation. And it was created to be exclusive on Apple whatever. And so then of course with I think maybe for like about a couple years, and now it's free to everywhere. But I did see he took stage, he talked about his past, whatever, and he spoke about how bringing Chronos Cross and all those little games to Apple TV. But yeah, I was super impressed with this game when I first saw it on Apple TV. With Apple TV is a little device here with a chip that I don't think does much until the M series came up. Yeah, it's a really good game, really good RPG. I played it for a little bit, and it's just like a turn-based RPG. Was really cool with the little mechanics and kind of like little swirl thingy that you have to kind of aim and stuff. But it's pretty cool.
Anyone else play it? It's coming out this year, winter. winter 2024. So that I think that's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, if you
I like the mechanics look interesting. I like how the attacks can happen in a line. It actually reminds me a little bit of Origami King. But anyway,
I do see that.
like if you have enemies that are kind of aligned in a certain way, you can actually kind of have your shot kind of go in that direction, so it hits all the enemies that are aligned in a certain way.
Yeah, I don't mean to like shit on JRPGs, but it was like in that slog where it was just you know, as every direct where it's like 4 of them back to back, and so it didn't quite catch my attention. I mean, I thought the arcing attacks was cool, but I think I was mostly checked out during this. But I mean, if you vouch for it and there's a lot of like back with it, I'm not a JRPG person, so like I don't particularly look out for these kind of games. But hey, if you're a JRPG fan and it's got that kind of resume and this kind of interactive mechanics, I'd say go for it. Give it a shot.
It's got the Thunder Stash.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, that is a good point.
Prime over here is going to be pre-ordering this game.
This is a good game.
Are you good?
Oh,
Have you
I
got
love RPGs anyway, so it's a look. It looks fun.
You know what I'm excited for?
And I glanced at the reviews when you told me to add this trailer in. I went and looked at the reviews, and I was like, "Holy crap!"
Right?
This is actually like legitimately, like it's all 9s across the board. For this game on Apple Arcade.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
I have a question with like the visual style of it. Is it just me, or does it look like they took like photos to use for like textures of things? Like I mean, the art style is really interesting. I don't know.
TV. They have to kind of cut a little some corners to get there.
No, but like I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm not saying it is a bad thing.
No, it looks good, yeah.
It's just it's like there's one shot where it looks like maybe like a forested area, but I'm like, you could have told me someone like painted a miniature set. Like my dad used to make model tanks because nerdism runs in the family. And he would make like the whole like set and
cool,
like that spot right here of the trailer.
Yeah, I see it. It does almost
an
look
interesting,
like. Yeah, I see that
aesthetic choice. Again, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. It's just like I've never really seen a game look like that.
Yeah,
so
and everything kind of looks like that too.
It's
like,
cool.
You know, so again, it reminded me of that a little bit, but to a way less significant degree, just one part. So for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, when they show
any opportunity.
It sounds like I'm joking, but I'm being dead serious. So when they show, hear me out. So
when you wait 7 years, guys, this is what happens.
But no, I'm being serious though.
He needs his moment. This has been years.
The forest part where they show the forest, right, and they show the giant tree and the mountain, the bridge. Like the side of the mountain with all the trees there, it looks almost like kind of photorealistic as well. Like that one's part of it. So
right.
Yeah.
But no, it's cool. Like
every time we talk about a tree, Metro's gonna come up.
I got a scoop on this for you guys on the art style.
Yeah.
Because I read it earlier and I was like, well, let me double check it's this game. So right here, I'm reading Fantasian is a turn-based RPG. So the game's most unique features is its art style. All of the environments are real-life dioramas handcrafted by Japanese artists. That's the whole game.
Handcrafted.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So someone made models of these environments.
Yeah.
And took images of them for the. Okay, see, because I was like, it looks like weirdly realistic in a way.
It's like the best way to do pre-rendered backgrounds.
Yeah. That's cool as hell.
It is really cool.
Very sick.
Impressive.
There we go, dude.
Okay. It's like what Flam said here is it was like there's this stretch in the direct where you just see anime RPG, and you kind of start to zone out a bit, and it's almost a disservice that this game was like lumped in there.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a disservice to the developer who got millions from Apple.
Yeah, true.
Apple was the one who actually petitioned for the game to be made. It was made directly.
They paid a lot of money to get a real game on the platform.
Yeah.
They said we need actual games.
Yeah.
Farm. We don't know about Farmagi.
Farmagia or
Farmagia.
That's an interesting one. That's created by Marvelous Entertainment. You guys familiar?
Yeah.
They made like Rune Factory, Harvest Moon. They actually did No More Heroes 3. But their farming game is very strong
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the farming genre started with Harvest Moon on
Yeah.
Super
Is
Nintendo.
this the one where you farm animals?
Yeah, you farm
Yes.
your ads, or
But
whatever.
not by breeding, but by growing them like
By
plants.
grow them like
Yeah,
plants.
like
Honestly, that part caught my attention. I
It was
like,
kind of
what the
funny.
fuck?
Right?
Yeah, I was like, hold
Yeah.
up, what's going
And
on?
they
here?
use the artist from Fairy Tale, which interestingly there was
And
a
there's
game
a Fairy
of
Tale
Fairy
art
in the
video
same
coming
direct.
out,
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah, I think it looks kind of cool. Like, of all the like kind of basic looking Japanese RPGs we see in every direct, this one stood out a little bit to me. I'm
Yeah.
probably not going to buy it, but if I see it at a discount
if you get
someday,
both.
I might give it a try.
I like the art style.
Yeah.
Art style
it
was
looked
cool.
interesting. It looked very interesting.
I mean, if there's a demo, maybe I'll play the demo, and if for whatever reason I like it, maybe I would buy it.
I don't play farming games, but I got nothing against them. My girl plays Stardew Valley. She absolutely loves it. I got her hooked on that.
Great, it's a great game.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
like I respect it. I respect the cozy nature of it, all that. I don't play it because I know if I do, I know what will happen. I'll get sucked in and then I won't play anything else. Same reason why I never accepted an invitation, 20, 25 years ago to join a World of Warcraft group. I'm like, I can't, guys. I can't.
Dude, it happened to
I
me.
love hearing your conversation
Yeah.
about it. If I can't. I got stuff I got to do. I got other games to play.
Come join.
It happened to me in Animal Crossing New Horizon because that game was like real time at the beginning of when it started.
Yeah.
So I literally had to play the entire year, go through every season, every event, terraforming. Like by the time, like, wait a minute, what year is it? Where are we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
Look in there.
Speaking of art styles, I will dunk on this game because I have an affinity. I do
Don't
not
do
have
it.
an affinity for
Don't
it.
do it. man.
The Funko Pop game looks like
Oh.
absolute dog shit.
Looks
I won't
terrible. Yeah,
lie. It
doesn't
looks
look
so fucking
I
bad.
like Funko
Can we-
Pops, man, but
Can
that
we
game looks
play
awful.
That trailer. Can we please play the trailer? Because there's a specific moment in the trailer where I went, "Oh wow, this is dog shit."
It was so bad I didn't download it, but
I
sure.
thought it was like that on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It reminded me of LJN from Nintendo.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember LJN?
No. What
The
is
company that had all the licensed games that were just
Oh.
complete dog shit.
I
It's
see what
sad
you're
because it has it has worlds like Back to the Future in there.
I know.
and
Yeah, it has
Jurassic
cool
Park,
IP,
and
but
yeah,
the
Exactly.
shader in the shaders in the trailer weren't even fit. Like the textures
Yeah.
look undone. There looks like there's no cohesive art style besides they're plastic. They look like plastic.
Yeah, but the Lego
Oh.
game is in there, and
Yeah,
that looked way
exactly.
better with like plastic
Oh.
instead.
Exactly.
Go Pop!
It does not
So
look
hyped.
finished. This
He's
does
so
not look like a
freaking
finished
good.
video game. I will point out the moment where I went, "Oh, this is so fucking bad." Like it looked not great here, but at least I was like, "Okay, maybe it's just a pre-render. They'll add some shaders." Like even in this part, I'm like, "Dude, this looks like a fucking like VR like." Oh my god, it frame drops in the trailer. Like, what do you mean?
I
Like,
did
oh,
notice
crazy.
the frame rate.
Hilarious
And,
to
like,
me.
I will defend this game on one ground.
I think it's a big head.
On one ground only. Here's
Yeah.
the thing. I think this game's made for kids.
Yeah, sure.
Roblox has frame
Whoa.
drop like a
Oh, yeah,
billion
for sure.
devices. People play.
Yeah.
Kids deserve good games too.
Okay, right here, right there. The fucking rewind right there at the very end. They didn't even do the fucking courtesy of like fake busting open. It just phases through the fucking box.
He just walks through the
You're
plastic.
not supposed to open the
No,
box.
Nintendo put this in their direct, and they're fucking phasing through a
Well, to be
wall.
fair, they probably paid to be in the direct.
I know, but that's still
Money.
insane.
Yeah.
It's so
And you
funny.
can't destroy the box. The box
Does this game look this bad on the other platforms? Like, is it just
Oh,
a Switch
true.
issue, or is it
maybe?
That's a good
actually
question.
You know-
just this bad?
If it's
know what's
if it's one of those cases where this is the Switch version, it looks worse than the others, then
Oh.
shame on the developer for not doing better to optimize
No,
it.
hey,
Because you
100%.
can again, the Lego game was like
Yeah,
adjacent to this in the direct
exactly.
and looked
Yeah.
so much better
Well,
with like a plastic
exactly.
aesthetic.
Yep.
There was a trailer for it I'm seeing 1 month ago for PS5. So it was announced a month ago.
Okay.
I guess none of us heard about it because Funko
We
Fusion
didn't-
wasn't on our radar.
We
I
did
think
not
I
care.
think there's a reason that game nobody knew about it.
Look,
Like, come
You
on.
know,
it's so
Third
funny.
party game now.
it's gonna sell more Funkos.
Well,
Yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah.
But Funko
Quest
has no problem selling
three.
Funkos.
They really
more
don't.
players than Metroid Prime 4.
Page. What'd you say? You said Prime 4. What?
Oh, he just said something mean. You're gonna get worked real. You're gonna get crazy.
What did
worked
you
up.
say? I can't hear stupidity.
Oh.
You say stupidity. It's on multiple platforms. It probably will have more players than Metroid Prime 4.
What?
Oh
Funko
my
Pop?
Okay,
Pop game.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
So-
Maybe.
See this? My kids watched the direct, and that was the one game they got excited for.
Damn.
You know,
your
I'm
kids
gonna say
deserve
this.
better.
I'm gonna say this. Funko Pop, whatever it's called, looks more interesting to me than Fantasia.
You know what? I don't even. Didn't you say you have to leave early? I don't. What's happening?
I don't know. I'm answering emails.
heated
Here.
in here. It's getting heated. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I mean,
They're just
I probably should have left like a long time ago.
They're just Nintendo games, guys.
Let's jump into the next game.
tomorrow. I leave
Yeah.
tomorrow. Just be nice.
The
what else
next
we got?
game's exciting. This game actually was like, I think it was my third most hyped game. My first two in no order was Mario and Luigi and Zelda,
Yeah.
but my third most hyped game was Dragon Quest 3
Oh,
HD 2D. Holy shit, that looks amazing.
I agree. It's
Really
awesome. I
beautiful.
want to talk about this, but you
Whoever-
just told me that Metroid Prime 4 is below all three of the games you just mentioned, and I'm just I'm
Oh
having
no,
an
I'm talking
aneurysm
about
right
games coming out this year, brother.
now. Oh, okay. All right, you're good.
Oh.
We're good. We're same thing. All right.
No, if it was coming out this
Jeez.
year, it would be.
I
I think it would be number one if it was coming out this year.
Totally agree with you.
Dragon Quest 1 and 2 because that's next year.
Yeah. So it was cool watching this. I was in Prime. I was in your live stream. I was watching it, and it was interesting because at the end of this trailer, the way they pan out and are like showing the art kind of get filled in.
Yeah.
Like I was holding my breath a little bit because I'm like, I'm really hoping they show 1 and 2, right? And the
Mhm.
music was still playing after they should have probably transitioned to the next game, and they didn't. And I'm like, oh shit, are they gonna show it? And then they did. So yes, we are getting Dragon Quest 3 first this year, and then we're gonna get 1 and 2 next year. And dude,
Is it
personally, I'm a huge fan of this series.
Now, do you remember what he said about the reasoning for that?
Yeah, actually, I was reading up on that a little bit earlier, and there was something to the effect of playing them backwards, and
Someone-
that they were going to intertwine with each other.
So
Someone
3 is
told me,
actually a prequel.
Yeah, that 3 is a prequel. So canonically, that's the order they take place in. So the story will
okay.
flow.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
right here.
Like I had the exact same question about it, and I was streaming earlier today, and a friend of mine
three,
chatted,
one,
and it was
two?
like, and clarified that.
The head guy behind it actually said it in the direct.
So it's 3, 1, 2, right? 3, 1, 2, or 3, 2, 1.
That is the
3, 1,
canonical
2.
order.
Yeah, it's 3, 1, 2. So that's why 3 is coming first. It's not because they're skipping 1, 2 for next year. No. It actually is the first game in the story.
Oh, I like it. Okay. So.
I mean, it's
And-
very confusing how they
The
do it. They
question
do
It
like
is.
that.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like Final Fantasy 2 in the
2.
US. It's like 6 in Japan or something.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
So will this sell more than Metroid?
Maybe.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, it will. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you
Yeah.
why, though. If you guys don't know, Dragon Quest in Japan is the biggest JRPG. It is
It does
absolutely
go huge there.
huge. They have
Mhm.
a Dragon Quest Day in Japan.
What?
Oh
Okay,
wow.
Yeah, Dragon
Yeah.
Quest is massive.
They have
Wow.
a Dragon Quest Day. A lot of people don't go to work.
Tokyo Metropolitan.
They play, and you guys know Japanese people, man. Like
They're very big on work.
Man. They put the
they're
best
very
op-
disciplined. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Why does
for
it
them
work
to
so
not go to
hard?
work for Dragon Quest Day is pretty awesome, in my
It
opinion.
is pretty sick.
Like,
Yeah.
it says a lot. But yeah, I was talking with a friend about Dragon Quest on X,
Mhm.
and the way Dragon Quest is viewed here in the West versus in Japan is very interesting because it's kind of flip flopped. Like the way we attach to Final Fantasy
Mm-hmm.
versus the way they attach to Dragon Quest. That's like one and the same. So the
I
way
see.
people love Final Fantasy here is like how they are in Japan with Dragon Quest. And I played Dragon Quest 11 S Deluxe Edition. That's the one where you can play literally in 3D and it looks
Yeah.
great. And at any point in time, you can freaking change it to 2D.
Oh,
It's
Yeah, it was good.
amazing.
That is
Nate?
insane, dude.
I gotta to put this in perspective because this game was rumored to be in the direct. The Japanese live stream for the Nintendo Direct is the most watched live stream in Japan history.
Woo.
oh wow.
It's
Okay.
It's
That's
no
crazy.
joke.
Whatever.
The most watched one in
Was
Japan.
Dang.
Was this
And it's
franchise-
all because these games were rumored to be in there.
There's something else I think should be mentioned. Akira Toriyama has wrote like illustrated at least
Yeah.
the first one, right? And so like the designs of the characters look very much like Dragon Ball characters.
Yeah.
And I'll just remind you all, Akira Toriyama passed away recently. You know,
Mhm.
he's kind of like a
So, yeah.
global icon.
Yeah. So this is a good tribute.
You basically took my question. That's about I was about to ask, man.
I also
Oh,
gotta say
your
that
mic.
that artwork they showed is amazing,
Mhm.
and this is a
beautiful.
callback to me to just my times growing up, where box art had to sell the game
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
because you didn't have the internet. You couldn't go online and look up reviews. We didn't have access to video game magazines. You know, you had Nintendo Power and you had EGM later down the line, and Game Pro magazine. But like back then, when these games came out, you didn't have that. So like in the NES era, box arts and the few screenshots and the quick little synopsis you had on the back of the box,
Mattered a lot.
it was huge. And as you guys have seen, as years have went on, box art has dropped off tremendously because it doesn't sell it anymore. They don't
Pokemon.
pay people to create nice box arts anymore. But with this,
Man.
the box art is nice, dude.
I love it. Honestly, they're selling me on the game. Like I played what was it, Dragon Quest 11S, right? The one
Yeah.
with the where you can switch. And I played the demo. I liked it, but I don't know, I didn't fall in love with it, so I didn't end up buying it. But this game, like, you know, there's just something about it that's really drawing me to it. I think there's several things. It's the music, it's the art.
Mhm.
Like the opening of the trailer, at first I thought it was a Zelda trailer. Like I freaked out. Interestingly, it is a woman holding like a staff, right? So and
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Yeah.
But like anyways, like just looking at this game and visually, like it pops. Like I know HD 2D has been around for a few years, right, throughout the Switch generation, but this
Yeah.
one seems to stand a little bit more. I think that the colors are pop a little bit more. I don't know what it is, but yeah, this
Yeah.
game just kind of I kind of sense like this is a special thing, you know, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I'm drawn to it.
You're right.
Yeah,
No,
the
you're
visuals
right.
look
It is.
great.
And the HD 2D, like when it first came out, was Octopath Traveler was the first one to do it, and I thought it looked absolutely amazing, like very, very beautiful. I love the art style. It's just a callback to, obviously the 8 and 16-bit and a little bit of the 32-bit generation of JRPGs. But what they've been able to do from that point that Octopath came out to this, like to me, this is like peak 2D HD. This is almost like, I wouldn't say an evolution, but if you compare Octopath to this, both games beautiful, but this definitely, I think, looks better. Like it's evolving. Like look at the water there. The water there looks insane
So
too.
good. Yeah. The depth is impressive.
It really is. And
Yeah.
this gives me hope because look, we all know that there were so many great JRPGs during that 16 and 32-bit era. Obviously, we had Final Fantasy 2 and 3 on Super Nintendo, or of course 4 and 6, however we want to go with those numbers. But you have those games that are absolute masterpieces. And I look at games like Chrono Trigger. If you could do that to something like this, or Earthbound too. I mean, Earthbound.
Oh
who
my
kn-
god,
Yeah.
an Earthbound game
I
in this
know.
style. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
like this works.
Would
This
go
really works.
crazy. Do you know how many people would fucking freak out on this side of the oh my dude.
The thing about
insane.
remaking
That and
a
Chrono
Mother
Trigger,
game
dude.
is the combat would have to be like overhauled, I think. Like not mechanically, just visually.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
The battles were
You
Very
really got my
interesting
brain going about
screen.
Earthbound's
Extreme.
battle screens in of this like with this fidelity, like this visual fidelity. That would be an experience,
Right.
Just
a little
like
trippy.
yeah.
that
Psychedelic.
would be
Yeah.
amazing.
It's
want
really
that
cool.
now.
I do too, man. I will never give up on Earthbound.
Listen.
Earthbound's a masterpiece.
Super Mario RPG, no one thought that would be remade. It was.
That's the thing, man. That Yanders, you're right. That tells me that anything is possible. Because I truly like when I saw that Mario RPG trailer, like I ran into the other room to go tell my girlfriend that does not care at all. But I
will
had to
also
tell
say-
somebody how excited I was.
I get that. There are times I'm just like I already talked to you guys about like my excitement of Metroid Prime 4. Like I like told my brothers like, oh Matt, they've revealed Metroid Prime 4. It's like, oh, that's nice. Oh, you don't understand. You don't understand.
I had to message
Yeah.
him. I was like, Andre, this is happening.
Yeah, dude. It's just a good moment. But like, anyways, to maybe sound negative here. The thing about Super Mario RPG, it's Mario, right? Like they knew that was going to sell. Earthbound, on the other hand, there's not really much of a guarantee that's going to sell. That said, we look at things like Endless Ocean, another Code Recollection. If we can get things like that, we should be able to. I mean, I expect us to see some more, lesser known Nintendo IP remasters at the very least. But even that, but also on top of that, we have seen Nintendo revisit some of their IP, and I don't think like an HD 2D remake of Mother, or even just a remake of Mother, would be like a high budget thing, anyways. So I still think it'll happen someday.
I look at a game like Earthbound, obviously. Undertale was inspired greatly by it. And it's a very weird, quirky kind of game like Earthbound that you don't know like how it's going to do. But you actually do, because we just saw it happen with Undertale. It worked.
And Deltarune.
Yeah, it worked tremendously, man. Like there are companies, there's developers that are making games that are, I wouldn't say not based on Earthbound, but that's their inspiration. Like there's a game on my shelf behind me, Eastward, that is I think it's on Switch. I think it's on PlayStation as well. But that game, heavily inspired by Earthbound. So, like, come on, guys! Like, we can do this. It's 2024. People have seen some weird stuff. We can bring this game out, man.
Let me mention something interesting. Toby Fox from Undertale, right, has been consistently working with Pokemon Company, putting in some of his music into the games. And I need to brush up on my history with this, but I am fairly certain that some of the developers of the original Pokemon game worked on Earthbound. I don't remember the exact details, but there is a connection there. And if you go back to the older Pokemon games, there's kind of a similarity of gameplay in the sense of there you go to a town and there's all these different characters and there's a little bit of a mystery. You kind of have to figure out what's going on, maybe find a trap door or hidden area, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that DNA there. Anyways, I'm just saying, if Toby Fox works the Pokemon, I'm not saying that we would want Game Freak. Actually, you know what? I think Game Freak could, in theory, make a good Mother remake. People may think that's crazy because Game Freak's been getting a lot of flack over the years. But if they actually are given time and resources, they make good games.
That's the key. That's the key there. But yeah, anyways.
Nick, you gotta head out?
Yeah, I gotta head out. I have work in the morning. Can't
All right,
stay
you
up
want to tell
too
everyone where they can find you?
Sure. The best place to find me is either on YouTube at Nick with no K or on Twitter at Nerdiest Nick. I usually do anime content on YouTube, but this week and I think on Friday, I'm starting a new stream series where I'm playing through my first ever Pokemon game because I've never played Pokemon
Which Pokemon?
ever. I'm doing Shining Pearl because it's the only one that I could borrow from a friend.
Yikes.
Yeah, I know. That was the general consensus. My friend who gave it to me was like, "Oh yeah, it was pretty solid. I enjoyed it." And I was like, "Cool."
I mean, it is solid though.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just you could do the illegal thing and play Pearl or Platinum, excuse me, because Platinum is the better version, in my opinion.
That was also my caveat. It was like I wanted to do it on Switch.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay.
But here's the other thing: he's never played Pokemon before, right? So he's not gonna be like, "Oh man, I wish they added more content."
Yeah. That's
no,
true.
it's just
That's
the
true.
games are. It's not even. Yeah, I'll save it. I don't want to keep them.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
I
We'll
think you'll
see.
like it.
Either I'm gonna
You
like
should
it
enjoy
or I'm
it.
not.
It's still chill. If you end up don't liking it, I would say give Sword or Shield a chance because Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl are very akin to the old style of Pokemon, and Sword and Shield are akin to the new style of Pokemon. So if you don't end up liking that style, then maybe try the newer games, aka Sword and Shield or Scarlet Violet. And if you do like it, then maybe go back and do the illegal thing and try out the old ones.
They're just
I feel like Scarlet and Violet's pretty different from
Arceus.
Sword and
You can just
Shield.
play the best game.
Yeah, I thought about
Man.
playing Arceus, but
Yeah,
But
but that
it
doesn't give you
also-
like. If you're
it's very
trying a Pokemon
different.
game, I wouldn't do Arceus because then you're setting your standards too high. But anyways, that's just me.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry that I suggested the good
So
game.
like,
My bad.
do you like Zelda games, Nick? I think
oh,
your
I
answer
love
is yes.
Zelda games. Yeah,
Right, given everything.
yeah.
So I mean, you'll probably like Legends Arceus.
yeah.
yeah.
I also did Shining Pearl because I could borrow it from someone, and I didn't
Yeah,
feel like sinking
yeah.
money into it.
But
That's
I
do
actually
your thing. I wasn't.
just in
I
case.
didn't mean to criticize. I apologize.
No, but the thing is, I actually think Shining Pearl is not a bad one to play, right?
Yeah.
Because it
Sure.
does. It's the best example we have outside of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Like, it's the best game you can play that'll give you an understanding of what classic Pokemon is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something I never do. If you end up hating Shining Pearl or whatever the hell you're playing, and I don't blame you because those games fucking suck, I will just buy you Legends. You don't gotta worry about it.
Damn.
Well,
Yeah.
everything will be
Secretly-
live, so you can tell if I'm legit or not.
Oh,
There you go.
So, thanks for having me on. I'll see you guys later.
All right, thank you.
see you, man.
Later.
Bye, Nick.
I'm having some spicy.
All right. Did you guys
Program.
want to touch any more on Dragon Quest, or should I move on to the
I'm
next
buying
game?
it.
Yeah, I think we're
Buying
good.
it.
I'm
Yeah,
buying it.
I think I'm gonna buy it too. I've never actually played Dragon Quest.
Neither
Oh
have I.
my god, you guys are gonna love it.
I'm set up. I'm set up for like revisiting.
Maybe that's my game of the year.
You guys are gonna love it. I will say,
When does it come out?
Dragon Quest has
Like
a
November
wonderful
something.
soundtrack.
One is coming out this year, the third one, and then next year the second. The
Yeah,
other
but
two.
it was released.
Okay, gotcha. Sick.
Yeah, you guys are gonna love that OST. It's very good.
Mhm.
Very
all
good.
Music. Yeah.
I am too. I love video game music, and you guys are gonna love this game. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. One game that I thought was pretty cool that, again, I kind of want to highlight a couple games I think might get overlooked. That's Darkest Dungeon 2. I don't know if you guys played the first one. It's got I will say this, I like to look at Google for the user review percentage of how many people recommend it. Because I feel like people who are writing into Google, it's no bullshit. Like, they're giving you their honest thought on this game, and they're not gonna do that otherwise. They're not making any money. There's no agendas with this that could happen in game journalism. And it's got 94% on Google, and it's got 84% on Metacritic. I think IGN gave it a 9.1. And so this is kind of a big sequel that, it could get overlooked. And I think the first game I think it came out in 2000, maybe 18. So this has been in development for a while. Let's see.
I like the art style. That's what I said about it when I first saw it. I like the kind of.
I think it's one of those games that people don't really know unless you play it. Like, it
Oh,
just
wow.
looks cool.
Yeah.
It came out June 19th, today, 2017, 7 years ago.
Man,
Oh wow! All
Weird.
right.
Okay.
anniversary, baby.
Cool.
Was this in the trailer? I didn't see it.
Yeah, you probably didn't notice it.
Yeah, too dark.
I had a guy I worked with at
Mike,
the mortgage company that was talking to me about this game.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, he's like, Steve, I don't play games like this,
Mm-hmm.
but you should check it out. Like, it's
Yeah,
so good. And he bought it off the
Whoa.
eShop
Wow.
and he raved about this game. He said
Face your failures. Wow.
that it took him
Yeah.
away, like, from his family, meaning like he was
Like divorce.
addicted to it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
He lost his kids and wife in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to transition to NSO stuff because
too.
Oh yeah.
I thought we had some pretty good ads. So we had Metroid Zero. I almost said Metroid Prime. Metroid Zero.
Yeah.
And we also got oh god, what else did we get? Oh my god,
Four
Link's Four
Swords,
Sword Adventure, which is very
Turok.
cool, and it has online co-op, which was very cool. very much interesting. But the thing I found most fascinating about the NSO this time around was the addition not only of Perfect Dark and
Turok.
Turok, but the fact that there is a mature N64 section now.
Yeah,
and I
that's
wonder how that.
Wow.
Very cool. I appreciate that because that means Conker's bad for a day in the
Ooh,
horizon.
so.
Maybe that'd be pretty cool.
64 now.
So I kept refreshing my N64 app right on
Mhm.
my Switch, and the GBA games had already hit the NSO, and I'm like, huh, wonder why these haven't hit yet.
Is it a separate?
It's a
app?
separate
Yeah,
app.
it is.
Yeah.
So then I go to the
Oh,
eShop
okay.
and I'm like, oh, I'll just see what's
That
see
kinda
if
makes
there's
sense.
anything on sale, and it was right there.
Is
that
there
logo.
is there a parental? I mean, I guess if you have your
Nah.
account in and already knows.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder if you have like the parent controls on the Switch. If you try to like go in and download it, does it like
Could
say,
be.
no,
Probably ask for a
you know what I mean?
password.
Fun
Yeah.
fact: those golems in Turok would scare
Nah.
the shit out of me when I was a kid. Like because N64 games were already inherently dark, right? And
Yep.
so like Turok, you're playing it at night, right? You're just walking by.
Yeah.
Imagine like 10-year-old me, and there's this giant freaking green dark
Yeah.
beast bursts out of the wall right in front of me. I was shook.
I just
But,
find it
yeah.
interesting that the mature section exists. Like
Right.
I guess they just
Mhm.
they had to do that. Like for ESR, what is it?
This
ESRB?
bodes extremely well for future mature games.
They don't
It,
like
have
it
to
does,
do it.
Nice.
but
This
it's
is just
still
Nintendo.
interesting. It's just
It is
Nintendo.
interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Japan, they were required to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so they just did it.
So
Okay.
they decided to do it here. What I find interesting,
GoldenEye's not mature.
I know that's exactly that's what I
Right.
was thinking. I'm like, that's a shooting game. I
I
guess
think
there's
it's
no
teen.
blood, but
I think it's teen.
It's teen.
oh,
They
okay.
pushed really
It's
hard for a
cursed.
teen rating. I remember this back in the day
I
Yeah.
mean,
because it
blood
would have
really-
hurt their sales big time.
Bro, like PG-13 movies have blood all the time. Like,
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
This pervert.
But actually, it's really exciting because I was too young in the 90s to play Perfect Dark because it had an M rating and had strict parents. So I'm actually very excited to play it now. True story. That's
Cool.
like I saw it in the direct. I was like, shit, I never played Perfect Dark. Like,
Yeah.
that's a
You-
very highly regarded
the
game.
N64 controller.
I do have the N64 controller.
Okay, good. Then you're gonna
So-
get the perfect experience.
Yeah,
That's
it's gonna be
right.
great. That's
Just
I'm,
like GoldenEye, you got to edit the controls to actually make it play.
yeah, I ain't doing that. I just got the controller.
So, fun fact with Turok, I had a similar issue, right? They already got in the game. My dad also played the N64, right? But they still let me play, right? But after a while, I remember having like an argument. I was sitting in the car. I said 10 earlier. I was even younger. Like, I don't know. I was born in 91. Like, I was playing this when I was like, what? Like 6 or 7 or something, right? But I remember having an argument with my parents. Like, they're like, no, we're gonna take this back. I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm not traumatized. It's a good game. Stop. Like, I was fighting with them for them to not get rid of it. I won that battle, but
Hell
it was
yeah.
it
I'm
was
glad.
it was a
I'm glad you
scary
did.
fight.
My
Hell
cousin
yeah.
and I picked it up at Toys R Us, Turok, right when it came out, and it was expensive. I can't recall if it was $69.99 or $79. I think it was $69. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire was $79, and I stand by that to this day, despite the internet trying to say there wasn't $80 N64 games, because there was, which is why when the $70 games came out, I was like, oh, I lived through 80. We paid $80 for that game.
Yeah.
But Turok, man, whew, that was a fun game growing up.
Did
So-
Turok not already have a separate release on Switch, like an enhanced
Yep,
port
I
of
have it.
Turok?
It
I
did.
Okay,
loved
so
it.
I didn't hallucinate that
No,
because I was like,
Night Dive Studios.
It's
Okay.
it's pretty good. There's some nice visual enhancements, like, modern controls. Like, I think there's
Okay.
even gyro aiming and HD Rumble.
Yeah.
Like, it's
that's pretty cool.
pretty
But I mean,
good.
if you don't want to
Yeah.
shell out for that and you already have NSO, then this is a great option for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Night
Yeah.
Dive
Well-
Studios is killing it when it comes to the 90s first-person shooter remakes. Like I played Star Wars Dark Forces, reviewed that on my channel, and my God, they did such a great job with that game. 4K, 120 hertz is impressive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
So-
Really good. Yeah.
What other
really good.
N64 games do we anticipate coming to them, like mature like ones? I can think of
Conquer.
only two.
Back per day.
Conquer, yeah.
Conquer.
That's one.
Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
I think it's
it'd be
is
fun.
it mature or teen?
I don't know, but killer instinct.
Because there's already the Super
let's find
Nintendo
out.
ones are already on NSO. I definitely want the N64 one though.
It is T for teen, Killer Instinct.
Okay, so there's that one's not. What about Resident Evil?
Yeah. Is that
That'd be
N64?
cool. Yeah, Resident Evil 2 was
Oh,
only part
how
2.
about
I
that?
gotta, I gotta
I'm
look.
on the
I'm
note of
25,
sequels.
so I
Yeah.
don't remember that, so I didn't know.
Turok 2, because there was a second Turok.
I got a list of
Eric's got the
M-rated
list here.
games.
I'll go for it. Lay it
So,
on us.
And they got to
Bio-
be good games, right? You're not going to bring over the bad ones, right?
I'm just
Just
kidding.
going
There's
down the
28
list.
of them.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's it.
Yeah. So according to Reddit, anyways, Biofreaks, Carmageddon 2, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Doom 64, Duke Nukem
Oh.
64,
Oh.
Duke Nukem 0 Hour,
Wow.
ECW Hardcore Revolution,
Not getting that.
Forsaken, Heaven X Beyond Heretic,
Okay, I
John
kinda
Romeo,
see
Oh,
why.
Hexen.
Hexen, sorry.
Yeah,
I
I
can't.
remember that game.
John Romeo is about to make you his bitch. All right.
That's a game.
Hell yeah.
That's a game.
I kind of want to look
I
that
kind
up.
of want to
I
play that
kind of
game.
want to look that up. Yeah. So
What a
and then
title.
Mace, The Dark Age, Mortal Kombat 4,
Oh,
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat Mythologies,
Okay.
Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Nightmare
Yeah.
Creatures, Perfect Dark, Quake,
Mhm.
Quake 2,
Quake.
Oh, Quake would be a huge one.
That would be,
Oh,
that would be cool.
2,
Yeah.
Shadow Man, South Park and South Park Rally,
I forgot about
Okay.
that.
South Park would be cool.
Park Chef's Loves Shack,
Yes.
Turok Dinosaur Hunter, Turok 2, Turok 3, Turok Rage Wars, and War.
What? I didn't know there was that many
So
Turoks.
there's actually quite a few like
Yeah.
high quality.
There's like a dozen games
Yeah.
they could put on there.
Easy.
Yeah.
Turok 2 was the first game to take advantage of the expansion pack.
Third party or just period?
Period.
Period.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, it came
Okay.
out before the second game to take advantage of it, which was DK.
yeah. That's what I thought. I thought that was the first one because
Yeah.
it came with the game.
Yeah, beat him. It beat him to it. Like the expansion pack didn't sell well when it came out because
Yeah.
there's only so many games. But Turok 2: Seeds of Evil was the big game for the the 4 megabyte expansion pack. So I remember playing that and thinking, yeah, like the graphics actually they did look better. The resolution was nicer. The frame rate. They actually did. It did quite a bit for those games back in the day.
Majora's Mask. I think you needed the RAM
You
expansion.
did?
need it for
Perfect
Majora's
Dark?
Mask, yeah.
Perfect Dark too. Like
Yeah.
for instance,
So
I
you- so
played
you
Perfect
could
Dark.
play Perfect Dark without the RAM expansion, but it was very limited.
Yeah, and I played it on the NSO to test it out. And when you go into the video settings, I don't know if people know this, but there's a setting to activate the expansion pack, and it improves the visuals on your
What?
Switch.
Oh wow.
What?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Wait,
I
it's
know,
not
I'm like,
default.
do they
Wait,
know
is it
about
not
this?
defaulted
No.
to on?
no, it wasn't on.
How many people probably don't know that?
Well,
That's
I-
crazy. You
I
should
went
make a
into
video
the
about
video
that.
section just to check it out. They have that. They have 16:9 widescreen. You could go 16:9 and then make it full screen to where it takes up your whole Switch screen.
Is it game by
Okay, that's
game or is
good.
it it has to be? It's
I
game by
feel
game.
like
Yeah,
this needs
it's
to
game
become
by
like
game.
a YouTube short or something because that's like I don't know how many people know that.
That's
Yeah.
actually really insane and also really stupid that it's not
It
defaulted.
is
with better
It should be
visuals.
on by default. It
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
be.
This makes the game look better. Yeah, it
I
should
think
be
I
on.
think we should all make videos about it and then complain about it on Twitter until Nintendo patches it.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I was like, oh wow, this is cool.
Oh,
Like,
you want to know what's one of my
immediately
number one?
see
You
it.
want to know what's one of my number one pet peeves? How when you play Mario Kart Deluxe and you have friends play and it defaults to having all of the like the assists and handicaps on.
Oh yeah, true.
The turn assist and I'd like turn that off. How? Oh, you gotta press plus, not on that screen, the next screen. Yep.
Yeah, and you have to be in the match, or it's like right before you pick your cart, and then it's like in the match.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
can do it in
only
the
place
match
you can do
too.
it.
And then I guess messy
Yeah.
because then you turn on your gyro accidentally
Yep.
afterwards. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think it's weird how sometimes they pick bad defaults.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too.
You mean like how they can't just make the games work out the gate with a normal controller? It's the
Yeah.
default control scheme of your console.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
transition us again, one I saw a shit ton of reactions to, very hyped reactions to, Marvel vs. Capcom Arcade Classics.
It's a big
That's
deal.
pretty sick. That's I didn't realize how big of a deal it was until like after the fact. I was like, oh, this is pretty big. This is pretty massive.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm not a fighting games person, but I would imagine for a lot of fighting games heads, this is like
Oh yeah.
the second
Well,
coming.
Pe-
Like this is
people
pretty
from
huge.
like our age group, what Nate and Mike,
Yeah.
Marvel versus Capcom, huge following still to
Yeah.
this day.
Yeah.
That have
exactly.
the arcade 1-up machines
Oh,
and
yeah.
play people online.
Yeah.
And the fact that obviously you'll be able to play this online, this
Yeah,
is a
that's gonna
huge
be
deal.
Low for
People are gonna default to this a lot, and I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be really
Yeah.
cool.
And these
Yeah.
these are the arcade versions.
Yeah.
I
This
know
is pretty
Paul
cool.
Gale Network is going nuts over it because he came on my my stream last night and he just couldn't stop talking about it. So Mike, be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your podcast might be about this.
I do remember seeing that last. I was watching for a brief moment. That's the moment I saw. It was him talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good. And I like the art and the collection stuff looks fantastic with it. Again, I know I'm personally not into this stuff, but I know this has a huge, massive following, and this
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
a cult following, and also just even people like my generation are still like they love this, like they're into this. Like if you're a fighting games person, it's like this is like one of the greats, one of the three. You know, it's like this, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat, right?
It
So,
is. Yeah, it's one of the goats for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So this is good to see. These are all the games, interestingly enough, guys.
Crazy.
I have the Marvel vs. Capcom arcade in my house, and these are all the games that come on it.
Well, that's nice.
No,
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
So
you have the 1-up arcade for this one?
yeah,
I just
I-
recently got the 1-up arcade for Galaga for Pac-Man. It's Pac-Man.
yeah, I have 21 arcades in my house.
What?
Yeah.
1-up arcade?
Damn.
I know.
That's
That's
good
impressive.
investment, man.
Why are you like giving me new life goals?
Yeah, why?
How do you find a space?
Left in my studio.
Oh, that's funny.
I have it in my barcade. I have a barcade in my house.
Oh, of course you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Barcade Studio
But-
Tour
Sure
coming
can.
when?
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I've been meaning. Honestly, I've been meaning to do that for a while. So thanks for reminding me. I do need to do a video of that.
I
Yeah,
was
do
gonna
it.
put my 1 or 2 here, but I don't have any space.
You got to do like the TikTok thing where you like
All right.
show off.
It is
your arcade
decided, everyone.
cabinets.
The next
I know.
Nintendo Prime live meetup is going to be when I get my own little studio space. We'll have a
There
separate
you go.
room of just
There you go.
arcades.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna have an arcade party.
That's the
Yeah.
goal. That's the goal. That's the goal. I
It's
got
really
one.
cool. That was my goal growing up. Like I remember in high school telling my serious girlfriend at the time, and she remembers this too, that if my dream one day would be to own a house and have wall-to-wall arcades. And of course she's like, yeah, that's never happening.
And here we are.
Yeah. And so it is pretty cool because obviously growing up, that's not a reality. And like I owned an NBA Jam full-sized arcade
Ooh, man.
prior to the arcade
Oh.
1-up coming out. And
I heard that so much.
they're so heavy, guys. They're so heavy. They're so bulky. I'm not kidding. Like I between myself and my brothers, like we could lift a lot. And these are insane, like 600 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, like you're gonna throw your back out if you don't do
Mhm.
things right. And they're very hard, they're very bulky, they're very expensive. And so arcade 1-up, not to plug them, but you know, putting arcade games that are not crazy heavy like that and with modern technology, like you don't want to be repairing a CRT.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good way to get electrocuted if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this makes it convenient because like they were priced
They were,
affordably.
yeah. 399.
Yeah.
They went up in price quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
everyone found out.
Yeah,
No.
when I was buying them, they were not this expensive.
That's like a
And
couple $100.
Exactly. So it was affordable to do this, and now they're like twice the price. And
$700 for one arcade. That was I wanted to get the Terminator one with the two
Yeah.
guns.
I just need the Turtle of Times one in my house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the only one I need.
I got the turtles in my house.
I have,
that's
of course.
I have the Miss Pac-Man and Galaga one just because my wife's favorite game is Miss Pac-Man and my favorite game growing up was Galaga.
Mhm.
And so they're like one side is a Galaga like theme and art, and the other side is a Pac-Man.
Did you get the sit down one?
That's sweet.
It's a full size one.
Okay.
I just didn't get the stool with it.
I got the Miss Pac-Man cocktail one,
I'll take it.
like the bar one where you get to sit down. It's
Yeah, I'll send you my address.
Yeah, just go ahead, send it on over.
So my dream is to have the F-Zero AX.
oh, it'd be so cool.
Yeah.
The full arcade.
that would be great.
And while I'm at it, Luigi's Mansion one would be pretty sick, and the Mario Kart one.
Mario Kart.
Ooh,
would be sick.
Crazy.
I'm saving up. Well, I have $0 right now, but I'm gonna save
Yeah.
up. I'm gonna save up because I want to get one of those GP Mario Kart, the dual ones.
Yeah.
Because on our next house when we're moving up, I'm gonna have a little more space, so I'm gonna have those two Mario Kart. They're $3,000 if you're gonna buy the arcade. It come side by side, but the Mario Kart games, and they were made by Capcom, is it?
Which one?
I have no idea.
The arcade, the actual arcade Mario Kart ride, because they have
I want to say is Namco.
Namco.
Yeah,
yeah.
Namco.
They have other characters that are not even in Mario Kart. They're not from Nintendo.
Yeah, Pac-Man.
Yeah,
Pac-Man's in it.
And
Yeah.
so it's pretty cool. I like it.
Dude, I always forget like Nintendo with the arcade stuff because not like the OG like Donkey Kongs and all that, of course, but like we were me and my fiance were at a bar last week, and they had a couple arcade machines there, and here she is hopping in that Cruisin' USA one with the giant Nintendo logo on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I totally forgot that was Nintendo. I used to do Cruisin' USA a shit ton back in my arcade day.
Yeah.
Totally forgot Nintendo.
Is that not on NSL yet? Cruising USA.
No. Well, here's the thing. Cruisin'
Yeah.
USA is a Midway game. Nintendo got the rights
Mm-hmm.
to Cruisin', and they released like recently Cruisin' Blast.
Mhm.
That's a Nintendo published title. I have it on Switch.
Yeah,
I have
it's
the physical
interesting.
because
Remember
you know I respect because it's Nintendo, and it's actually a good game.
that. It is.
But yeah, Cruisin', man, is classic.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The song, the music's so classic. I would love to play. I would love to have a Daytona,
Man.
Daytona USA in the house. That would be so cool.
That would be sick. So,
So I just want to tell you.
we have to get to this. Oh, you're gonna head out?
Well, I'm not cut out yet, but I want to tell you there's a short timeline because I just ordered food.
Oh, I see.
And I have to go pick
Speed run
it up.
then. Speed run. Luigi's Mansion, 2D Dark Moon, whatever.
Yeah,
Dark
Luigi's
Moon.
Mansion.
Hey,
Coming. We already
listen.
knew that, but it's coming.
Yeah.
Stray.
Next, Lego Horizon, kind of neat. It's kind of weird that you're just doing the game again, but Lego. But hey, it's cool. Stray, 4-year-old game coming to Switch. A 2-year-old game. Sorry. And then a last one I feel it's worthy of note in my opinion is Ace Attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miles
Oh, yeah.
Edgeworth.
Hey,
Happy
how about
Pride
that?
Month, everybody.
How about,
Yeah.
how about the Hello Kitty one? Hello Kitty with the Animal Crossing.
Already said that. Already said Hello Kitty.
And don't
We
forget,
literally made the joke earlier.
don't forget, Just Dance 2025.
feel
Man,
like
it
there's
wouldn't be
always
a direct
an
without it.
obligatory every direct. There's an obligatory JRPG section and there's an obligatory Just Dance section.
Just
every
Dance
Nintendo Direct.
2025 is coming.
I
Yeah.
can't believe it.
Who
Yeah,
could have
dude.
my
predicted
God.
this?
I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for pre-orders to hit.
Ow!
I
Who could have
unironically
predicted
like
this?
Just Dance
Just
games.
Dance is just like
Oh, they're great. It's just funny that they're in every single fucking
Oh,
direct.
do you remember those CDs that came out with the tracks of and they had these infomercials like buy it now, you get the 2 CDs for the price of 1, and they have these tunes like, and they have the either the old tunes from Britney Spears or whatever, but they came in jams, the jock jams or whatever,
Yeah, I remember Jock Jams.
Rock jams.
and so like that now that's more that's
They still release the now music ones.
yeah
They
oh the
still
now
make
music.
those every year. They still make them.
So basically that this is the equivalent of that.
Do we have any more topics?
Yes.
I think that's
No, what are we talking about? Eric's got a topic. What are we getting?
Well,
It's a pretty big topic. We
All
need
right,
to get
let's
through
hit it.
everything to get to
I
his.
was only asking because Boom Mini apparent. I'm seeing Boom Mini in the chat saying there was a super chat that was directed at me. He'd like me to address. I can still be here for 5 minutes or so. So like,
we can
still
get to
chat
the
it.
Andra super chat.
yeah.
Yeah,
I-
I would like to engage a little bit with your final topic as well.
Well,
but, you know,
That's okay. Here, let me get
Beggars
to
can't be choosers,
because
I
he did
guess.
pay money, right? He's a paying customer. This must be the only one I got from him. Do you all think it's possible that Ocarina of Time remake will be one of the games that comes out around Switch 2's release?
No.
No.
So, I mean, okay, possible. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Right. I think that there is going to be something significant Zelda fairly early on the Switch 2, but I wouldn't say it's a launch title. I think we're already kind of getting a pretty good understanding of like Nintendo's lineup next year. I would argue, right? I mean, we literally know about 2 big games next year from Nintendo: Legend ZA and Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
And if Switch 2 is a March release, which we don't know if it is, but I mean, that's what signs have been pointing to, at least as of late. Then I think both those games fall within it. Obviously, they're for Switch 1, but I think the backwards compatibility for Legend Z at least, and then that. But then also there's a talk of 3D Mario Kart, maybe the next Molotov game. That's typically, we have a break here and there. That. So I just kind of feel like we're looking at a scenario where like we're not gonna get like something major Zelda next year. Maybe something smaller, because we literally, as we talked about earlier, we were getting a new Zelda this year. We just got a new Zelda last year. So a big remake like what we're talking about here. We're not talking about like just upscaling Ocarina of Time 3D, right? Like this would be something that be made to look modern, like maybe Prime remastered, So I would say maybe 2026. I mean, best case scenario, 2025 holiday. But I think that's optimistic.
We might get Breath of the Wild remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not even wrong either.
I mean, look, Midori's
Wow.
right? So you can
Yeah. I mean, but we don't know what that is. It could be a patch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think enhanced.
Yeah, because all those other ones
ports
are patches.
for Breath of the Wild makes more
You think
sense.
they'll sell it?
They literally never codenamed a patch before, but
Will they sell it to us
Yeah,
again?
they've codenamed DLC. So,
DLC is not a patch. DLC is
I mean, it would
additional
be
content.
I mean, wording, semantics. It's
an entire game release. That is not a patch.
No. What I'm telling you is that there have been projects that have not been entire game releases, that have been updates that are just code names. So hypothetically, this could be a similar thing. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying we don't know.
Can you name one?
There's a
From
list.
Nintendo?
Yeah, I can.
That's not DLC.
That's not DLC. Well,
Yeah.
then I would have to take a look at the list of code names. But why would it, if isn't DLC good enough?
Well, DLC is additional content. We're talking about just an.
I need to look at the code name.
Okay,
all
that's
the
what I
code
was.
names,
I didn't know how deep you looked into it. I was actually
Uh-huh.
hoping that you knew. I
No,
actually wanted to like have this like big pie in my face moment.
Well, I mean, let me. We just don't know what it is, dude. Like, I don't think you should jump to the conclusion that it's gonna be like a big physical release.
Well, here's
for
the thing.
next
No,
year.
the reason I bring this up is that any game that has upgraded features on Switch 2 has to be completely recompiled for the new hardware. So, like, it wouldn't be just a patch. They have to recompile the whole game.
I mean,
So,
I don't know.
I know you say I don't know. That's how game development works. They have to recompile the entire game.
Right. The same way they have to recompile when you have a PS4 game that gets an enhancement on PS5, right?
In other
Yeah,
news,
actually, that's why they wanted to charge for it.
in breaking news, Sabrina
You-
Carpenter has been seen playing a Nintendo 3DS. Speculation that it is modded, actually, and it is a all white Japanese only edition of the Nintendo 3DS as well. So it's kind of big for us gamers.
Yeah,
out
show
here
that screen off.
today.
Well, you know what? No, I was just being asked by Venetus 712 where to find this, and you see where it says high res. That box is not.
What game is this?
This is for Perfect Dark. It's in the in-game
Oh
menu.
wow! Okay.
And so the box is normally not checked. And then when you check it, it goes into high res mode. And then I put in the chat that the expansion pack allows the game to be played in a 480i high resolution that obviously could only be done with the expansion pack.
Interlace, baby.
Huh.
Yep.
Well, how about that?
Interlace was king
Amazing. Sensational.
It's pretty cool.
back in those days. To speak to the Ocarina of Time remake question here, I think that it is, when you say like around the Switch 2 release, I think probably highly unlikely. It's just because we have this top-down Zelda, it feels like there would be a little bit bigger of a gap, assuming that it's a March release. Now, if it's like a holiday release, I mean, all bets are off at that point. They could have something Zelda ready for that point, whether it's this or something else. But I don't think it would be like a launch game. It would probably be a few months after launch, like a filler game in between. And I say filler because like the kind of Ocarina of Time remake we talk about is not no damn.
All right.
Game.
So I got code names for you if you're ready.
Sure.
All right. So I mean, I don't think would you count the Splatoon 2 Global Test Fire as DLC?
It's a demo.
It's a
It
demo
has
for
its own code name. The world
Sure.
premiere version had its own code name.
Sure.
Actually, several updates to the game also had their own code names that weren't DLC, right? Or I mean, it depends how you define DLC, but I mean, it's technically downloadable content, right? You download it and it's content.
How
See the
different was
changes
the
are
code
gaming.
name from the code name of the game?
It's a good question. It has so the code name for Splatoon 2 has
Yeah.
Blitz, and then all these code names have Blitz and something else attached to it.
Okay, is it like
But by the way, so in that regard, Yu King O is just. I mean, Yu King is the code name for Breath of the Wild, but it's not just updates to Splatoon, right? Like I'm looking through, I saw some other stuff. I mean, they have code names for emulators, NES Classic Edition emulator, for example.
Yeah, they have code names.
They have a code name for the Wii U system transfer, for notifications, user settings, parental controls, the Wii U home button menu. I mean, they have code names for a lot of things that aren't physical game releases.
Sure. But we know Yu King is Breath of the Wild. That's not even a debate. We already know that.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah. So like we're referencing like what the Yu King O could be.
Right. But so what you're saying is that it's impossible for them to have updates to games on your Switch 2.
It's not impossible, but it would involve recompiling the game, and that's what the patch is doing. But the thing is about doing that is this is Nintendo. And I always look at Nintendo as look what they're doing. They're constantly releasing. Look at Donkey Kong Country Returns. Third release. Second time being remade, remastered, whatever. It's one of these things that look at Nintendo. $60 games. 8 years later, they're not dropping no cheap ass patch when they know they can re-release the game, get an extra 5 to 10 mil, $60 a pop. You get your 4K 60.
Yeah, I don't know if I entirely agree, right? Because I also don't think. Listen, I don't think a Breath of the Wild remaster is going to sell that well.
I disagree. I think there's a lot of fans that are nostalgic for it. I know there's a lot of people like, no, after Tears of the Kingdom, we don't need that. I'm like, all right, cool. That's fine. There's also a lot of people who don't like Tears of the Kingdom and are still replaying Breath of the Wild for the 80th time.
You know what's crazy is that by the time, hypothetically, if Breath of the Wild comes out in 2025, I beat the game in 2017. It's going to be 8 years. I haven't touched it in 8 years. Once I beat it, I was done with it. That's a long time. It's kind of crazy. Like it doesn't feel like 8 years, but it is.
I think you guys are forgetting something, Nate and Andre.
Sure.
AI upscaling. All you have to do is program add a few code into it so that tell the AI what to upscale within the game without having to recompile the entire game from the ground up. So we don't know whether that upscale we see for Breath of the Wild is done via AI and DLSS from the
AI requires using the new hardware, which means
there's the AI from the NVIDIA side with the DLSS and their chip, but then there's also the AI that Nintendo I think the patent from last year. So they're working on their own version of AI upscaling, so that hopefully they can use that to mass update certain games via a patch or via an update rather than just imagine the amount of games they would have to recompile and work on from the ground up again to make it compatible with 4K.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Breath of the Wild is not going to be the only remaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to call it a remaster. And my point simply is, I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just saying we don't entirely understand what it exactly is. Like, what if it's not even something that's going to come out? What if the Yu King O code name was just purely for the tech demo?
The demo.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's
Right.
the best example?
So-
The best example is believe it or not, unfortunately, when people download illegally the actual ROM and they open an emulator on PC and then upscale it, how crazy good it looks. You know what I mean? And so Nintendo can do the same thing via software, make sure that that software is upscaled and
To
looking.
be fair, a lot of the people that do the emulators are using fan mods to make it look better.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's just simply they plugged it in and it looks great. No,
Yeah,
not like a 4K texture pack.
They're mods that were built, like they're patches that were built in order they turn them on and off, so you can turn on certain
I'm
shaders.
not sure that. What's that one website? Did Nintendo just take down like all the Zelda mods at this one website like 2 days ago? Yeah, there was some website they went after and took down all the Zelda mods. I can't remember what it was, but
Damn.
Yeah, maybe
That and
yeah,
Vim's Lair.
They
Everyone's
waited a
getting
long
taken
time.
out.
I know, dude. It's so sad.
But I think what Steve said is a good point. Is that like Zelda fans, I interact with my Zelda fan ilk often, but we do forget that we have a bit of a bubble, a bit of an echo chamber. So like we Zelda fans play and replay these games to death, but most people don't do that. And so like what Steve said, like he hasn't played the game in however many years after he beat it. That's honestly what most people do. And so I would disagree with saying it wouldn't sell well. I think there are a lot of people who are like, oh, I think it's been long enough for Breath of the Wild. For Tears, no, but for Breath of the Wild, it's definitely been long enough. If they can re-release The Last of Us however many times they can re-release
it
Breath
was
of the
like
Wild.
4 years
So-
after one
Yeah.
remaster. Let's drop another one.
Yeah, that was kind of insane.
And
Yeah.
it still sold well, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So
I'm just
when I
saying,
say it won't sell well, I mean it's all relative. I don't think it's
It
gonna sell
might not sell as well as the original release, but it'll
There's
still
no way
sell
in
well.
hell.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
way.
I mean, it's all relative. Do I think it'll sell a few million? Yes.
Plus,
Yeah.
there
And
are
will it be
people who have
profitable?
been
Sure.
there are whole ass entire human beings who have been born since then that never played the original, who are
Yes.
gaming age
Wow.
kids now.
Yeah, that's
Who
crazy.
could
That's actually crazy
get
to think
into
about.
it.
And I agree that I think it makes sense for Nintendo to enhance certain popular games on Switch and have them on Switch too. But I don't think that necessarily means there's going to be a physical version coming out in the first year. That's my
No,
only
I would.
thing.
I think that's fair. I
So
think that's
with
fair.
backwards compatibility, you think that let's say Nintendo does release another version of the game, you can still play your own version, which is the old version, but you have the option of paying full price again for the updated version.
That's
if-
the best
if-
case
if-
scenario.
yeah, if
or
backwards
or
compatibility-
pay like $10 for an enhancement. I think that's the best case scenario.
I got a question though for Andres, because you said you didn't think that they could get like a full release in the first year of Switch 2. Well, it
Wait,
was
what?
you said? Didn't you just say that like Breath of the Wild wouldn't get like a full re-release on Switch?
That's
2?
not what I said.
What did you say?
I just said the jury's still out. That's all.
I don't think that was the exact words. You just used like 10 seconds.
It's also not what you said either.
That's why I was asking for
I
clarification.
was trying to re-explain
I
it
think
in
you just
different
said
words
less
so you
likely.
understand.
Yeah, well, because I was saying, because like for me,
Listen, let me say it for the fourth time. All I'm saying is I don't think we should make the assumption that Yu King O thing is 100% going to be a physical release in the first year of Switch 2. That is all
That's
I'm
fair.
saying.
Sure.
And that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I'm just
Regardless
saying there's
of
other
you-
possibilities. That's
yeah,
all.
no, I'm thinking regardless of Yu King O, if you look back at the Switch's library, because like here's the thing, what do they do? They have all their new games, but they fill in the gaps with their ports and remasters. The game that makes the most sense to port and remaster at the moment would be a game that's 8 years old that launched the Switch. To have that as a filler game in the first year as a physical release, I think it actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, look at all the filler games we got from Wii U in the first year.
Did we get any remasters in
Save it for the 10th anniversary.
excluding
Save it
Mario
for
Kart
27.
Deluxe, did we get any remasters for the first year of Switch?
First year?
Let me look at the 17 lineup.
Was Tropical Freeze the first year?
No, it was
No.
2018.
That's not really even a remaster per se, but
Yeah.
that first year was stacked with new
Pocket
releases.
Tournament DX.
Oh yes,
Sure.
Yep.
That was not even 8 years old.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I mean, none of the games were 8 years old.
But
Yeah.
Last 8
we
years.
use software
new
being
content.
City
moved
Undercover.
to Switch is like a different story, you know.
It is.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
agree.
like that's
there was
totally
the
different.
energy of repurposing games because they didn't succeed on Wii U. Right?
Yeah,
There
it was
a whole
trying to
other
give them a
audience.
second life.
But that's why I
Um,
think if you're going to bring some popular Switch games over, you start with the earliest and work your way up instead of starting with like more recent ones, because more recent ones would have way more outrage.
I mean, my take is that I feel like it would be a handful of games, and I'm not sure they're going to do physical releases because I feel like there are going to be just next gen upgrades.
Yeah.
So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of how Sony did it. Yeah, there are several PS4 games you can just get
Mhm.
upgraded. You don't have to buy a separate physical game to do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
see, you're talking about going from PS4 to PS5. We're talking more like going from like a PS3 to a PS4. Tell me how many times Sony did it then. We're talking. That's kind of what we're
But
talking.
this is the modern generation. Why does that?
Yeah,
why is that relevant?
Well, because we're not jumping forward to PS5 level stuff. That's just not what's happening.
Well,
I
I mean,
just
like
don't
how
see
you
how that makes
manage
any
something is
difference.
different than what your software specs are.
Yeah. What I'm trying to point out is we're expecting Nintendo to do something modern when they don't have a history of doing that. They're always behind everyone.
Not across the board.
Well, pretty much. The only things they were ahead on originally was like the WiiWare stuff back in the day, bringing on the indie titles and allowing those digital releases. They were ahead on that, and then they instantly fell completely behind. You know, they were ahead on Virtual Console, then they instantly fell behind after a couple of generations.
So I remember an interview with Shigeru Miyamoto. Where
We have an online subscription service that's missing basic functionality that existed 15 years ago on Xbox.
So I remember an interview with Shigeru Miyamoto, and they talked about how they are developing their games now, and then how he said how it's been it's easier now with the Switch how to bring games forward with them, you know.
Yeah.
And then the guy who was doing the interview, he kind of presented like the example of Microsoft, how it runs on Windows, and so Nintendo has never had that platform of Windows. They've always developed something new for every console, except from the Wii to the Wii U. You notice how the UIs are similar, feel similar, because they kept it that way, and so the games were compatible and moving forward. What Miyamoto is saying is that they're doing the same thing with the Switch, and then Furukawa also confirmed that we're not getting a crazy upgrade, but it's kind of a next version of what the Switch is moving forward. And so I think what they're saying there, yeah, we're developing our own type of Windows games. Like if you open a game on Xbox 360, that same game is still compatible with Xbox Series X, you know, because they have the same exact platform, which is Windows.
Yeah.
With Nintendo, that's what they're doing now. They did it with the Wii and the Wii U. They cut it there. They started again with the Wii. You know, they keep cutting it.
Yeah.
Well, there's never backwards compatibility fully. But what Miyamoto said is that, okay, this time we're actually making it better. Nintendo accounts are moving forward, and so it's going to be easier now from this point.
I should go.
It's okay. I want to say one final thing quick. We should move to our last topic here before Andra steps out, or right when Andra steps out here. But this whole entire topic is just a fundamental disagreement that Andres and I have had for a long time. He thinks there's going to be patches, and I don't think there's going to be patches. That's it.
I don't know. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but you've argued that for patches several times in prior episodes. So, but nobody knows. The thing's not even announced. The system's not announced. Not like we know.
And I will also say that I really doubt that. I'll concede that I feel like if they were to do like Breath of the Wild Deluxe in the first like 3 months of Switch 2 would be a bad look.
Why?
And I don't have time to talk about it now.
Oh, okay. We can talk about that.
I don't have time to talk about it now. I'm not saying it won't happen, because sometimes Nintendo does things that people aren't excited about, and yeah, it will still sell a few million copies. And if all you think is the bottom line, then sure, maybe that's fine.
Sometime, maybe I can come to your channel.
We'll get into it. But what's the last topic? I'll just give you like my two pennies.
Eric, what's up, man?
Okay, it'll take you 2 seconds. Did Nintendo solidify they will be the best-selling console ever?
I think that was already solidified. But they made it.
Yes.
It's gonna be more fun now. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Later, man.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, yeah, probably.
So fiscal year, we were at 141 million.
Yep.
So that was as at the end of March 31st, end of business that day. Seeing the games that are coming out this year, now that we've had the direct and we see, what's on the docket, we got a new Zelda, Mario and Luigi,
Yeah.
new Mario Party that looks like it might be peak, could possibly be peak Mario Party, like peak as in the last, I don't know
Could
how
be.
many years. Like the
I mean,
potential looks very good.
I'm gonna hype it up like it is. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Dragon Quest coming out, Metroid Prime in 2025, which I think will be probably cross-gen,
Yeah.
but it's coming to Switch. I think it's without a doubt coming to Switch.
Legends
So-
EA too.
Legends, yeah. And then DK Country, because again, guys, like DK Country to us is recent, but to a lot of people, it's very old. It's ancient, man. Like
My kids
you
never
got to bring this game back.
I think Dragon Quest and that Zelda Edition Switch Lite alone will push them over the edge. I think those two alone will be what actually gets the Switch over that finish line. I not to say that Metroid and whatever aren't also system like unit pushers, because I will say like I feel like people who would be into the Zelda game have already bought like the new one have already they probably already have a Switch because they probably already bought it for Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, which I know 2D is different than 3D, so there is a different demographic and a different market, right? So I'm sure there will be still additional units that are moved from Zelda, but I think the majority of them you're going to see are that special edition and the collectors going for that, and then honestly the Dragon Quest, man. The Dragon Quest is just gonna. I think that alone will just absolutely.
I think the reason why I wanted to include this topic was, so Nintendo had this very ambitious goal of moving 13.5 million units this year, and Furukawa said it was even ambitious that they don't know if they're going to get it, but that's what we hope. I think with the lineup they provided, in the second half, I think they clearly laid out their path to hit that 13.5 million, right? You got your Zelda Switch Lite Collector's Edition. And by the way, that's like we're talking about Dragon Quest being really big in Japan, and that's cool. Mario Party is going to be the best selling game this year on Switch. Yeah. It's just going to be. Even the last Mario Party sold like over 10 million. Like it's a huge seller, and it's a huge seller globally, not just in like one territory. So you combine that, you obviously have the Dragon Quest, which is going to boost things in Japan. Japan loves Switch anyways. And then Zelda will move a certain amount of stuff, whether it's with the light or without the light. I just saw them come up with a very solid game plan that potentially could get them that 13.5 million. And so that doesn't get you, by the way, to the number one console spot. That gets you within spitting distance. So the question was always, okay, so if they got to that 13.5 million, and let's say Switch 2 drops in March, and Switch 2 is backwards compatible, and they're very good at stocking the machine, are they going to still sell an additional 6-7 million over the next couple of years to solidify that, yes, we absolutely outsold the PlayStation 2? I think a few things we haven't talked about yet that could help. And this is actually the crazy thing. I think even if they announce Switch 2 this year, I think with the lineup they just announced, they're not price dropping Switch this year.
Yeah,
I don't think they're price.
I can see a price drop when Switch 2 is out.
Me too.
Yeah,
When
that's what I'm
that's
thinking
it.
now. I thought it would be this holiday because I figured, they might announce it before the holiday, drop the prices. Then I'm like, dude, look at that lineup. They're not dropping shit.
Yeah.
Once the new one's out, they cut this one.
Yeah, and that price cut's going to be key. I know I saw some people say that like, the Switch 2 won't come out early next year because we're missing so many remasters that's sitting on so many games. And I got news for you guys: the Switch is going to continue to get games all the way into 2026.
I agree.
There's going to be game releases.
Yeah,
Even third-party developers are going to develop for both.
Well, yeah, the third parties are going to do what they need to do because they're going to go to the biggest. I mean, PS4 still got it 4 years later. Like that's what it is. That's where the audience is.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's one of those things that all this lineup did for me was show that Nintendo isn't phoning it in. See, if it would have just been a bunch of remasters, you're phoning it in. You're hoping that those sell them. But no, you gave us 3 major big games in the second half of this year. Way bigger games than you gave us in the first half. I mean, the two big games in the first half were Endless Ocean, Luminous, and Princess Peach Showtime. Those pale in comparison to the 3 games we're getting in the second half, in addition to all the third-party stuff like the Dragon Quest stuff. And then you obviously dropped the special edition Switch, and that, a Zelda one. They know what's up. They saw what happened when the special edition OLED came out. The boost in sales from the special edition OLED shocked them so much. Their projections were wrong, and they outsold their projections because that's just they did not think it was going to sell like that. So not that they didn't think Tears of the Kingdom would, the special edition Switch, they didn't know it was going to fly like that. So why do you think we're getting another one? Of course,
my 2 daughters want it. So.
Whether or not you're going to buy, Zelda fans, if you're not really that into this new Zelda game, you can't tell me that's not tempting to have that on your shelf. It's a good looking Switch Lite. And just look at all those. And by the way, it's not like Nintendo shouldn't have known. How many special edition 3DS Zeldas are there?
At least
3. True.
Or probably way more.
Yeah, probably. So once I saw them come out with that game plan, I said, well, look, they're hitting that 13.5 million. Even without a price drop, they're hitting that this fiscal year. It's just happening. And that's even if Pokemon Legends EA isn't out in the first 3 months, which I know it's rumored to come out later in 2025. So, and then I consider, okay, Legends EA plus Metroid Prime 4 next year, and they're going to announce more remasters and ports, for the next couple of years. That I honestly think I'm at a point now where I don't just think the Switch is going to be the best-selling game console to ever release. I think it's going to be like a good 10 mil cleared by the end of 2026. And that's with Switch 2 going out and probably doing gangbusters. Because you know what's going to happen? People like Switch 2 is a huge deal, but look, it's going to be expensive in comparison to Switch, which is going to have those price drops, which it's never had the whole generation. So it is going to be a big deal when they finally do drop the price when the new device comes out. And the new device comes out, let's say it's $350, $400. Yeah, okay. Well, now all the Switches are sub 300. That's going to be a really big deal for continuing to sell. And I'll tell you this right now. I know a lot of people that have kids, and none of them are considering buying Switch 2 for their children. It's Switch 2 for them. Their kids can have their hand-me-down Switch or the cheaper Switches. So I kind of feel like there's going to be that secondary market for Switch for a couple of years, especially if they keep releasing games. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying the big ones, right? After Legends EA, I think a lot of their big games are going to be exclusive to Switch 2 to get people to want to upgrade and everything. But there's still going to be enough remasters that I easily see Twilight Princess or the Wind Waker HD still possibly coming out with its own version just on Switch, just because there's going to be people who can't get their hands on Switch 2 or their mom and dad won't buy them that. But so I kind of think Nintendo's kind of in a situation we've never seen them in. People are still buying Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of millions.
In a way, they've already won if you subtract all of the people who bought a PS2 to use as a DVD player.
Easily.
They've already won.
Whenever people try to tell me, oh, well, still, I'm like, yeah, right. It sold a lot, but now go look at the software sales comparison. Switch is already ahead, and it's not passed in hardware yet. So
I mean,
there's no shame in buying a.
No. By the way, that was a brilliant move for them. Like,
that was great.
It was great. Like, just like Nintendo probably, Nintendo kind of missed the whole disc generation. They kind of missed the boat on that one.
But nobody's buying a Switch to use as a multimedia device. That they're buying it to play games.
Netflix and Reggie could get along.
Yeah, but
Touche.
They literally pointed fingers at each other. I'm like,
that's so funny.
So to add to that real quick, I agree with everything you said, Nate, completely. The thing is that look at Wii U. It just stopped getting support last year, and so I think the Switch will get support even longer than the Wii U with NSO. With
NSO, they're going to keep that going.
From here to that point, Nintendo's going to continue to sell Switches until they get depleted. It's just gonna happen. You know what I mean? So the fact that PS2 is going to be beaten and pass. I think Nintendo Switch is going to become the best selling system ever, and it's going to become the standard of sales when it comes to the standard. Okay, will we sell more here? How much compared to this? And just because of that, just because of the support, Nintendo Switch will have support at least 7 to 10 years after the Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah, and I think they're going to keep selling units. Like, and when I say selling, I like making new units of Switch. I don't know if it's going to be 7 years of doing it, but I can see them doing 4 or 5 more years after Switch 2 where they're still got enough of those trickle down sales. I want to point out, like, okay, the most recent number we have is 160 million from Jim Ryan on the PlayStation 2. Absolutely incredible. They were still selling PlayStation 2s all the way through 2012. They stopped production January 4th, 2013. Think about when PlayStation 2 came out. We're talking about we're in PS4 generation and they're still selling PS2s. That
Came
is
out in 2000, right?
yeah, insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane how long they sold PS2s for. So like, yeah, they're going to sell 10, 12, 13, 14 years worth of that Switch before they finally slowly phase it out. Now, I think there will be 3 versions. That'll get cut down pretty quick. I think either the OLED will get cut or the regular Switch will get cut, and they'll just keep the light and the dock version. It could just end up where they cut, even the light version if the sales aren't good enough. But because I know light has not been, a huge seller for them, but possibly in the discount world that we live in. I mean, if it gets down to $100 for a light like they did with the 3DS or 2DS XL,
I could see that.
that'd be a killer budget console with that library. So
yeah, they can make a light OLED that's dockable.
Yeah,
version.
Because people always forget that, like, when Switch 2 comes out, what's the point of buying a Switch? I'm like, well, dude, kids don't have a choice for starters. They don't have jobs. They don't control. Parents typically don't like to buy their kids super expensive electronics. It's all hand-me-downs.
Yeah. It might break them.
Your sole cell phone. Yeah, it's a hand-me-down. It's not because I bought you a new phone.
I know I went through at least 3 Game Boy Advances and 4 or 5 DSs through my time owning it.
Yeah.
Not great.
Damn.
But
Yeah,
I was a child, and half of them were my fault, half of them weren't my fault. So
yeah. So it's one of those things that, like, I know as a parent, like, hey, my kids aren't going to be upgrading to Switch 2 anytime soon. They can get jealous of what I'm playing, and that's fine. But like, I'm not going to walk around and buy everyone in my house a $400 device. Let's just be real. That's 5 of them. It's just not happening anytime soon. As time goes on and the years go on, sure, there'll be new versions. Like Yulia's playing my old Switch. I didn't get rid of it. I gave it to her. And that's awesome. And if she really wants one, she's an adult. We'll figure it out if she ends up really want. Let me just tell you, whenever the next 3D Zelda comes, she'll have to have it day one. She might be a bigger fan of Tears of the Kingdom than I am, and it's my favorite game of all time. She literally has over 4,000 hours in the game.
hell yeah.
She
All
does.
right.
Let me put it this way: she's probably playing it right now and has been this entire podcast. Like, she can't stop playing the game. She loves it so much. By the way, it's not the only game she likes, guys. She was really big in the Breath of the Wild too. Took her a while before Tears of the Kingdom really clicked, and then she's like, "Oh no, this is great." But she likes games like Fire Emblem Warriors. Out of nowhere, just a Fire Emblem Warriors. Like, people think the game sucks, and she's like, "No, the game rocks. I want more of that." So I don't know. I just think it's all pretty interesting. And I think Switch is in a good place. Anyone else have anything to add to that, or should we go to the Q&A?
I would just add that I agree with everything you guys all said. I do think they're going to continue to manufacture Switch 1.
Oh, yeah.
And I do think we'll see a price drop. I don't think it's going to be this year, though, because, again, after I saw the lineup at the Direct, I knew it was not going to be this year. So that's great. It'll be next year. And, yeah, I mean, I think it just continues to sell for handful of years here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the Q&A. We got 4 of them, I think. So let's just go here. We got Free Metroid Hat. He said, how many areas or biomes do you think we all get? I think 5 minimum. Obviously talking about Metroid Prime 4 here. Man, I'm so hyped.
I think we get a ton. I think we get I think this world's gonna be insane. Like,
How many were in 3?
I think it'll be one big giant open world.
So I think Prime 3 had like 3 planets and a space station plus the final area, so 5. I think.
Yeah, I think it was 5.
Prime 1 has the beginning, and it's the desert, has the ice, has like a
World shows the runes,
has
and
like
then it'll just
the
make more
water
caverns, phase on
area.
mines, and then
Yeah,
the
phase on
end.
mines. So like
Yeah.
6, 7, something like that.
Yeah, so I think like 5 minimum, but probably more. I would say closer
Yeah.
to 10.
Yeah,
that's what I was about to say. 10 seems
honestly.
like a good round number.
Mhm.
10 probably. Yeah. Yeah.
What I
I mean,
wonder is if there'll be
not-
like different planets like Prime 3, because we do see the ship fly in at the beginning, or
That would be cool. was
or if
different
it'll
planets.
be more interconnected like Prime 1.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they do it.
Okay. He had another question related to Prime 4, of course. He said, do you think there will be voice acting in Prime 4? There was.
Easy, yes. There was
Yeah.
voice acting in Prime 3.
There was
Yes.
voice acting in Prime 3. We had voice acting in Other M. I mean, if there's not voice acting
Dread.
in it, yeah, Dread, I think it would just
Yeah,
be
Dread
shocking
voice acting.
if there wasn't. Like, it wouldn't even make sense. It's kind of crazy how out of all the franchises Nintendo put early voice acting in, it's Metroid.
Right.
Yeah.
All these mega
That's true.
selling franchises, no, it's Metroid that gets the voice acting.
Metroid.
Sure. So yeah, if there isn't, it would be. I know we didn't get any in the trailer, but like it was just a trailer. We'll see what happens when we get to cutscenes and other stuff. All right, our next question comes in from Sky Sword Alyssa, who says, "Would you like to copy? Oh, what would you like to copy that wasn't shown in Echoes of Wisdom?"
Hmm.
That's a good question.
Wait, that's
The
a
thing is, there was a pot in there. We never got to see what they do with that.
Pot?
Yeah, there was a pot ability up in the Y.
I
That
wonder if
um,
maybe if there's NPCs that you can copy. I don't probably won't be, but
copy
maybe.
the old man.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
bosses.
Or like a
Bosses.
You know what? Yeah, look, if the Triforce is in the game, come on.
That's a
Why
good
would you
one.
want to make a bunch of copies of that, man? But
I
infinite,
bet that'd be like a last like you
unlimited
have
wishes.
to end
How
the
about
thing,
this? Listen about this. They when you beat a boss battle, you can copy them. You can't use them until you fight the final battle, and then they all come out at the same time.
Does that include Ganon?
No, not Ganon. Ganon's like the final guy.
Because it'd be cool like
It'd be
to
sick if
copy
there was,
Ganon.
like,
It would be cool to copy
Ganon.
Ganon.
Yeah, fight yourself.
Yeah.
Man.
But you know how in Breath of the Wild, the Divine Beasts all at the same time kind of helped you out, right? So
Yeah.
when you fight some of the bosses, then at the end, those bosses will help you out. And,
It does seem like there's a cost system to it. I don't know if you guys noticed in the
Yes.
trailer,
Yeah.
these little triangles that follow the little blob thing. I forget what they call it, the echo or whatever the hell. So I think
Right.
that's probably there's probably like if there is like you can summon a boss, it's gonna be like you need a bajillion echo charges
yeah,
or
something like that,
whatever.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so but anyway, sorry,
When
continue.
you get the unlimited armor.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's yeah, because there's the triangles, and then you see when they select different
Yep. And they
like
hover
things, there's
over
a
them.
triangle thing
Mhm.
indicated,
Yeah.
and it disappears when it's
But-
used. So
and
there's
there's, like,
definitely
later
a cost
parts in the-
system to it.
Yeah, and there's later parts in the trailer where she has more. Like there's like a part
Mhm.
where there's like 8 of them following the little blob.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
and then there's parts where it's only like 3 of them. So it's like that must be like you
upgradable
must
thing over
acquire more over time. And
Yeah.
anyway, sorry, that was a tangent, but yeah, continue.
No. Yeah, no.
Very cool
Like there's anything like in my mind, I kept going to like, man, did they put like the GameCube in it, and I could just make infinite ones of those, and they make it about how many you duct tape together, and it leads to a switch.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I thought about the Link's Awakening.
Hell yeah. We're still on that.
You know, Link's Awakening, they have that little meter where you have to get a little that green thingy that kind of comes up for you to use magic in Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like a little bar like that kind of you collect them and then it fills up and you can use all that stuff.
Yeah, like your magic meter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We saw a breathing thing come up when she was underwater. So
Yeah.
who knows what other type of meters there might be? We just haven't fully seen yet. Yeah.
Infinite money glitch.
There you go. That's what it
Rupees.
is. Rupees.
Jump on
Infinite
top of
rupee
the
glitch.
Silver rupee.
Bam, 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 bam.
jump on top of the bed. And you have to and like the what is it? Summon a monster in midair.
You know what I just realized? You know where this idea probably came from? What did Nintendo keep trying to take out of Tears of the Kingdom? All the duplication glitches.
Oh yeah.
And look exactly what we're doing in this game. We're duplicating.
probably-
They were like, just give it to him. Make it part of the game.
You know what?
That's funny.
You can't beat
Wow.
it, Jordan.
You can't
you know
be-
what? Like that's legit because like people were building flying machines in Breath of the Wild, And then they're like, yeah, let's make a machine building game for Tears of the Kingdom. And then everyone was using, legit. Like people were stacking minecarts and then using magnesis to like haul it into the air. And they're like, build a flying machine in Breath of the Wild. So then Tears of the Kingdom, they're like, build your machines. It's okay. So now, that like legit might have been it. Yeah, here's your duplication glitches.
We're supposed to do this. Hey, you know what? You love doing it so much. We're gonna build a game around it.
Yes.
Then we have our final question that I at least have marked. I'll double check on the back end, but it says from Vanata712, how the hell are you going to sell 13.5 million Switches in its 8th year? Nintendo sell the Switch like go brrr.
Yeah.
Hold my beer.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just that. Like, look, dude, you have a potential 10 million seller in Mario Party. You have the Dragon Quest pushing all the Japanese sales. You got, actual brand new games people are excited for. Let's put it this way. The title of this video, of this entire podcast is like, is this the best direct ever? And like, or something like that. I think it says it is the best direct ever. I can't remember what I titled it. But the crazy thing is, all over YouTube, that's all I'm seeing is everyone saying it's like the best direct.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of polls on X, people voting, and
It won the summer.
Nintendo's looking good.
On my channel, A is way ahead, and next up is B. It's like 80% of answers. Everyone loved the damn direct. So, like, here's the thing: they excited Nintendo fans for the second half, and teased even more awesomeness for 2025. So, I mean,
Jeez, man.
you couldn't ask for any more from the direct.
But do you remember only a couple of months ago, we were like, man, the second half of the year is going to be a light year. Was it worth the wait? Is the question. It was worth
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
I think a lot
we
of
had
them
this conversation last time I was on here.
Yeah.
We have this happens every year. People are like, "There's nothing coming for the second half of the year." I'm
does.
like, just wait,
I
just
think
wait.
the
They'll
whole-
announce it
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah, I think the not having the general direct in February was kind of like the big man, because look, I could look at this and go, some of the, at least one of these games could have been announced earlier in the year, but they just didn't do it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I know there was various reasons, like potentially, there might have been a plan at one point that Switch 2 was going to be revealed in March, so that could have been why they didn't plan a direct in February, like a general, because they're like, hey, we're actually going to make a big deal out of this thing in March, and then if all the rumors were true, which we don't know, plans change all the time, and maybe Nintendo will get hacked again, and we'll find out, because like Switch was actually supposed to come on holiday 2016. We now know that because we have the documents that prove it from Nintendo because they got hacked.
Yeah.
So maybe that happens again someday. I don't want Nintendo to get hacked, but some sort of proof that, hey, maybe it actually was supposed to reveal in March, launch this year, and then that did get delayed. Because if that was the case, that would explain why they actually made us wait. Because I still don't like heading into the second half of the year where we only knew about Nintendo World Championships until this is a little weird. It is. Even for Nintendo standards, that's very weird. I know everyone's like, well, they announced Super Mario Wonder last year. Yeah, but we had other games we knew were also still coming out in the second half of the year.
Yeah, normally February finished out that year because September from the year prior.
February usually, they advertise the games through June, and then they gave you like one or two teases for the second half of the year, and we just didn't get that this year. And again, it could have just been because it was supposed to be Switch 2 and plans changed, but it doesn't matter. At this point, we just had a direct.
Yeah,
like if you're gonna put 9 months between directs every time, and they're gonna be this big of a banger,
exactly.
Dude, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it gets a little dry at times, but and here's the thing.
I mean,
I
we
gotta
went
wait
at the Wii U
for
days.
the next big announcement. Switch 2 is getting some sort of news in the next 8 months.
Yeah,
That's crazy, man.
that's
Crazy.
very exciting.
In August.
And there's probably some sort of direct mixed in that somewhere. It'd be middle end. I don't know.
Mhm.
Phases. We're gonna get a trailer. Phases.
I know there'll be an Indie World. Guarantee that. Probably a partner showcase.
Yeah.
We get lots of those now.
Oh, a direct mini.
I'll take a direct mini. Yeah, right. When's the last time we had a direct mini?
Yeah. September we can have a direct.
That wasn't a partner showcase one. Like we've had many partner showcases, but one was it actually 2020?
I think so.
Wow.
We had like a normal Nintendo Direct Mini, but I remember it had like a really nice announcement at the end of it. But something from Nintendo, I can't remember what it was, but man. All right. Well, I think it's going to do it. I'm just going to do one quick check that I didn't miss any because
I
sometimes.
do have one small question for you guys as well after you check that.
Yep. No, you get your question. We do have two more to get to.
Okay.
But you're okay.
Are you guys actually surprised that it was a Switch Lite versus an actual like
Switch.
Switch or
little bit. But
OLED.
that just makes me think of
Well-
the light over the big one because they might
Plus-
have like, more extra lights.
We already have a Zelda OLED,
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
makes sense to give us a Zelda
Hey.
Lite.
I'm undefeated, right? With the Switch editions. Yeah,
And
so-
it's easier for people like us to double dip at 200 versus at 350 for the OLED.
Yeah.
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 That's kind
I
of my
think that
thought. Yeah.
the OLED coming out last year, and then the year before that, or maybe it was a year or two before that, we had the Joy-Cons for Skyward Sword. So I mean, a light makes sense. You got to round it out, right?
Fair
So,
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense to me. Plus, we already have a special. If you knew you were going to do Zelda, well, we already got that OLED, so might as well do the light. Let's go ahead and get to these last two quick. Boomany says this may have been addressed already, but is Echoes of Wisdom art style the same as Link's Awakening remake because it's supposed to be its sequel?
It's the same art style. We don't know if it's a sequel or not, but it's the same
Yeah.
art style.
Same engine.
Yeah, same engine.
It seems like it, but yeah, it's not confirmed.
Seems
But it
like it.
seems
It could
like
be a
it.
prequel. It could happen long before Link's Awakening. Like it's one of those we just don't know.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
have information.
And it also, the map is,
Yeah.
it looks like A Link to the Past based on
Yeah.
the screenshots I looked at. It's, so who knows? We'll see.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah,
If it is, it's really cool because this version of Link it'll be the 5th game that he's had because he'll go A Link to the Past, the Oracle games, and then Link's Awakening, and now this. So I just love to see that version of Link continue to have
continue.
adventures.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
maybe we'll get a 6th one someday. We'll see what happens. All right, we get to our last one here that we got from Taker610. Says new Nintendo Switch and Switch Classic. Well, new Nintendo Switch, that probably would have been like the Switch Pro, right? If we would have if that would ever
Probably.
Yeah.
a Switch Classic. I could see a day when they might do something like a Switch Classic. I think that's probably at least a decade from now before.
When I'm 80,
Yeah. Like I feel like when I'm starting to approach 60, that's when they might be like, yeah, let's do something like a Switch Classic. I mean, we're still waiting for an N64 Classic,
Still.
Yeah, for sure.
which I know because of NSO, but like, dude,
I don't
come
think it's
on.
ever coming.
People aren't necessarily buying it because they're playing it. Although some people were, they buy it because it's collectible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is be like, hey, those wireless Switch controllers you can also use with it. Oh, look, now you're boosting sales of a controller people can still use with their Switch.
That would be big.
Yeah, that would be nice. So, yeah, I mean, it's always possible someday. Here's the thing. Switch is about to probably become the biggest selling console of all time. There will probably be a classic version at some point in the future that just has, like, the top 20 best hits or something on it. So, and there'll just be wide debates over, why did you put this game in? Why did you put this one?
It'll be very far in the future.
It's so far ahead that I hope I'm talking retirement to that.
Yeah,
They'll
hopefully
have
I'm.
finally stopped releasing Just Dance new versions of it on the Switch.
Yeah,
Look,
for
with the
real.
Just Dance, 2045. Maybe we could finally talk about dropping the Switch Classic. Oh gosh!
Right.
Hey, stop it! I'm already old enough over here. Turning 38 in like 2 weeks. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you so much to everyone who was watching. Thank you to everyone, the people who stuck around to the end. I knew it was going to be a longer show. I warned Thunder Steve and Andres about it because when we have a Nintendo Direct special, that's one of those episodes that's always going to be longer. Normally, we try to keep it to 2 to 2.5 hours, but hey, look, this is we waited 9 months for this.
It's a big.
Yeah.
It was a big.
I was hyped for it.
Yeah,
So
I
like,
begged Nate for me.
yeah,
to
you
get on the pod.
did beg me.
I was like, Nate, please. I need to yap. I need to yap about it.
It's
Yeah,
already
you got to lead that Mario Party combo. You were
I was ready. I
like,
was
there's so many good combos in here. I might have to split up just the individual game discussions.
yeah, for real.
For the
No,
podcast
actually,
channel, so.
this direct has inspired me to make a lot of cool content in the future that isn't just stream related.
For real, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Guys, I got a spoiler for you guys. It's already the 20th over here and no Switch 2 yet. So just let you know.
Yeah, no
that's
Switch
all
2.
over on the other side of the
Not
world.
yet.
It's
You have to keep me updated when I get lost at sea in the Caribbean coming up because I don't know.
Yeah, at least it wasn't. At least it didn't. The direct didn't happen while you were on vacation. It happened like the perfect
Dude,
timing. For you.
hey.
the last time we went on a little, it was just a little 3-day, 2-night cruise or whatever we went on. When we did that, literally the Xenoblade Direct happened.
Oh, that's so
And I
funny.
live streamed it with one single screen from because I had my laptop with. I live streamed it from the boat. The stream turned out. I can't remember how I ran it because I'm like, well, I can't see anything I'm doing. I'm just watching the direct and hoping my stream's running. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna end it right there. Thank you guys so much. Wait, let's go ahead and go around. Wait, where can we find everyone? First, we'll shout out the people who have fallen, our fallen heroes. Andres Restart. Sure to go check out Andres Restart. He is linked down below. Makes excellent content every single day. You can expect a lot of Zelda and Metroid content coming up from that man. He already teased. He's got 9 video ideas ready for Metroid. That's like his Metroid video today or yesterday. His trailer analysis popped off for 10K. Dude, that guy's going to be spamming Metroid because he loves it. He's been waiting a decade for this moment, pretty much. So go check him out. I'm going to be doing Metroid content too, but his Metroid content is going to be next level. I'm just covering news. He's going to go into like every minute aspect of the game. Then you guys should go follow Nick with no K. He finally brought back his normal YouTube channel. He's on a couple podcasts as well. The Nerdiest Podcast is the one that we usually advertise, but we're actually going to advertise his main channel. He's back to making content. It's linked down below in the description. You guys should go check it out. And now we get to the people that are still on the show. Vlam.
Hi, I'm Vlam. No, I'm a Twitch streamer primarily. We just did a giant tournament with Pokemon creators. We had like 60 different creators. It was like a 200 viewer live event. It was pretty sick. It's topped my records for the biggest event I've ever hosted. But this week I got some more simple stuff. We got I'm doing a new series called Shovelware Review. We take a lot of Wii games that nobody's heard of. We review them on stream. I got like Eminem, Beach Party. We got Family Feud. We got CSI. We got Penguins of Madagascar 2. You know, the classics.
I think it's a good idea. I saw your thumbnail for the M&Ms and I was laughing. I'm like, I got to check this out.
So we're doing that. And you can find me on twitch.tv/Vlam. I also dropped my reaction to this direct. And like I said a few minutes ago, I have a lot of videos in the chamber about this direct, specifically Mario Party. And also just I have a lot of videos in the chamber. I recently got medication fixed. So I'm feeling pretty productive and pretty good again. I'm back in the editing dungeon, you know, and I'm starting to crank things out. So
Big deal. It's a big deal. Biggest news of the day, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mike Odyssey, what we got going on, man?
Hi. Well, my name is Mike Odyssey. You can find me on the channel. It's called Mike Odyssey. And yeah, it's a good day to be alive in Switch world. I got on Monday is the debut of the Mike Odyssey show. It's been on production for like a year now. And so Monday is the first episode. It's the pilot episode. Pilot episode means the show is a Nintendo still. It has news also, but it's gonna be more like a Nintendo talk show. So a Nintendo talk show with multiple segments. Consider tonight's show with Jimmy Fallon, but Nintendo theme everything. So we have guests, we have segments, we have reviews, we have news, comedy sketches. We have so it's like a little variety show. Everything in under 10 minutes. So I'm not taking too much of your time. Every episode's gonna be like 10 minutes. You'll get a whole bunch of little snippets here. I'm not telling you what it is, so you can go watch. And if you can watch it, if you watch it, leave your review in the description because based on that, I can configure the show to for future episodes. But I normally have around 10 segments. Each episode will consist of 3. You'll never know what segment is going to make it to that episode. So it's going to be a variety show different in every episode. So that's most I've shared there. And then of course in September we have Indie Mania. It's basically it's a show that was born in here, came into here, and then with the help of Paul Gale, we brought to life. And so we have around I think 70 now developers now and over 120 games in climbing, and every day people are setting up. It's becoming a bigger deal than ever. We have a lot of. If you go to indiemania.net, you'll see like the developers that just signed up and we have a lot of other things we're confirming that you'll find out later on, which is to me is incredible. I'm flying to Los Angeles
Sick.
next month. We're gonna start recording Indie Mania with Paul in person from a studio, and so it's gonna be awesome, guys, and hopefully it's a yearly thing next year. Every contender for this year is next year's entered to Indie Mania Awards for their award in category, and it's a show from the very beginner, from the first game, somebody who's has aspiring making their own game, to the literally almost AAA level game, based on everything that I've seen showcase. So it's literally the heart of Indie Mania, like indie gaming. You'll see people with rough trailer, like you'll see people with a really, really published amazing trailer. So September 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Hell yeah. Dude,
I'm excited.
you're giving Jeff Keighley a run for his money, dude. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Never know. We might join him next year. So
Let's say, look out, Jeff. He's coming for you.
Then we got the burger. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Daniel. You can call me Cap Bergerson, or you can call me Daniel. That's my name. I make Zelda content primarily, and sometimes other things if I feel like it. But if you ever wanted to hear a guy talk about one dungeon of a Zelda game for 30 minutes straight, come check out my channel.
Some of my favorite
Everything
content on YouTube.
That's
I also
cool.
stream every now and then. I also stream twice a week, actually. Not every now and then. Twice a week, every week. So we play Zelda. It's great.
can I mention one more thing? I forgot to mention. Joyce just reminded me.
Sure.
Friday night's podcast at 8:30 p.m.
I was thinking, I'm surprised you didn't bring up the podcast.
I forgot. The Nintenbyte Podcast every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. We just passed 200 viewers last time, so it's growing. So that's good. And then we have fun. We always dance. We have fun. A joke. It's like the best way to end your weekend. Having fun. Careless podcast, talking about games and stuff. And yeah, so I'm waiting for Nate to come on the podcast one day.
I know Fridays are tough. Someday it'll work out.
I already got the bleep installed.
Oh, just for me.
Just for him.
I will. Where is my bleep even up? What is going on? Yes.
It took him a minute.
So I don't know. It's getting late for me too. And we got Eric Moore, who you can't see. He can lean over. He can show his face for me. He's got
The
his baby face.
disembodied voice of Eric.
The disembodied voice.
He's got his baby face. Oh, he's coming. He's got to move now. Too late at night to move.
Why?
Hi, Eric.
Why am I moving?
So people can say
I'm
hi.
here. Hello, everybody.
By the way, next week Eric
Love
will be
Eric.
on his camera that does work. So you'll get a nice crystal clear look at him. Because it won't be me here.
I'm questioning my life decisions.
I will be on the episode next week, guys. I'm just not running anything. Thunder Steve 85 Gaming. We got going on.
Yeah, you guys know where to find me. Thunder Steve 85 Gaming for video game reviews. Check out my most recent review, Paper Mario. I 100% of the game. Took about 55 hours to do every single thing in the game. And
Wow.
check out the review. This is a game that you don't want to skip. And then I have plenty of other interesting content on the way. So
Yes, awesome.
please go subscribe. Check it out.
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
And how long did it take to grow the stash? Because it's a highlight of the day for me, honestly.
That's funny. When I was working in mortgage, I decided to work from home. There was an opportunity to do it about 6 months before COVID happened.
Mhm.
And so it was long before that. And I said, absolutely. Because I was managing about a team of 700 people in India. And then I had a team in California that I was a director for. And so I was like, yeah, totally. Let's do it. And then as I'm working from home, I'm like, I can actually grow a mustache for once. I could try if I want to do this. Because I couldn't before that. I was a manager in the restaurant business for 10 years and you had to shave every day.
Yeah,
You had to be clean shaven.
Every,
Yeah. Yep. You either had to get hired with a mustache or be clean shaven every day.
Yeah.
You can't grow one in the restaurant business. So I waited till I was like 36, probably 36 maybe. I've had it for good 3-4 years now. Yeah.
That's a
It
proud
didn't take too
stash.
long though.
It defines you now.
Thank
dude.
you.
Defines you.
Yeah, it's crazy. I never got to grow one until I was in my late 30s. So thanks.
It's a good luck.
Same with me with this. I was clean shaved the whole time. I was, restaurant business. I went to Catholic schools back in the day. They required you to
Oh,
shave it.
nice.
Yeah,
Yep, they
so
do.
It wasn't until my mid 30s that I started growing, and I like this style. I like the shorter. And now it's funny. I told because I'm on this weight loss journey. Down, by the way, guys, down 42 pounds.
Woohoo! It's good. Yeah, you're looking thinner, man.
In 120
Congrats.
days. So we got to keep it going. But the big thing is though that I told Yulia, well, hey, when I get back down to my high school weight, I'm gonna clean shave off so I can be that handsome man you've never seen. And she said, "You're never taking that beard off." So you know what happens, guys, we're gonna have a wheel of death moment where removing the beard is on there. And the funny thing is, it's so short. It only takes me like 3 days to grow it back, so it's not even that big a deal. But she'll hate it for those 3 days.
I gotta tell you, Nate, you inspired me when you started your weight loss journey. I also joined you. I've been joining you, like kind of using you as inspiration. Dave's doing it. Let me join him along the way there. I've lost 25 pounds, not 45 pounds, but 25 since I started, which is good, man. I'm trying to get back to my black belt form because right now the belt doesn't fit. I'm trying to put it in there.
Yeah, I told Yulia that I might put the beard shave thing on the wheel of death, and she said, I'd rather you go buy some more of the world's hottest hot sauce and do that. I'm like, I don't care what you'd rather do. I don't know that I'd rather do that.
You have a Buffalo Wild Wings near you?
Yeah, of course I do.
They got the hot wing challenge.
Oh, it gets hotter than that. It's way hotter than that.
Plus, that sauce tastes like absolute.
Well,
dumpster
it
fire
does. Well,
gasoline.
most like super hot sauces taste really, really bad.
Yeah,
but not as bad as the bomb. God, the bomb, to be honest, that is disgusting. You know what though? I had the last dab finally, which is one of the world's hottest hot sauces. Dude, they got some good flavor in that thing.
Yeah.
Good flavor. Anyways, that's gonna do it, guys. Thank you so much. You had a little bonus conversation here. Have a good night. We'll get you
Bye, everybody.